Wah. Halo. Halo semuanya. This is your virtual member ada mythiabatford di sini. Halo semuanya. Lah iklan. Halo. Halo. Selamat siang. Absen. Silakan absen. Yang mau di absen ngomong W gaming enggak sih? Ayo siapa yang mau di absen? Ntar ini makananku juga udah mau nyampe nih. Pokoknya kita nonton ya. Hari ini matchnya PRX versus Gen. Yang ungu siapa, Mit? Hah? Aku lah. W Gaming, let's go. Ada Ice, ada Bims, ada Crybaby, ada Rick, ada Rayvan, ada Shoko, ada Arnelia, ada Katakans. Bentar, oke. Ada Lorde, ada Pengulet, ada Bims, ada Aswar, ada Rizky, ada Teddy, ada Yofu, ada Rizal, ada Mario, ada Zai, ada Rijal, ada Tel, ada Nur Padilah, ada Shirley, ada Rifki. Tadi ada Kakak Livi bro, halo, welcome. Ada Renita ya, halo. Oke. Wait a minute.
It is day 3 here at VCT Pacific Kickoff, and things are about to get dicey. We have our first teams qualifying into playoffs, but we also have our first teams up for elimination, the first of the year. Who's it gonna be? We're about to find out. My name is Mika Fabs, and it is my honor to be here on the desk with William and Curious. Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
Let's
As you make your debut here on VCT Pacific.
By the way, karakterku ngalingin nggak? Enggak kan ya?
Yeah, we're going into
Aman
day 3.
kan
It
ya?
already feels like it's been a very long tournament.
Yes.
Aman kan ya?
But we have plenty more action to continue, and
Or
now
should I kayak
getting closer and closer to
inin
setting some
lagi?
teams home, so things are getting spicy.
Yeah, exactly like you said. Today's the
Apa
day
kabar,
where
Mita?
every match is going to start to matter a lot, right? Getting that first spot into the playoffs, obviously that brings you just one step away from making it to Masters Madrid and those
Okay.
early championship points.
Udah kan ya?
But then, as you said, some teams are going to have to
Udah
take
kan
a bit
ya?
of a long break
Thank you
if
udah
they don't
subscribe,
make it
thank
out of
you.
today.
Exactly. There's a lot of little time in between, so of course you don't want that happening to your team. But turning our attention to the brackets, we have 3 groups just to remind everybody, but only 3 teams move over to phase 3 for the playoffs, with only one
Lucu
team
Mit,
from the
bajunya, terima
play-ins, which is
kasih.
phase 2, joining
Jaja
them
kok nggak
for
live?
the
Belum
playoffs.
kali.
But that means they're just that much closer to Masters Madrid, as you mentioned, Achilles. But today is when eliminations begin. I can't wait to see how these teams look like when their backs are all up against the wall.
Yeah, it's going to get real dicey real quick. Obviously, we'll get into the eliminations a little bit later, because first we have to see the only team that we haven't gotten a glimpse of quite just yet, and that's going to be
Masih opening guys,
PRX. They had
aman.
that
Soalnya
ROC4
nanti
there
kayaknya
in Group C, going up against
kecil
very
suaranya
solid-looking
pas
Gen
in
G.
game.
This
Thank
is gonna
you.
be potentially a very
Makasih banyak,
up in the air
Spaja, thank
matchup,
you.
because Gen G proving themselves to look strong. PRX, a team that we haven't seen since the ABL where they lost the set.
Let's see. Makananku sudah sampai
everyone's
mana?
very curious about how is this roster going to
aku
look, what
nge-freeze
kind of
dulu,
comps
guys.
have they cooked up, and also the chemistry,
Nah,
right?
udah,
Because
aku
what we saw
nge-freeze
in
dulu
ABL
sebentar.
during the offseason,
Aku mau
it just
melihat
looked like they were
makananku sampai
having
mana.
some
Oke,
good
dikit
fun
lagi udah
testing
mau
things out, as
nyampe.
PRX often does in tournaments, but now that
Dikit lagi
you've had
udah
a
mau
bit
nyampe,
longer in
guys.
the offseason, how much better do you look? Meanwhile, on the bracket,
Let's see.
as you mentioned, it's not just some teams, it's actually half of the teams in Pacific now facing potential
Di
elimination.
PRX ada orang Indo lah.
Team Secret and DFM
Lah.
to face off against each other in Group B, and then RQ awaiting the losing team
Itu.
between PRX and Gen G.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting, and as we can see, we have a Bleed versus Global Esports for our second match. We have
Ada,
Xeapher
Bang.
versus
Ada 3
Vega
malah
later
sekarang.
on,
Nambah
but first
1.
up, as we mentioned, it is
Nambah
going to
1,
be
Bang.
PRX versus Gen G, and I think everybody here is so excited to
Gimana
see
itu yang nanya
PRX,
itu?
of course, make the
Ada,
final
Bang.
team
Ada,
to be
Bang.
making their debut here over on the Pacific Kickoff stage.
Ada
And
3, ada 3.
everybody, especially since
Hampir
we didn't have, of
setengahnya.
course, that big
Tim
champions
Indo kan
from last
enggak
year,
sih,
they
lebih
made it
ke
all the way to grand finals, the first
Singapura
Pacific
sih
team to make it
masuknya.
that far. Everybody's super excited to see their form today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new standard.
Mit,
that
ini
is
yang
set
jahat
for
yang
a
mana?
team
Nggak
going
ada,
over to
nggak
a
kebaca
global
kata Mit.
performance.
Udah tadi kebaca
Can
Ijat,
they
terima
match
kasih
together
banyak,
is the
thank
question,
you.
because obviously without Jinx in the
Donations, thank
lineup,
you.
there's a big change up. Mythia comes through, and while it doesn't seem like there's a big change on paper, can you ever fully replace Jing just because he was such a big
Turnamen
part
apa
of
ini,
the
Mit?
team's
Ini
identity?
turnamen
Mythia, and we've all
Valorant,
said this
VCT
seems like
Pacific
at least a
Kickoff
side
ya.
grade, but we have to see it implemented because even at the ABL, even though Mythia was there, they were
Mit, ini cuma stream matchnya PRX ya? Nah, kalau ada 3 hitungnya.
And he was still flying around on that race as well.
Nggak
So,
tahu ya.
like you said,
Kalau
I
itu
agree that
aturan
in terms of
buatmu sendiri
statistics and
mungkin ya.
individual skill, it should be a lateral
Oke,
change,
mari
but
kita
the
lihat.
style
Mari
that
kita
Jing
lihat makanan
single-handedly
saya
brought to
sampai
this
mana.
team, it
Oke,
actually
dikit lagi
gave a
nyampe.
big
Aku
part of
nge-freeze
their
dulu ya
core,
guys
I would
sebentar.
say. So now with
Aku
Mythia,
nge-freeze
it did
dulu.
look like the comms were there, but in terms of the speed and the compositions that they're able to run, maybe some more flexibility, but that means maybe they need some more time to cook.
Maybe Monya did mention
BA
that,
PRX,
he was
Mit.
having
Ini
a little
semuanya
bit of
pada
trouble
nanya ya.
adjusting to PRX just because their style can be a bit, shocking to say the least,
Sure.
right? But
Tidak.
we did see that a little bit of the passing of the torch happen as you mentioned during off-season.
Ya,
tournaments,
PRX itu
right?
base-nya
And
di
I do
Singapura
feel like
soalnya.
perhaps that's, that's part
Streamnya
of the
PRX doang, Mit.
happening
Iya
here.
nih.
So I have high
Iya, aku
hopes for
nge-freeze
Monya,
dulu sebentar.
especially
Aku
since
lagi
we saw him
tracking
last year.
makananku
He
di
was one of
mana.
the standout players that we
Jadi
saw,
kita ya
throughout
grab
Pacific.
your ini ya guys ya, grab your cemilan. Oke. Kita bakal nonton.
So the guy is individually cracked, and he does bring a lot more depth to the team. Where typically you're going to see Jing doing nothing but playing the Rays, playing the Phoenix.
Banget,
if you're
Mi. Thank
going
you,
overall to
Dap.
Pearl. So Mythia, he can be a bit more flexible in that regard. I just want to see how the integration continues onward, because even when we were shifting things around, it wasn't just Jing and Mythia being subbed in, subbed out for one another. We saw Mind Freak of all people also being subbed out of the roster.
Ini
And
Rusia
ABL.
nih,
Now
dia
that's not
nih.
gonna be
Ini
the case. It is
Malaysia.
gonna be this solid
Ini lucu
line
kalau
moving
dia
forward for
streaming.
PRX. How does it look? How much effort have they been putting
Ini
into
Indo.
this offseason, and what kind
Itu
of
Indo,
rewards
itu
can they
Indo.
reap?
And as we see that,
Nih,
actually,
tiga ini
I
Indo.
want to just
Ini
touch on
enggak.
one more thing that I don't think we're going to get to spend too much time on later because there's so many
Ini
good
enggak, ini
stories
enggak.
between these two teams. But we
Ini
also have to
tentu
remember
saja tidak Indo ya.
Mythia and Texture on the
Beda
same
main
team
Valo
last
juga
year,
lah.
a
Aku
global
main
esport,
lah,
both
Bang.
of them popping off individually, now having to face off in different roles on different teams as rivals. Curious to see how that will have an impact. Of course, Texture on Gen G had a
Kirain
great
Alpha,
opening
buset.
match, and he puts up some great stats as we
Gila
look at
banget.
the power ranking, which is really a combination of all the in-game stats and, of course,
Wow.
all of us casters, both on the
Really?
global and Korean side, we give them scores after each match as well.
That's right. Everybody has
Oke, udah mau nyampe. Bentar ya guys ya. Aku AFK dulu. AFK dulu.
We're going to be keeping our eyes on these players, Achilles, and as we can see, Governor definitely made an impact yesterday.
Oh, he certainly did. I mean, he exceeded all of our expectations. We knew that this guy was cracked when he was coming over here to join Talon, but we didn't expect, and I think, he kind of stated it in his own interview, he didn't expect to have that level of a performance in his opening game. Talked about some of the jitters that he had, but it was not evident at all in his play.
The other thing that impresses me as well is while Governor is leading the charge in terms of overall score after one match for all the teams, it's also a lot of the new faces that have joined VCT Pacific, right? It's the likes of Ezo, it's the likes of Flashback, all these players that have had hype around them, and for now, they've already proved it in their opening matches.
It's just such a bizarre world that we live in now, because if you take a look at some of the faces here that have been in VCT Pacific for a while now, a lot of people, if you told them like, oh yeah, this is going to be the #1 rated initiator after the first few days, I think everyone would call you crazy when you said it was banned, because he did have struggles on T1 last season, but yesterday on Talon, I was saying it on the desk, it looks like he's having a renaissance period.
Yes, and even Lenny as well, right? Really trying to prove himself again as an IGL, as an initiator.
Hi,
So
guys.
good to see some new faces popping up.
Yeah, it's obviously early doors though, so these
Wow.
rankings absolutely can change, but for
Yes.
right now, the ones that we featured, very well deserved after their opening show.
Kairi,
Does it feel like you're
tadaima.
almost in an alternate timeline of sorts?
It very much does. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get to it later, but I'm predicting to you.
Kalau live-nya pada saat sekolah sih, soalnya aku
We're
ngikutin
getting ahead of ourselves. I have something to say about
jam
that. We're
match
gonna call
yang
it
di
up a
dari
little bit
Singapurnya
later
ya
on, but
guys
of course,
ya.
We are dealing with PRX versus Gen G
Itu
first
out of
and
my control.
foremost. But of course, I don't believe Gen G has had a win over PRX at all in the entire Pacific League just yet.
No, I mean, Gen G, aside from their big streak that they had at the beginning of Pacific last year, just completely fell off a cliff.
Aku beli
And then
nasi
obviously
goreng,
PRX
guys.
getting auto-seeded
Apakah
forward,
kalian
having
sudah
been
makan?
The champions of Pacific, they didn't have to clash in the LCQ. So it was just that kind of one faded meeting where Gen G was very much falling off a cliff. But now with a reworked roster, with bringing in this
Mamam,
just
mamam. Di
absolute
Singapura
crack
sekarang jam berapa? Beda 1 jam.
just solo
1
queue of
jam
all places, Gen G are
lebih.
looking very, very strong. It's also kind of like old hotness versus
Wait,
new hotness, because
sekarang jam
we have
berapa ya?
Makia on this squad. He's making his return.
Berarti
to Tier
sekarang
1.
itu
He was on that original new turn squad that kind
jam
of set the bar for
1.40.
Asian Valorant
Sure.
all the way back at that first Masters tournament.
Oke,
Now
jam 1.40
going
berarti
up against
guys.
PRX, who have now set the new bar.
Yeah, and PRX have set a very strong one as
Kan.
well. And perhaps not
Mulainya
to be
lebih
top of
awal ya
anyone
hari
else,
ini.
but PRX will have to wait and see in 2024.
Aku yang mulainya
But I
lebih
like that you
awal,
brought up
soalnya
the stylistic differences
pengen
as well,
lihat
'cause
openingnya
Gen G
gimana.
last year was still playing what we used to call old Korean Valor, right? Very textbook, waiting for
Makanya,
the
guys.
utility, getting the info, and PRX just
Mythiabatford
does not
jadi
deal
talentnya
with that. They
PRX.
just say,
Wow.
we're done with it. We want to just play some
Indo
more
3 orang
Valor,
siapa
get
aja?
through the
Mythia
games
Second,
fast as
Mindfreak sama
possible.
Monyet.
But the new Gen G,
Roster baru.
I mean, they are firing on all cylinders. They've got not just Texture, but Meteor there to also be able to flex
Prediksi
onto the
something
Double
is 2
Duelist or
kali.
even on the
Amin,
Sentinel.
amin,
People
amin,
who
amin,
can
amin,
always
amin
go for
paling
those
besar.
frags, go for the contact plays. Karon also continuing to be touted as a great aimer. I think PRX is going to have to watch out because if they go the way they always have,
Aku watch party
overconfident
aja,
every fight,
Ken.
Gen G will fight back.
I love that you
Kayak
brought
PRX
that up
belum
because
ada.
one of the
I don't
many
know.
things that makes this matchup so
Let's see.
exciting
Predict
are the
score.
potential duelist dogfights that we're going to be
2-1
seeing. I mean, look at that. You
kali ya.
have something potentially Forsaken, potentially Monyet. We're not sure yet.
2-1
Potentially
tuh
Mindfreak.
sih.
Potentially Mindfreak, we don't know, right? And as we can see right here, we're looking at Texture and Meteor, and that's what I'm so excited to see. All of these Jets and Razes possibly flying around in this matchup.
Yeah, exactly. So these
2-0
graphs will be able to
easy.
track them throughout the year, but they basically tell us how much impact
Gas.
each player had on their wins coming forward. And now these
Gen
are all
Z
the
Korea
stats
kan
combined,
ya?
point kills, assists, etc. But this tells the story. It's Texture and Meteor.
Aku
really
bang bocil
leading the charge
PRX.
here. And Karon,
Aku
I
juga
think the
tuh
numbers don't
bocil
tell the exact
PRX.
story 'cause he did seem stable, but he also didn't have to do
Pas partai
too
PRX
much.
doang,
I mean,
yes.
Texture and Meteor were in the front lines taking care of everything.
I mean, yeah, Texture what dropped the 30 bomb in the one
Oke,
map.
2-0 ya,
And,
2-0.
Meteor was
Gas,
putting up solid
2-0.
numbers despite only playing Duelist in the final map of that series or something like that when they were running double. But I mean, it's just an incredible performance, and as you were just highlighting, Texture versus
Ini
something
kalau nggak kelihatan
a
ya.
bit of a duelist matchup that we were
Winning
kind of
participant
robbed
rate.
from last year,
Wow.
given the Texture was the one who was playing widely that Sentinel role, being a bit of a flex for the side of Global Esports. Now that he is back in the driving seat, he is there in the front lines. This is going to
Mythic
be
all
an
in PRX
incredible
tentu
platform
saja ya.
for
Tentu
to,
saja.
you know,
Best player di
something
PRX
versus
siapa
Buzz,
menurut
something
Mythic?
versus Saya player, etc. Now we get this matchup, and it's
Something,
bound to
of
be
course.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and this stat line.
Kalau
obviously,
menurut
Texture is
aku
coming off
ya,
that opening match, so it is a bit skewed.
ya,
But even if you kind
ya
of
aku
think
sih
about averages,
sukanya main
Texture's
freak ya.
currently on track to average a pretty high stat line all throughout. So
Tapi kan
something
gak mungkin
very
aku nilai
stable
main freak
scoreline's
itu the
obviously
best
very
player out
impressive,
there.
But hopefully he's also upgraded because that's the only way he's going to be able to match that.
Sorry, I just got I look like a grandfather. who's
Meet,
about to
mereka
sit
kenal
down
Mythica?
and smoke a pipe.
Enggak.
It's getting to that time.
Tapi aku pernah foto sama salah
Let me
satu.
tell you about the
Aku
time
pernah
I
foto
saw
sama main freaknya.
PRX do this.
Tapi dia nggak tahu aku
Through
sih.
the next segment, we'll have to see.
But I mean, like, you know,
Per
PRX
second
in this
sih.
iteration, not to mention the
Per
one of the
second
most
keren
flexible
sih.
teams out there, right? We mentioned Karon a while
Opening
ago.
PRX
He's
biasanya
gonna have a
default.
lot on his shoulders, Achilles, because
Let's
he
see.
could be up against Mindfreak.
Let's
he could
see.
be up against Devi, who we saw flexing over into the controller role a little bit. He could be
Sure.
up against Monyet. He could be up against Forsaken.
This is the problem that Gen G
Ya
has
aku
coming into
vote
this
bareng
is,
sama
you
Main
haven't
Freak
really
pas
seen
yang
this
di
full five
acara
PRX
Hub Live itu loh
shoot
guys.
box.
Kalian
There
masih
is
ingat
much
nggak?
tape out there.
Waktu
PRX
awal-awal
has your game
si
versus
siapa ya?
RQ, but you
Yang
also
agent
even
baru
then
itu yang
know who
dari
you're playing
China.
against now, but you don't know what the hell they're going to be doing and who's going to be playing what. So there's still a ton of curveballs that can be thrown here by PRX to catch Gen G off guard.
And on top of that, continuing
ISO,
to
ya
Karon,
ISO, ya ya ya.
everyone who faces
Kan
PRX for the first
awal-awal
time says the same
ISO ini
thing.
kan
It just wasn't what
keluar
I
kan
thought it
mereka
was
kan
going
bikin
to be.
event
I
tuh
thought I
di
was
Hub
prepared
Live.
for
Nah
this,
aku
and it was still much faster,
Aku
much
foto sama
stronger
Main
than I
Freak
would have ever
gitu.
imagined. So I don't know if Karon's going to be ready for it in the first map at the very least.
I mean, Monyet's already on the team, and that's exactly what he said,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He was
even
like,
on
I
the
wasn't
team."
prepared. I wasn't prepared, and you're already on the same team. So
Seriusan,
this is going to be
Mythia?
so
Seriusan?
exciting. I cannot wait.
Dave
for this
sama
matchup
Something
to
orang
begin.
mana ya?
And
Dava
as we
itu
know,
Malaysia,
we have the
Something
bumping
itu
on a lot of the rookies, a lot of
Rusia.
the new faces on the rosters as well. So I can't wait to see how Karon is able to
Rusia dan
step
Wibu.
up, I guess, and what his next level is. Especially since we've just begun our year here at Achilles, and we're already getting matchups like this. It's so exciting. And it's such
Semoga
a
Main
fresh
Freak
way to
masuk
play
mode
football.
BU.
No, it really is, and I mean this is just kind of a
Mode
part
BU,
of
mode
the tournament
BU.
itself. It's going to be so rapid fire, back and forth. You know,
Yes.
just boom, boom, boom. You're in this tournament, you're out of it.
Jing nggak
Suddenly,
main
maybe
mid?
you're at Madrid,
Enggak,
you know,
tapi
so
dia
it's
ada
high
watch party
octane.
juga
That's
di
something that
ini di
PRX
Twitch.
thrives in.
Kalian
Gen G
bisa
kind of
cek
proved that they
aja.
also can do that, but
Something orang
there is going to
BSD.
be so much added pressure on Karon. I mean, that first matchup already a bit of a high stakes one for them. Obviously, every match in this tournament format is going to be high stakes, but inheriting that kind of rivalry that was coming through between Gen G and RRQ was a bit of a big thing for him, but he managed to
Buff
stand
jersey
up to the
PRX.
task.
Let's go!
This is gargantuan.
Ayo Something, kekuatan anime
Yeah,
mendukungmu.
it's a very tough order here for anyone in this group.
Kekuatan anime mendukungmu
I think that
Something.
we're about to throw it to the stage
Let's go!
right now, so let's check out
Kamu
what's
pasti
happening.
bisa. Dengan kekuatan anime.
VCT Pacific Kickoff 여러분 오래 기다리셨습니다.
방굿!
지금 제 양 옆으로는 퍼시픽의 강자
방굿
PRX와
알렉!
이제 젠지의 경기를 앞두고 감독님을 모시고 인터뷰를 나눠볼까 합니다. VCT Pacific
Kan
Kickoff.
kecil guys
Everyone, the wait is
suaranya.
over. For me, I have
Bangkut.
Genji and PRX's coaches, and I'll have a little chat with them. So firstly, Genji's coach Solo, I'm gonna ask you about the RRQ match you had last time. So how did you felt with that match?
Alek itu
RRQ와의
ownernya
경기를
kah? Alek itu
이기셨잖아요, 최근에.
coach
어떤 소감이 있을지
coachnya.
궁금합니다.
RRQ가 그 퍼시픽 사이에서 잘한다는 소문이 계속 돌았었어요. 그래서 저희도 조금 많이 생각하고 그리고 저희는 저희 조가 죽음의 조라고 생각을 했거든요. 그래서 굉장히 RRQ 선수들이 너무 잘해서 네, 저희도 좀 힘들었지만 네, 그래도 이겨서 네, 기분이 너무 좋았습니다. 네.
Honestly, it was a tough match because we heard from everyone that RRQ was one of the high-ranked team. So it was tough, but it was really happy to eventually win the game. 그럼 다음으로 또 승리를 축하하면서 이렇게 힘겹게 올라왔더니 두 번째 상대가 PRX입니다. 기분이
Aku suka
어떠신지
warnanya.
궁금해요. So you were really happy
Warna
with the win with
dressnya.
RRQ, but next you met PRX right away.
Komentarin
So how
dressnya
did you
nggak
feel
tuh?
about
저희는 그 조 보고 나서
Artinya
무조건 PRX 만날 생각을
Iya.
했기 때문에 네.
kamu bisa tahan gak kalau dapet coach
퍼시픽에서
kayak
제일 잘하는 팀이기 때문에 네.
karena aku
저희가
bukan player tryhard dan ya
조금
tidak, tentu saya
긴장하고
tidak.
네. 잘해야 될 것 같습니다.
Mid kau cakep banget MC-nya.
Yeah, after seeing the group
Ayo, Mbak,
match
08 berapa?
schedule, we knew that we will meet PRX someday, and we prepared for that. And now it came true, so I think we'll be confident to win through the match.
Artinya apa Bang Miti?
그렇다면 이제 시간이 이렇게 많이 준비되지 않았어요. 그래서 이번 준비 과정이 좀 어려웠을 것 같은데 어떤 준비를 하셨는지 또 궁금한데요.
Ya,
So
ya, ya,
basically,
ya.
what-
Itu
we
guys,
didn't
masa
have that
gitu
much
aja nggak
time,
tahu
but
sih?
How did you prepare for the
Iya, iya.
match against PRX?
Ya.
PRX가 최근에 경기 안 한 지 꽤 됐고
Mungkin ini ditanyain kali ya,
다른
gimana
팀처럼
perasaannya
첫 번째 경기를
bisa
하지도 않았고
bisa
그래서 정보가 너무 없기
bertanding
때문에
bersama PRX mungkin. ya.
대충 뭐
Mungkin ya,
공격적으로 하는 것도
mungkin.
알고 있고,
Ini-
그 부분에
ini
있어서
Saya cuma
대처
ngedukun aja ya, karena gak bisa bahasa
하고
Korea.
있고요. 그리고
Emang ada subtitle?
저희 방식대로 저희가 하던 대로 하면은
Emang ada subtitle? Nggak ada
가능성이
coy.
있다고 생각하고
Yang bener
있습니다.
aja.
네.
Bikin subtitle ya Min. Yang bener aja. Aduh, gitu.
So we didn't have that much information, but you know we've been prepared.
Bagaimana
and we know
persiapan
they're-
Anda untuk
they're
melawan
doing,
PRX
like,
katanya Mit?
aggressive play, so I think
Ah,
we
itu tuh
are
ada.
really
Nah,
prepared
lu
well,
translatein ya,
so
Ray.
we're ready for the match.
Siapa
Okay,
jagoan
so
lu
you
di
just heard
PRX?
what they said,
Main
right?
freak.
So the first question
Main
is,
freak,
last
jagoanku.
season You won the Pacifics 2023.
What's
so
her at?
What do you think about the kickoff matches so far?
I mean, after watching everyone, I think everyone
Nah,
has
itu tuh.
upgraded, you know. Like, I think the quality of the games have improved from last year. And I mean, I hope that we also can show a good showing.
Oh, okay. Really humble, right?
Widih.
네, 여태까지 킥오프
Iya,
경기를
iya,
보면서
수ka-suka.
다
Iya,
모두
iya.
실력이 향상된 것 같고
I'm out. No,
저희도 좀 더
Ray.
열심히 해야겠다는 아주 겸손한 답변을
No, don't
해줬습니다.
leave me.
그럼 또 다음 질문으로 넘어가 볼게요. 젠지 팀에 대해서 개인적으로 어떤 생각을 가지고 있는지 묻겠습니다. So, what do you think about Genji personally? They're right next to you, but
Mau belum Mit?
I mean,
Belum.
I thought they had a really good showing against RRQ.
Ayo Meter, thank you.
That was
Thank you
quite
for
impressive.
subscribing.
And the word on the street is that they've been playing very well in practice. So I'm looking forward to a good game. But that being said, I think I'm also very happy to share the stage with Solo
Papua
as
akan
one of my
memenangkan
heroes.
game ini
Growing
guys.
up, you know, 'cause
Benar.
I used to play 1.6 and yeah, he was like.
Miti pernah
dominating
duo nggak
everyone
sama
in Asia.
enggak lah.
And also the last time
Enggak
I
lah,
think
aku
we coached
juga
against each
malu
other
kali.
was LCQ 2021 where he won. So
Aku juga
looking
malu
for
kali,
a
guys.
big revenge today.
okay, I'll expect that. 이번에 RRQ 상대를 경기를 봤는데 정말 잘한다고 생각이 들었고 또 개인적으로 솔로 코치와도 정말 기대가 되는 친분도 있고 또 저번 작년 2021에서도 인연이 있기 때문에
Sabarnya on,
이번에는
on,
좀
tapi media
이겨야
share
될
nggak
것
on ya?
같다. 시원하게 보여주겠다라는 말을 전했습니다. 또
Nonton ternyata udah
마지막으로
subscribe.
이제 각오 한마디 들으면서
Sambil makan,
마무리
guys.
해보겠습니다.
Nonton aja udah.
So lastly, tell us your mindset heading into the first match.
I think in PRX our mindset from day one is always every time, you know, it's a circuit system, right? So every year is a new year for us and we start from zero. our achievements of the past don't mean anything this year.
Oh.
So we're just gonna go in and try not to
Lu bakal
underestimate
ikut
anyone.
gebrak meja
and just
kayak
do our
Coach
best.
Alex nggak?
오케이, 나이스. 저희는 항상 매년 새로운
맞아요.
마음가짐으로 0에서 다시 시작하기 때문에 이번에도 또 새롭게 더 강하게 시작해 보겠다고 아주 겸손한 답변을 들었습니다.
Mama pamit.
So thank you, Alex
nasi goreng.
and Solo. Wish you best of luck. 네, 지금까지 알렉스 감독과 솔로 감독 만나봤는데요. 두 팀의 이 남다른 각오를 들어보니까 이 재밌는
Coach Alex
경기가
kalau
될
ke
것
Indo,
같은 느낌이 드는데
aku
잠시
kenalin
후에
nasi goreng
선수들을
dekat
만나러
rumahku
또
kayaknya.
가보겠습니다. So
Enak banget.
after listening to the coaches, I can tell this one's going to be a max entertainment. So shall we go meet the players?
Makan apa mit nasi goreng?
Gotta love these interactions with the coaches, and Alex playing up against one of his idols. Of course, that's gonna be exciting.
I like the deep lore that he's bringing out there.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy since 1.6, even mentioning the LCQ all the way back in 2021. I love to see that. I love that he has a lot of respect for Solo, but ultimately is just has a good mindset coming into this, and that's something that we've always expected from PRX. But I
Party one
love
nggak bawa
just
party
the
juga.
quote there,
Aku
just saying, like,
cuma
our achievements in the
PRX
past don't
aja,
matter.
guys.
It's a reset. We're coming into a new year. It's a bit of a different roster.
Kira-kira
So we're
siapa
just
yang
gonna
on fire
tackle
di
this one step
PRX?
at a time.
And I think that's the best way to look at it, especially in a
Main
game that
freak mode
moves as
BU.
fast as Valor, right? We've seen so many switches even during the year. So Alex trying to get
Aku masih
as
belum
prepared as
tahu
possible.
sih maunya
Also, that
kayak
whole
apa.
lore, I think it also paints a good picture of where Solo's at in his
Maunya
career
apa?
right now. I mean, he's such a
Maunya-
storied
Bentar.
veteran, and yet as a
Gede banget
coach,
ini
as a
MC.
head coach in Valor, he just hasn't seen success. So he's
Maunya
desperate for that
naon ya?
victory to try to get to a higher spot.
Well,
Uh,
we did hear that Genji has
tadi
been
apa sih?
preparing a lot for
Maunya apa sih?
PRX. We're gonna see if it is indeed
Nasi goreng,
enough,
iya, nasi
right?
goreng.
But you're
Aftarnya
absolutely
kecilin,
right.
ya
I love
udah.
that mentality
Bentar.
that Alex is bringing into this
Masih
back
kudu
to
kecilin ya,
zero,
guys.
right? If you're tilted and it's round whatever, it's back to zero the entire
Nah,
time. That's
kecil
championship
kan?
mindset right there. And I'm pretty sure that Genji right now, they are feeling
Nah,
like up
kecil
against
kan?
giants, even though
Nah.
Alex says it's like it doesn't mean anything.
Oh, ini-
But what
ini
means
PRX ya.
something is
Tuh.
definitely the singular Genji prediction right here. William, do you want to explain yourself?
Oh man, we're starting this early in the year.
You're normally the guy
Betul
that
loh,
is
di sini
a
kurang enak
Genji
kayak.
hater.
Well, hate is a very strong word. I'm usually doubting the Korean
Apakah
teams,
duelis
but
akan
first of all,
something
I was
dan
very
monyet
impressed.
atau
I thought
something
what they
dan
showed
for
against
second?
RRQ, and this has nothing
Tebakanku
to do with my
kayaknya-
hoping for RRQ, but simply I thought Genji really played up to their potential. I thought they
Kayaknya monyet
performed
deh.
what everyone wanted to see from this roster. And
Kayaknya
my
monyet deh.
expectation is I think on the flip
Kayaknya,
side, I don't know
kayaknya.
if PRX is going to be
Let's
quite
see.
ready to face off against these players who are actually playing like in their own freedom, right? Texture. I mean, the likes of Texture, Meteor, I would say even
Aku nggak
Munchkin,
tahu
the
Freeze
fact that
itu.
they can now just go out and
Itu
frag the way
biasanya
they
otomatis
wish
dari
to
YouTube-nya.
is not a form that we've seen
Aku
from them in
udah
the past
nyoba
yet.
untuk
Achilles, what was the
tidak
ACS on
di
texture
ini ya
again?
diisi
It was
ya
high, it was
sesi
really
apa yang gamingnya.
Yes.
But
Tapi nggak tahu dari
you're
sananya.
also you were ridiculing me for giving Texture a 10 out of 10 for his performance.
Kayaknya
So,
sih monyet
which
sih.
side of the coin do you actually want to land on?
I
here?
saved my 10s for the MVP of the whole season. So.
I gave out 2, 1 to Governor, 1 to Texture. Those are
Oh,
my 2 10s.
casternya iya,
We're
anjir.
gonna be keeping track of this.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
how many tens?
Texture played really
Bagus
well.
lah.
I just think we don't know enough where the standard is, right? Because like we don't know how
Boleh
much of
minta
that was also
komentar gameplaynya.
RQ maybe
Waduh.
folding a little bit because Genji was looking so strong because he
Fair.
came out swinging. At the same time,
Aku
Genji
nonton
did
aja,
also
Bang.
RQ. It wasn't a clean 2-0, so I think there's a lot more to prove. But I
Gak apa-apa,
just
Mit.
think
Valorant,
Genji's
Valorant.
actually a matchup
Kayak monyet
against
something
PRX
duelis ya
quite
deh.
well.
Soalnya beberapa
I
kali
do
dua
think the old
monyet
habits
something
are gonna
selalu
come
pakai
in for
duelis.
Genji,
Well,
They
soalnya
will, but
monyet
I
itu
think
kayaknya
I think that this is gonna be
mainnya
close.
emang duelis
I
gak
think
sih?
that if PRX do have that kind
Ya
of
nggak sih?
rougher starting point, because we haven't seen them yet, they have to
Analisis
get back on stage,
meta,
they have to
okay.
get reacclimated to the
Sure,
environment. I can see this absolutely being he absolutely has impressed so far. I'm expecting 3 maps almost no matter what, unless PRX comes out and looks so much better than we could have anticipated
Sure.
in the downtime that they have had. But that is a very unknown quantity, but maybe this will bite me in the rear, maybe it'll bite all of us in the rear here.
Di Valorant
We're
sering pakai
basing
role
our
apa?
predictions on past achievements. We are going off of that history.
Smoker.
We're going off the expectations of these players and of, on Coach Alex.
Saya
as
mendukung
that
Aaron
guy
jadi
who can really pump the brakes and get
halo.
that mental
Ada
reset
Rex
mid-game.
Arcadia
Listen,
guys
my rear has
dari
already been
trade.
bitten
Halo.
thanks to Genji actually, so I
Saya-
might as well just go along with the Genji
Saya
ride
ingin
here.
dulu ya.
But I love that you brought up the coaching.
Stockholm syndrome.
I love that you brought up the coaching thing because I keep thinking the actual kryptonite to this
salah.
kind of hopium for
Kenapa?
PRX's opponents is that Alex
Mata
just
saya
knows
pin,
when to
yaudahlah,
pump
nggak
the
apa-apa.
brakes, and he knows
Ini
when
nih.
to reset. We saw this at AVL. T1 came
Momot,
out swinging
momot.
on Sunset
Nah, tuh.
with the Euro. PRX just
Anjay,
looked
controller,
lost
iya,
like
Bang.
they've never been before. It was 6-0 or
Kalau
something,
nggak
and then Alex just
smoker
punched
paling
both timeouts back to
apa ya?
back.
Inisiator
And
susah
suddenly
tau.
it just flips, and T1's like, well, we've run out of
Aku
options.
nggak
We don't know
pernah
what to do. And even after the
nyentuh
game, I talked
duelis
to the
sih.
players. Devi was like, T1 looks scary.
Bisa
Like, they
omen,
look
Bang.
strong.
Bisa.
Sai is firing on all cylinders. But at the end of the day, they still won pretty handily.
Yeah, I
Aku
feel like we're actually
pokoknya
not going to
kalau
be seeing the
nggak
same
Astra,
PRX that we did in 2023.
Xeapher.
I'm actually prepared for
Ya itu,
maybe a
antara
PRX
dua
that's
itulah.
a bit slower,
The Son
maybe
of Odin.
not as aggressive.
That's
I mean,
Itu ranknya apa sekarang? Sekarang aku belum buka ranknya lagi ya. Aku belum ada niatan untuk ranked, but let's see. But your Reyna is so good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what their compositions
Nah,
are coming
Yes.
through, because if
Itu
they're gonna be
agen
running
susah,
the
Mit.
Yoru quite a bit,
Siapa?
they can maybe picking that up, if not somebody
Astra.
else, then I could see the
Astra
aggression
is so
continuing
good,
from this
so
team.
good, so good.
But ultimately,
Well,
the
define
Yoru,
it.
that sort of involvement, that could just
Ya,
come down to
aku main
And also
Astra.
the question of a lot of people still seem to favor Raze on a lot of these
Halo,
maps,
Mbak
and some
Mbak
people
PRX.
saw much more known for his jet.
Halo,
We even
Bang.
saw him piloting the breach a couple times on
Masih
Fracture in
inget
the
klip
past,
Yoru
now
beliau?
Gecko on Sunset in the off season. So
Anyways.
does something flex a bit
Ya,
more?
dan
Is he
setelah
gonna
itu aku
go
nggak
to the
akan memakai
Forsaken
Yoru sih.
school of valor where he's just picking up every H
Cause
and firing
imagine,
his gun more than
imagine,
his
imagine.
utility.
I mean, that's the thing, is you do have that guy that's right there that
Astra
can teach
ultinya
you
susah.
everything you need to know about playing
Sure.
in different agents.
Tidak ada yang
Forsaken's
susah
got
guys kalau
so much
belajar.
depth to it.
Asik
If you're
gila
going to
banget,
have any
so
kind of
banget
mentor,
gua.
he's about the best person to
Enggak,
learn what to
bercanda, sorry.
For PRX,
Sorry.
building something into a bit of a Demon 1, where
Enggak,
you can
soalnya
overplay
Yoru tuh
things
ya
like the Astra play,
kayak
et cetera, would just
duelis tuh kan
further
emang
just
kerjanya ya udah
embolden
kill
this
kan.
team. So that's actually a really
Tapi
scary
kalau kamu
prospect.
pakai Yoru
And if it's
tuh
something that they
rasanya
have been working on since the AVL
rasanya tuh
concluded,
kamu harus
then this could be
pakai
very
dua
scary
otak
for
gitu
every
loh.
single
Gimana
team
sih?
out there. DRX gonna
Don't
reclaim
know.
the throne if something is able to play a couple other roles at the same time. I don't know if it's gonna
Cara
happen.
belajar PRX gimana? Kamu bisa cek di Tokopedia PRX. Nanti ada di sana.
First game for
Udah,
PRX,
kamu check
right?
out.
And they've been hiding it quite a bit during the off season as well, even giving more
Kalau
chance for
Yoru nih
Jin to
Kakeru,
kind of show
itu
stuff one last time on a couple of
kebiasaan
those
saya sih.
games, and that was great to see. But again, therefore, I mean, Solo mentioned it in the interview of like, well, we just don't have tape to study. Like, we don't know what they're going to come out with.
Two
we don't
brain,
know what this core
left
5
and right
looks like
brain.
in PRX.
True.
And everyone's expecting, like you said, Mika, like, is it a slower PRX? Is it even faster? Like, are they flexing
PRX
everybody? 'Cause they
controller,
have Mindfreak
PRX
solo
lagi.
on a
Sorry,
couple maps as
Astra
well.
controller agak susah
It's
dimainin
just a
skillnya, lumayan bingung.
I think it's one
Wah,
of the biggest mysteries that we're gonna have
padahal
here in
itu
Pacific, right?
smoker
What kind of PRX are people
tergantung
going
sih,
to
tergantung
get
sih.
these days,
Again,
especially since
it
this
depends
is
on the
their
map.
debut
Kalau
for
misalnya
2024
mapnya
on the
Breeze,
Pacific stage, and I
aku
feel like
makanya
everybody here is
ya
very
si
excited.
Bapak
Also
India
really
itu
excited
siapa
to
ya
see what
namanya?
Gen G have
Lupa
up
lagi.
their sleeves right now, especially
Harbor,
since
Harbor,
the
ya.
winner of
Aku
this
pakai
series
Harbor.
becomes the first team to qualify into playoffs
Aku
and are
sangat
that
menghindari
much
Viper
closer
sih,
to
karena
Masters
Viper itu lumayan
Yeah, I mean,
krusial ya.
obviously-
Kalau sekali salah nggak bisa ditarik lagi
He's
tuh
still gonna say that there's
polnya.
a team out there that doesn't want that, but for PRX, coming off the back of narrowly missing out on a trophy, not being able to push it all the way to a game 5,
Soalnya ketika ada Harbor ya,
that is going to
jadi
leave that kind of bittersweet feeling in your
apa ya,
heart.
more reliable
No matter
aja
how
sih
much you
buat aku ya.
reset,
Atau
you don't
mungkin
think
memang
about the
akunya
past,
juga
that
nggak
is
handal
still
gitu
lingering
pakai
there
Viper.
within
Mungkin
yourself.
orang
So,
yang
I
handal
think
pakai
for them,
Viper bisa
being
kali.
able to kick off the year, get straight over, qualify for Masters Madrid, and then go on to try to win the trophy. That would be
Nah
a great
itu
way to just kind of
Viper itu tuh
rectify
harus ada 2
shortcomings of
smoker,
Yeah,
paling
and of
enak,
course,
paling
also
enak ya.
getting first place in kickoff gives you those early
Tapi kan
championship
masalahnya
points as well. So that's
kalau
one
di
step
tim
towards
yang
champions.
pakai
Then you go to
smoker aku
Madrid, if you
doang.
win that, you get more points as well, so you kind of have a safety spot
Kalau
to
Harbor
go
buku
all the
satu
way
lagi
to champions
controller
now in
sih.
Seoul for
But
2024, and
for
that
some
would be
reason,
the absolute
for
best
some
start for
reason,
PRX.
God, I'm
Satu
looking
satu
so
controller
much.
udah
I'm looking
cukup
so
sih.
forward to just all of the
I don't know.
absolutely crazy Reddit posts, the Charlie
Atau
Kelly
mungkin
meme of like,
kalau
this
ada
is how-
Omen,
this
oke
is
lah.
how- This is how Sentinels get the championship points, and this is how they're gonna make it over there.
Oh, Viper mah rollnya bukan controller, Sentinel ya.
Start writing all over this thing.
By the time kickoff ends, you're gonna see all of this covered.
Nah
in, like,
itu
our notes.
masalahnya
Just, like,
bagus atau
competitive
enggaknya tuh kan
criteria.
balik lagi ke pilotnya ya
It's
guys ya.
inevitable. I mean, every
Mungkin ini
single team
agentnya
out there
bakal
that's
bagus di
fast
sini,
and
tapi
they're
kalau
gonna be
misalnya
people
kita
who are
nggak
trying to
ngerti
do the
cara
math and figuring out if
manfaatin
they can get
util
this.
agentnya,
Well, that's
tetap
what you're
aja
gonna see.
akan
This
jelek
team
gitu.
loses, then
I mean,
blah, blah,
I
blah,
won't
then
take
somehow
the
it'll
risk.
still come down
Apalagi
to,
kalau
"Might be our
ranked ya
game
di Breeze.
tonight."
And yeah.
Nggak akan aku
Coach
nyentuh
playing
Viper
it.
karena
The
Viper
coach
tuh
brings some
krusial.
victory
Kamu
for another
sekalinya
team,
salah
yeah.
smoke udah
Well, before we get ahead of
kelar
ourselves,
udah
let's start
selesai. Selesai tuh.
Year, of course, we have PRX and a Gen G, and it is so exciting to welcome, you know, the champions from last year, Pacific champions from last year, over
kembali ke
back to
pilot
the
sih,
Pacific
guys.
League stage, and I feel like for Gen G, this is going to be a tough
Omen
fight, but I
duelis.
do straw, so to say. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
we're up against PRX.
Kalau aku
Group
paling
definitely so
sering
sad. I
sih,
think
paling
everyone
sering
would
sih
agree
kalau
for
nggak
this,
Astra
whether it's
ya
RQ or
ini
Gen
sih,
G, it's a
Xeapher
group of
sih.
death no matter what. And the biggest
Aku
thing
suka Lord
is
King,
I
guys.
don't know if Gen G necessarily has as much of a home crowd buff
Kalau sekarang
either,
Viper itu paling
because
kuat di map
PRX has
Icebox.
gained a lot
I
of fans
see.
in Korea over the years, especially after last year lifting that trophy over DRX and then
Ini mulai jam
going and
berapa? Aku
representing
ngantuk
Pacific
dikit
all
lagi,
the way
Bang.
to the grand
Sabar ya.
finals of champions.
Sabar
Even
ya,
the Korean
sabar ya.
fans are like, PRX is where it's at, right? They're the reps of Pacific. So Gen G has a lot of work cut out for him.
No, they really do. But I mean, that makes me very much consider something that I haven't really put that much thought into, because it just in your brain it's like, okay, PRX, they're going to come back. They're probably going to be very strong, make it to the final. Do we see the back-to-back champions within Pacific itself, or is there going to be a change-up? You know, does somebody else ascend to the throne? If it's not DRX, who else is it going to be? So I think it's just neat to think about all of the teams that we've seen so far, who is going to be capable of being able to lift that one, because it's nowhere close to what we expected coming into the season.
Oh man,
we've
orang
been
Indo,
on,
Mit.
we've been on Plat Chat, etc. People have been doing their own power rankings and stuff. We have been so far off the mark
Mungkin.
Very
already
wrong.
within the first 2 days, and things could course correct with a little bit more time.
Tapi teori yang
Maybe
kemarin
things do
benar kah?
settle into
Confirm
that
kah?
kind of
Omen
pattern
orang
being laid
Indo?
out. But for right now,
And
it
that's
seems
why
like
belum ada
pretty much
agent dari
everybody
Indo
was
selama ini.
completely and utterly wrong about, I don't know what, from second all the way down to 11th.
Maruf
Yeah,
Omen.
and the big thing is
My
again,
God.
that's off the back of a lot of these new
You
faces,
guys.
right? Where we heard some hype about some of them, but
Aduh,
the
ada
question always
cabai
remains,
lagi.
but how do you perform
Marvin
against
Paul,
the
thank
other
you for
T1
subscribing.
teams and players,
Thank
right? How do you
you.
perform against other Pacific teams? And now, for someone
Omen
like
orang
Karen, it's like, well, how
Kediri.
do you perform against PRX out of
Omen
all
orang
teams
Sunda,
that you have
guys.
to face in your very first week of debut in
Omen
the
itu orang
VCT?
Sunda, nama
He
panjangnya
has to prove himself, just like Izu has, just like
Omen
Governor has,
Oramen.
and of course they've played in,
Nah, orang
challengers
Sunda
as well,
kan
but Karen has to come in and
selalu
say, you know what, I've been ready
ngulang-ngulang
for
ya
this, I've been
namanya.
coached through this as well alongside my teammates, because those are some veterans who have played against the PRX boys quite a few times.
Omen Suramen.
And he has to be able to
Anjay.
hold his ground.
I love that these rookies, the new faces here, they're like the special seasoning over here in Pacific, right? You have these teams that we thought we knew, and then suddenly you have new names come on board, and Zeta is looking incredible right now. We have, we have Talon, who suddenly looks like, they could be a contender.
Halo Bang
for,
Rio. Hah?
qualifying
Salah
for playoffs.
channel.
We
Hey,
thought that,
hey,
okay,
salah
Team
channel.
Secret
Muhammad
surely
Omen
should be one of the
Putra.
strongest teams. But now, it's kind of like, again, like you mentioned, we do have to erase everything, and we're kind of like all off the mark, but I feel like it's really on the back of those new names, those rookies that had that X factor this time around.
And
Oh,
that's so
tangga aing dia
exciting,
jual
right?
tahu
Again, that's
petis.
something that Pacific
Halo
as a
Jing,
region
salah,
has been
salah channel,
starving
hey.
for, quite frankly, because there just
Tweet.
wasn't as much history in growing up new talent in a game like Valorant. But just in the last 2 years, we've seen this surge coming up.
Absen Bang
So,
Windah,
I mean,
salah.
this is exciting that it's not
Makan
just
apa,
like
Mit?
one
Nasi
country
goreng?
either, across the different countries, whether it's
Nah, haruskah
academy
gua
players,
tulis gua
whether
makan
it's
nasi
challenger
goreng?
league players, whether it's unknown recruits like Karon, we're seeing teams scout out
Halo,
new talent
Spicy,
and bring them
salah.
to the big stage.
Salah lapak, tolong. Tolong, guys.
Because a lot of us, and I'd say
Bang,
most
salah
people in
lapak,
general,
Bang.
you think, okay, well, this team is just
Kapan live,
there's
Mit?
so
Ini
many
udah
rookies that
live.
haven't played at tier 1. They're probably gonna
Salah
take
satu
some
VTuber
time
cantik
to
yaitu
get
kami.
together for this team to come together for this interview
Saja.
to be built up,
Blablabla.
for them to really find their footing and get used to being on stage in front of an audience. And that's just been
Halo Bang
completely
Rusman,
submitted.
makin salah,
You
keren.
know,
Halo
everybody's
Jing,
come out
salah.
here making their debut, re-debuting in the
Salah,
tier
coba
1.
lagi.
They pretty much
Halo
all
PRX
definitely
gua.
critical.
Nah,
Well,
itu
we're
baru
about to
bener.
get right into it, so let's welcome back our champion to the Pacific League stage. And
Kemarin
Gen G,
tuh
their
lucu deh.
competitors.
Kan dimintain, wait. Kemarin kan dimintain tuh ID aku apa. Terus aku kasih kan ID ku. ID ku tuh tadinya masih Mythia boosted. masih Mythia boosted.
솔직히 작년은 이제 더 이상 생각하기 싫은 시즌이 아니었나 생각합니다.
誰と対峙して
Mau
も
Bang
新しい
Kingson.
メンバーたち
Terima
で
kasih banyak.
新しい波を勝てます
Our team is stronger than last year, but we grew stronger as well.
Don't forget that we're the champion last year. We are in the different league.
우승해야죠. 들어오자마자 우승. 이런 낭만 아니겠습니까? 파이팅 해야죠. 걱정이에요.
Kalau Spicy hebat ya, sekarang bahasa Indonesia lancar, keren.
We have a great team this year. I'm very excited.
Keren.
I think we don't really have a key player.
Bajunya beli di mana? Di
I think
Tokopedia.
everyone is a key player of the team.
Tokopedia di official store-nya
The team
PRX, bisa
Esports,
dicek
the
guys.
chemistry has been in an all-time high. Kickoff will be the perfect start for us to prove ourselves and show our potential.
Baju beli di mana, Mit?
Before
Tokopedia.
the kickoff, yeah,
Di official store
we are
PRX,
completely
bisa dicek.
We're gonna show you
Terima
guys
kasih
the new
banyak,
art.
Momot.
We can
Halo nasi
be
goreng,
a lot
thanks.
more
Duluan ya
aggressive,
Mbak
not
Per.
caring about what others
Paling kerjaan
think,
dulu,
just
dadah.
play
Dadah,
more
Vanzoe,
aggressive.
thank you for stopping by.
다른 팀들이 이제 저희 팀을 이제 경계를 좀 안 하는 것 같은데 새롭게 맞는 방법을 좀 알려드려야.
Peace buat cabut nih modnya nih. Bener-bener lu. Maafin ya kak, mod saya. Emang rada brengsek kadang-kadang.
ぶつけていくっていう気持ちでできてますね。
I'm super excited to showcase myself in the Pacific Kickoff. I have no fear about Diablo at all.
自分のプレイスタイルはキャラクターコントロールがうまいなと思ってるので自分でもそこを試合で
Maaf
見せれ
ya,
るように
nggak apa-apa.
頑張ります。
Emang itu moderator saya paling brengsek ya. Maaf ya guys, pendatang baru sorry banget ini mah. Mousepad yang gambar lu ada nggak Mit? Ada, print sendiri. Nggak. Info beli UC 1000 di Alpha April, Indo April.
We don't care who we face and we don't care how hard
Tentu
we
saja
face.
dengan khas
No matter what happen,
turtleneck-nya.
we will always win.
Iya, iya
Everyone
suka-suka.
knows that
Iya
we're
iya.
champion last year,
Nah, di sini dibolehin fangirling gak sih? I'm scared.
24.
Dibolehin fangirling gak sih? Boleh gak sih? Boleh gak sih? Oh damn. Boleh nge-sim gak sih kak?
지금 진짜 이번엔 너무
Boleh lah ya.
저희가 이길 거예요.
Wow, iya kak, aku diam. Diam. Gigi kering guys. maaf. Gigi kering, maaf kak. Gila emang rambutnya tuh, aduh, selalu on point, selalu pakai turtleneck. I love it. Iya, suka. Aduh.
Welcome to the Valorant Champions Tour Pacific Kickoff. After a wave of changes, stronger teams were waiting in the wings. Starting today, teams will face eliminations. But before that, it's time to meet our Pacific Kings in Seoul. It's time to showcase the might of
Rambut kamu kayak gitu jadi opa-opa Korea, Seng. Jadi beda banget vibe-nya jadi opa-opa Korea, Seng. Gimana ini? Hihi. Pecinta kali ini kayak di basement. Bro, can you Bruh. Bebas nge-sim? Oke, bebas. Real kena angin Korea ini, Mas Haron ini. I miss Jinx. Tapi mari kita dukung yang sedang bermain ya guys. Monyet. Kita harus bangga ada tim Indonesia masuk PRX. Kita harus bangga ya guys. Mid sim ke monyet dia imut. Mau nge-sim for second takut digebuk. Jangan gitu, aku nge-sim main break juga takut digebukin tapi ya udahlah. 3 biji Indomit makanya kita harus bangga. Roster barunya PRX orang Indo, kita harus bangga guys. Ya, Indo Pride. Jangan nge-troll, jangan berharap ya. Coach, ada Coach, Bang Coach, siang Mit, wah bangga sih. Halo Punim, nyanyi. 1 biji yang Indo, 3. Jadi katain monyet Mit, namanya monyet ya. Oh, megang apaan tuh? 9 apa? Tuh monyet tuh, ya kan? Bener kan? Gue nge-sim sama Alex. Orang semua itu mid, wah parah sih. Tayu. Kunin, kamu jangan brengsek kayak viewerku nih. Jangan gitu lah. Kamu tahu nggak kenapa something nomornya 11? Karena 11 Januari bertepuk menjalani kisah cinta ini. Naluri berkata engkaulah diri.
PaperX pretty much everybody's expecting something to be flexing already, and we have Mythia and Munchkin that are flex as well.
Aku berusaha loh.
We're not sure what agent composition we're going to get, but these maps are going to be pretty determinant of that.
Yeah, we'll get maybe a better idea as far as what they're going to be piloting, especially if Gen G has any kind of repeat maps that do come up. Against RQ, we saw Icebox split as well as Sunset, but okay, Gen G going to be bringing up Bree, so we will get a new look on this squad. Big question is, do they play Yoru?
Yeah, but if they do, that is some tape that Gen G actually has of how PaperX plays it. And if it's not that, historically, PaperX has struggled with Breeze a lot. So I actually like this pick from Gen G, especially with the option for things like the Operator, the Outlaw on the squad of Gen G.
I mean, I'm wondering if Gen G are going to be playing Yoru as well. You know, do we get to see that coming through? Not something I believe that Texture's really played maybe a handful of times in his career, but none of them really spring to mind. But Lotus coming in for PaperX, this just feels like maximum comfort. And overall, it is a map that there's an immense amount of tape on for them. So Gen G could have, you know, will have done a lot of studying of that map.
Well, it looks like Gen G have heard rumors of the Age of Yoru making a comeback, and they're like, oh, we remember PaperX Unbind. Let's not do that, right?
Yeah,
that one would be a little bit bold.
Yeah, I mean, definitely banning that out as well, and also I think accepting that the old ways that some of these players and the coaches have used to play blind no longer works. A lot of them used to actually have a lot of pride on bind, but things have changed since then in the game in several different ways. So that is going to leave Sunset, which again, some tape for PaperX, though surely there could be a lot of changes as well.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them, you know, versus Sentinels, that they did make that a pretty close one in the grand final. And like you mentioned before, you know, had to run that back versus T1 as well. So there is a bit out there to study when it comes down to that newest map in the pool.
Kamu dukun ya?
Changed anything is the big question. But as we get ready to focus on Breeze, I mean, my eyes immediately just have to go to Forsaken to see what he's going to be playing.
Oh, it's
something playing Yoru as Forsaken.
Hey, yo, what? Hey, yo, what? Hey, yo, what?
As well for Gen G. And I mean, I'm actually okay with this. I think if you're going to play double controller, there's some options for that Astra as well, especially because you have the Xeapher to really anchor down one site. But the single duelist Yoru for PaperX.
Triple control.
Yes, and triple control as well.
Are they trolling now?
Should be a lot more aggressive now, so he's going to be acting as kind of that secondary duelist alongside the Yoru. Both of them able to actually entry in very different angles than you're used to.
That means that with this matchup right here,
Viper Sentinel. Viper Sentinel. Iya, tingkat guys. Viper Sentinel.
Or is it going to be the Yoru here from the side of PaperX? Because so far we have already seen success from the double duels compositions.
Viper Sentinel. Viper Sentinel.
Duel is better than no Sentinel composition, right?
Si Genji harus bawa obat batuk
so let's get this first match started. PaperX versus Gen G. Over to Hey, I'm Quack, and hey, it's Asarai.
Should I move the ini?
Hey, it's me indeed.
Harusnya kita pindahin ininya, live studinya.
Time to bring your face
Sebentar ya.
masks. It's gonna get a lot smoky here on Breeze. Triple controller, my man, on PaperX.
That is super interesting. I mean, we've never really seen this being pulled out from this team before. But apart from that, also something on the Euro, I think is a little bit worth mentioning. But of course, we have seen how strong Gen G was yesterday. We can see and we can expect a lot from Texture. Are they going to do the same thing?
Absolutely. Now, looks like PaperX is going to be starting to spread their wings a little bit all across the map. And this is, I think, the good thing about that triple controller comp is you do have so many options to blot a good chunk of a big map such as this Breeze.
Especially on the attack, right? Just having three
salah tuh namanya,
sets of smokes to
namanya
cycle
salah
through. You
tuh,
can see that they already sent out a high tide across A.
Tadi kameranya ada apa namanya something.
But at the same time,
something namanya monyet.
I think Gen G gets a bit of information.
Yeah, haven't committed the top wall yet, so not really too much has been shown here by the hands of PaperX. There it is.
Mohon maaf itu ya farming orb ya.
Good start, good start. I think
Yeah,
they're just making sure that Gen G has to just commit a lot of their stars for the start of this.
Apart from that, also just with the gate crash that something is using, you know, they're going all over the map, but here it comes.
Yeah, Tripwire on that A site. This is the Yoru though, so he can bypass it. Needs to break it. Munchkin has been given up already. Right in front of him, two. Contact point, it's good. Something finds another. And they already secured that A site in the blink of an eye. Rest of Genji will have to go on that rotate back to the A site, but look at how far Devi has pushed up on Halls here. He's the first Vanguard for the moment. Holding, whiffing.
Nice!
He's gonna go down, but
not nice.
Information for the rest of Paper
X.
It was good hit nonetheless.
Kenapa kameranya? Oh, udah benar.
Coming from bridge, coming from
udah benar.
And that just confirms a lot.
Salah kamera tadi.
Dash
Masih belum benar, ya.
Aggressive into this as well as super confident, but of course, Paper X just gonna be playing that post plan. Something coming around the corner, repositions, has to help out his team. Right at the precipice of the smoke. Texture. Second. Wow. 5 bullets, dashes right in, finds another one, and he picks up the 4K.
No way. First round already picks up the fourth.
Aman. Pemanasan. Aman aja. Aman aja. Masih round 1. Santai guys. Santai. Ini klasik PRX round ya. Aman aja.
Basically got a lot of these segmented 1v1 fights in the span of just a couple of seconds, ultimately turning the hand for Genji.
And now they've picked up the bull.
Saya tidak akan kaget kalau sampai 3 round ya.
He's looking to pick up the Bladestorm early on.
Let's go. You can do this, guys.
Let's go. They give him the satisfaction. He's getting closer. His teammates breaking and giving as much support as possible, and Monyet's down already.
I mean, that's the other thing, right? Because it's an outlaw, it's just so powerful. Anything on an eco round, it just chews right through. So these guys, Paper X, they got to be so careful.
You can already see one spawning the tripwire outside of B main. Still, that's not going to stop Paper X from starting to move their forces all the way here. Looks like they're just okay with that. Devi still hasn't gotten any contact with the Sheriffs that he's bought in the past 2 rounds. That's looking a little bit iffy. With the stars being committed here as well, and Texture actually pushing all the way up onto mid. This could be very bad for Paper X as the spike drops.
Spike down mid.
Reloads, they know he's here. They don't really want to challenge him. It's way too risky. So they're running out of options. You can't go back into elbow. You can only, you're pretty much stuck inside of B main. Texture, well, Tailwind's away, so maybe got a bit of breathing room, but 30 seconds left, Asarai.
Something's going to just try to make something happen. You know, no pun intended.
30 seconds.
Make some contacts here. Does have his big crash available. It wants to challenge out again the outlaw of Texture, but when it's 140 body shot damage and you have shield or half,
I'm not surprised.
It's not gonna work. You're just beating him the kills, and now he's got that ace. 2 rounds in to the first map of this game.
Wow, that's just a big boost.
Tenang guys, masih round 2. Masih round 2. Oke. Masih round 2. Masih round 2.
I mean,
masih round 2. Masih round 2.
Today, I don't know what he's on, but this is a whole new look.
Chill, masih round 2 ya. Masih round 2.
Kalau
round itu kita nggak akan tahu kalau sampai benar-benar selesai.
Couldn't really find anything, and that's a little bit surprising.
There's so many players, I think, in this 2024 Pacific League that is on their revenge.
That was not a good idea at all.
Not getting the chance to play for Team Secret, and Texture, as the Des was mentioning, not having any opportunity to showcase his duelist, but here comes the dueling potential for something as he pushes up onto Orange. Any tricky business. Spots one, getting into the astral dimension. Goes out, flashes. He still challenges something. He's got to make something happen here, and he does get it. Follow up by Monyet, but Karon's holding on.
Nice try.
3 versus 3. Spike planted down.
Okay,
we got the cascade up as well, so there's a lot more room for Seiken trying to play around this, pushing Genji back. They want to burn down the timer, and they want to stay alive as long as possible.
Yeah, Munchkin's coming around the corner here on double doors. They're just waiting for him to drop down already. Forsaken's right here for the first contact, but gets punished by Meteor. He's going to be alone by himself. 1 versus 1, though. Devi, unknowing of where his opponent might be, not spawning Meteor, getting closer and closer. He might not even know about this. There it is. No more utilities for Meteor, so it's a straight-up start of the defuse. Devi playing and will be winning the gamble on the peak.
Yeah, you got the advantage of the spike. Might as well just hang back and, you know, play it loose and easy. And at the same time, I mean, you gotta love the utility that Paper X uses. You can see that, yeah, you know, 3 controllers, got Mind Freak on the solo. What? This might not be W Gaming, but no, it still very much is. The dimensional drift gives them so much space. Monyet is already there, kind of like what Will said on the desk. That secondary duelist, instantly trading back and forth for the entire team. And with that, you know, spike down, it's tough for Genji to retake in such situations.
True, but
as always.
they do love their first contact, and Texture is already on this operator. There's not really much utility that can really punish him, but okay, gravity will activate it.
Barbar juga.
That's gonna be
okay.
as the dust settles, 2 kills down against Gen G. PRX have somewhat of an advantage here. Oh, still pushing through the smoke! Butera with a double kill, triple kill right out here, and myfreak is alone by himself on Halls.
I can't believe that he reacted to that so quickly. I thought the Cascade would at least mask PRX's intentions for just a second, but he reacts just as quick.
You're right.
Karon's just so fast at being able to just get these punishes. myfreak's
can
gonna give away his position. Of course, Texture's not gonna miss the beat.
Wah, ente.
Wanting to get this
Belum.
main control for the longest time, but the
guys,
smokes, man, the peek outs and the flashes just, even though they have the triple controller, it doesn't seem like it's
10 kills already. That's
it's
insane.
giving them any leeway.
Yeah, not yet. That's the thing. I mean, the smokes are still just smokes, and without the
You can
flashes,
do it, guys.
dude,
Let's go.
Karon was just popping off in that round. Round 5, this guy has 6 kills already as a controller.
I bet Will is starting to foam at the mouth. Yes, 3-1. Yes, this is what I was thinking, hoping about, predicting. PRX still wanting to get that quick contact, feeding all the orbs for something. This is a pretty good idea, I'd still say, because if he does keep getting that dimensional drift of his, it does give them a lot more access into the back of the site. But of course, they still have to deal with this close contact that Lakia is setting up on A.
Jadi sedikit
Yeah,
gitu
the positioning that Gen G has, that classic 2-1-2 split. Oh, actually, it's a 1-1-3 split. 3 stacked up, and it's just a little bit tougher for PRX to break through. You got the stars as well, and those are really, really annoying. So maybe trying to bait around it, trying to
Indonya yang
bait
mana?
Karon into a
Indonya
peek.
yang
Then you also
monyet
gotta worry about texture in
main
this
freak
off.
sama 4
This is
second.
the problem about having a flash initiator. You just can't really flush out these set angles that they just break that. PRX break that themselves. Anyways, hold on. There's going to be 2 on the side itself. It's Karon and Texture on that contact. Forsaken pushes out, but Texture, he doesn't respect this wall. He just goes and swims through with the high tide, giving him a high time. And now it's only myfreak and Divide to remain. The pinch coming in from Double Door doesn't secure anything, so that has to be Divide just putting up the toxic screen, hoping that myfreak could deal with Texture. It's not going to happen. He only has the Sheriff in hand. 3 versus 1, 20 seconds. He's going to have to start pushing in, but because of how much out in the open he is, he's going to be exposed to Meteor, and that's going to be the 4-1 for Gen G.
Gen G are feeling fired up, having won those rounds against PRX. They're like, oh, you guys think you're the kings of Pacific. Wait till you see what we've got. I mean, this Gen G, Texture on the op, Karon popping off with kills. They are able
Mereka
to
nggak mau
play these
nyoba
anti-flash
B
positions
kah? Tapi
on the
B
A
tuh ada
side, no
Xeapher
matter what
sih.
PRX
Selalu
throws at
ada
them.
Xeapher.
The idea of
Mereka
going in
ngindarin
for an
Xeapher,
execute like
tapi
that off
A-nya
of, you know,
kokoh
something
banget,
on
coy.
the Yoru, you've got Monyet on the Paranoia with the Omen. It's just not
Sudah
quite
pasti ini
landing
normal.
as it needs to.
You know, I usually talk about
Nah,
win
biasanya habis timeout nih. Biasanya habis timeout baru.
Want to, you know, use in these situations to actually make it effective. We're already seeing the what's lacking, and it feels like they need that bit of information on who's in the back of the site. The problem is the dart's not going to be good enough. Something's not going to always be at the back of the site unless, again, he has the invulnerability and the scouting power of that dimensional drift.
Santai
So what's
saja.
going to be the adjustment here for PRX? What happens if
Your
they don't
usual
have those tools
PRX
available
round.
for them? When again, like you're mentioning, they're only really relying on the triple smoke to kind of blot out these certain positions.
Yeah, that's
not
probably
really
me right
making
now.
Texture afraid of holding the spots and just
go,
using that tailwind to get out of harm's way.
Yeah, precisely, right? I mean, that's the other thing. It's just having those 3 smokes, 3 controllers.
Mythia harus masuk jadi pengganti, pasti menang. Menangis.
You know, just block off vision and maybe, you know, block off certain areas. Make sure that Texture can't really, you know, dominate the map in his current fashion.
Sekarang Xeapher-nya
so whatever it is, you
dia
know,
ke A.
that's kind of what the desk was talking about. Alex loves to call these timeouts. He knows when to pause the breaks. And right now, we shall see what kind of effect it has.
Well, Reckoning and Dimensional Drift is available for 2. Oh, I love this push from Texture.
Oh my god.
Find something.
Who's next?
And something doesn't waste any time, though. He does use his ultimate to start clearing things up. Reckoning coming in from double doors. And he already finds one.
Davai di mid, guys.
In a world of hurt,
He's
the flash is out,
trying.
but he's out of harm's way.
Nice, Davai!
Using the cyber cages to give him a bit of positioning here to roam around.
Oh my
Something
god.
quickly
Nice
deals with him, but
banget.
Karon finds Forsaken through the off-cam kill. Oh, big flash from Lockya. Oh, they don't even expect it.
He can't
Nggak
crash
expect
backwards. I
sih
feel like
lurking
Lockya might
dong.
have heard it. So now everyone's kind of split up. Device still up towards mid. It's a good bit
He
of
can do
vision,
it.
but it's a 2-on-3 nonetheless.
You can do it.
He can't use the Viper's Pit.
Mindfreak is just by himself right now.
Apa dari mid?
I mean, there's even the smoke coming into double doors. They have really segmented the two players of PRX. But the buy,
Emang boleh sedonat
he's hoping
itu?
to be the savior here. Mindfreak's been given up
Agent apa?
out in the open texture. He's got
Nice!
everything, but the buy takes everything away from him.
Oh my god, Davai!
Making
Halo!
use of my
Oh my
first
god, nice lurk,
position, keeping
sumpah.
Devi hidden,
Sumpah,
able
nice
to
lurk.
pick them off apart, you know, getting information as to where
Lagi
Texture
merinding.
was positioned,
Let's
as to where
go.
the rest of them were trying to approach from. They
Let's go,
knew
let's go, let's
how
go,
to
let's
find
go,
those
let's go.
shots.
Bang,
And that's
bang.
again something that PRX can always do. But I think the crucial thing in that round was how something used that dimensional
Suka Agent
bit,
apa? Aku
how he
suka
pushed up
Astra.
all the way towards
Gila.
orange, towards bridge side. And from that
Nice.
point, he was able to find that back
Nice.
flank on towards Meteor. So that broke apart the
Nice.
A line of
Gila,
defense
gila,
for
gila,
Gen G.
gila. Menyala, bangku.
If I can add, you know, they spotted texture on mid, so the threat of the operators
Okay, they're
way
trying B
far.
now,
They actually
but
just start,
oh
you know,
my.
hunkering their way onto the A site, which ultimately, as you
Something
mentioned, you know,
tahu
with
sih.
what you said, works in the favor of
You
PRX
know what
on
to
that
do
push.
lah. You know what to do lah.
That said, though, we still need a few more rounds. Both
You know
sides
what to
have
do.
ultimates. And Meteor has been such a menace. Now he's swapped up over back to B site. PRX is trying to approach here.
He's already preparing himself. Ooh, where did that shot come from? Meteor, I think, just shot through the smoke. That's going to be the punish on Monyan. Waiting for the rest of PRX to come through that B site. There's so many tripwires here. It might get a little bit tricky, but something just slowly walks up. That's all you need, you know? Just keep it simple, keep it safe.
And that's the thing about New Breeze as well. This backside, back walls, you are able to sneak up on front like that. So now that the spike has gone down, Gen G are sensing that they don't quite have the timing on this retake. Devi.
Yeah, he's going to be the first contact on this 3 waterfall down mid. He's already been spotted. Oh, Forsaken's not hitting any shots. Finally does able to do so. And the pinch works out, leaving Texture by himself.
Oh my god.
But man, he's got some options here.
Hold.
Time might not be
Hold,
one of
please.
them though, so he might have to save up and through the smoke or through the toxic screen, blasts away.
Ambil.
Something. Want to pick it up? Want to use it for attack? He will
Enggak
not.
ding, enggak diambil ding.
I was
sama
talking
dia.
about the operator.
Yeah, maybe no ops for now,
Nice.
but you can definitely feel the impact.
See,
of
biasanya
Alice's
habis
timeouts
timeout begini
already,
baru.
right? Just called from the previous round. Now they've won 2 in a row. And you
Gila,
can
through the
see the
smoke loh.
clear idea and game plan, how they
Nice.
make use of these smokes, how they use
Gila.
something to really creep in, cut out
Gila.
space, and they really block off and cause a
Iya,
lot of
iya,
chaos
iya, iya,
for Gen G's
suka-suka.
defenses. So, wow.
Timeout
Counter
langsung.
being called now by Gen G.
Ya.
Yeah, they
Panik
just,
tuh, panik tuh.
Again, they're starting to lose grip. From a 4-1, it already turns into a 4-3 very quickly to turn around for PRX.
Biasa,
It
biasa.
Makes Gen
Habis
G
timeout biasa ini.
quake in their boots, and this is
Jeda
where
waktu.
I think it makes a lot of sense to, again, just take a step back first, because they were putting a lot of emphasis on using Texture as that big contact, but when he really can't find a contact, it feels like there's not a lot of options here for Gen G to kind of try to do something else on that defense. Sure, you get the offhand kill from time to
Ya,
time
habis di roasting langsung
as they
panas
start
tuh.
to creep up onto a certain position, but PRX, I feel with the composition that they've had, they're so flexible at just getting those kills even when it's a 4 versus 5 as they push up into a site. I mean, even if it can be like a 3 versus 5 because of how many smokes they can keep utilizing to block the sight lines of the players of Gen G.
Yeah, that's right. And not just that too, right? I mean, apart from blocking off sidelines, I love how they're using this third controller, Devi as the Viper, as more of a sentinel, as more of a lurker of all things. Because as soon as he deploys his toxic screen, he's like, all right, I'm good. I can hang back towards mid, can get further information, try to cut off
Aku sudah
rotations
bilang.
as Gen G tries to retake. And that is something that we've
Viper
seen him do
to
a couple
sentinel.
rounds now. He is that top fragger for PRX.
And additionally, I mean, if
Yeah.
anybody pushes
Let's
through
go,
that,
Devi.
you know, vulnerability as well as the decay makes
Lurknya pas
challenges or
mulu.
fights for him quite easy. Anyways, PRX now looking to
Thank
go
you.
for that B site. They do have the shock darts, so they are breaking as much utility as they can. And of course, yep, I love this. When you use the
Oh iya,
decoy,
sekarang kan udah
it
nggak-
activates the trip, so
udah
at
nggak
least you'll
hancur
know
ya
where
ininya.
not to push. Meteor is doing his damnedest to just,
Wow.
again, dodge everything, but it's not working.
Wow.
It's a lot of
Wow.
kills already positioned
Itu
here for the favor of PRX.
Ceroboh
Back
juga.
to side texture
Nice.
does make
Nice.
a bit of wave at
You
the
can
back
do
of
it.
things, but it's not gonna work out
Nice,
in the fight.
gila, Devi panas banget.
It is an anti-eco round after all. but
Let's go.
what a
Gila sih.
bit of an
Gila
execute
sih.
PRX.
tapi tadi ceroboh banget loh. Tadi ceroboh banget loh. Ya karena ini sih kena apa ya itulah pokoknya. Damage-nya jadi makin sakit kan, kirain bisa nge-whip. Ternyata tidak. Menyala bangku. Ngepur dikit di awal.
There definitely is some changes in terms of that defensive setup.
Texture is still committing on this operator of his. Something one away from the dimensional.
Belum tahu ya mau kemana komitnya. Kayaknya ke B deh.
Texture. Seeing that out of the open, right? Anyways, he's already committed to Tailwind, so might as well over push just in case he can get that again, that one-off kill if ever. Seems like because they spotted again Texture on B or on A, excuse me, they're just gonna bring the whole enchilada on that B site.
Yeah, why not? We know we can avoid that off. We can just go straight for Meteor. We can go straight for.
Namanya udah bener sekarang, oke lah.
Those two, and then we have the site. Seekers were deployed by Lakia though, and he's already here to reinforce. Something's trying to get that through.
Yeah. To the interior of the site, excuse me. Mythia trying to find somebody inside the smokes, and it is so confusing to be in all of that positioning. Somehow, it is Gen G getting on top of things. Mythia, no ultimate for him, so he's stuck here until Devi comes in. So he is waiting for his teammate to give him that assistance. 40 seconds on the clock, and this is a pretty smart move from PaperX now that they still have that top of screen to block away that control at the back of the site. Where you already see Caron getting closer. He might not be spotted, as well as Texture coming in from B main.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's the main thing. They gotta watch all exits, all entrances of this Viper's pit. Texture could be the linchpin for Gen G.
Nice, gila.
It's a shot denied. Shorty's good. And look at this. Caron picks up the 4K. Able to isolate, able to beat off of the play. The Texture is giving the opportunity to retake the site and secure the round.
Ini Aaron belum mode BU ya. Sabar.
Caron picked off this. I don't want to say streets, but the rookie coming out from like almost nowhere, but proving himself again and again. You talk about firepower, and PaperX has a lot of it, but Gen G in this new form has picked up some new guns, some new shooters, and they are definitely bringing the challenge.
Absolutely, and again, just not having any form of extra information there for PaperX. They were just going blind into calls that they wanted to do. They even saved the operator here for Texture, so he's got a chance again to find something. Not the player, but you know, the opportunity to get. I'm gonna have to find another other than something to do this. Anyways, Paranoia is activated. Texture's blinded here. He's looking for a TP, but Lakia is making some waves at the front of the site on Brick.
Nice. Wah, ini udah mulai nih.
Bakal
mulai W-Gaming.
That's gonna be a secure plant on the spike. Everyone else here for Gen G.
Let's go, nice plan.
For the lurk all the way through A main that is being handled by Mindfreak.
Still somehow Caron getting a tap onto something. That brings things back to a 3-on-3. Of course, Mindfreak wanting to play off the Hunter Spirit, but he knows that there's a potential play coming through.
Another one.
Let's go.
Meteor gives himself a bit of space. Push left or right. It's gonna be the right. He wins, but he's down to 5.
5 sih. Nice, Devi. Seperti biasa ya. Selalu.
Very confusing fight there for Gen G. You just saw everybody look everywhere to look for any players.
That's the main thing, right? Because that's how PaperX executes.
Nice.
I mean,
Devi selalu closingan. Nice.
will be smiling about that one. He's like, yeah, I remember there's PaperX back in the day. This is what they used to do. They orchestrate chaos. And that's exactly what they do. You got something, gate crashing in. He's got the fake outs. And it's so confusing for Gen G as they try to defend. You're watching for so many pieces of utility. Not to mention Mythia, who kind of comes in with a shorty inside the smokes. And that's what he was known for back on Global Esports last year.
Having Lakia choosing whether he has to go for the gunfight or flash for
Texture here angkot.
Additionally
sorry.
Backs away. Look at how close.
Bisa nggak sih guys nggak ngejokes yang lucu-lucu? Jalan.
TP's out.
Oh no.
I like the use of the code just to break the tripwire, but at what cost? Forsaken. He's already decayed down to 20, my goodness.
Yeah.
This man is walking on thin ice.
It got a little bit risky because Gen G are trying to get a good read for the game right now. They've got these 4 players stacked up on B, so able to shoot through. And with the space now, balls, but not quite able to have
nice, Devi.
Left pieces of the PaperX players all around the map sprinkled just to get those lurk kills. And it is actually working for them, especially that Gen G is on this weaker buy.
Saving sih ininya.
forward to try to get control elsewhere. But PRX,
Gennya saving
it's a
sih.
lure into their trap, man. They're just saying,
Sure,
thank you very much.
Lumayan
Texture,
satu round
though,
buat kita.
this is the perfect chance for him to get
Nice,
some
something.
kind of information,
One
some
more.
kind of impact.
Entry.
You wanted to say something, didn't you?
I stopped myself mid-sentence
Sir,
already,
sir,
alright? You
sir,
didn't have
no
to
one-
point
no
it
one-
out.
I feel yes, right?
Sir,
I feel, no,
sir.
I mean, it's just the name.
I can
Sir?
already feel the chat, you know. How is this caster like this? No vocabulary? Use a thesaurus.
ulti sih
Sorry,
dia.
guys.
Sorry, it's not easy. You think you
Sorry.
could do our jobs?
Alright, Karon's alone. I mean, he's gonna probably just wait till this event horizon engulfs him. Oh wow, he even finds Mythia.
Oh my god. That would be great if you could get even more or pick up a rifle at the
Nice.
very least. Look at how he's so careful jumping
Whoa.
out, but up
Yeah,
against
yeah.
Forsaken, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
gonna be the tap that finishes him off. I mean, in this
Gak apa-apa,
round,
gak apa-apa.
again, it's just kind of what we
Ah,
saw in the
nice,
first, right?
nice.
You know,
Saving sih
PRX, they
mereka.
can play around
Yeah,
the
last round.
entire map thanks to the utility of something Xeapher. I mean, gate crashing back and forth. They can rotate so easily.
Monyet nggak bisa beli
Sometimes
dong.
Genji has to catch up to it.
Good as quick catch from something in the rest of the team. As I mentioned, just playing the opposition lurks.
Vai bagus banget performanya di
Playing
sini.
with Genji.
Nice.
And one more round. It is
Abang
very
Wibu.
close though. Genji's able to get this 5-6. Could even be a 6-6
Belum.
if
Belum
they play their
panas
cards
kayak
right. But with the
monyet ya.
Reckoning and Dimensional Drift activated,
Apa, soon,
it could
soon,
be
soon.
very difficult. But Texture's
Ini
already
nasi goreng gue sampai dingin tau gak sih?
They're not going to know about this, but he whips. Thankfully enough, he has Lakia right beside him to
Gila.
help him out. PRX are dwindling in numbers. Something with the Odin.
Bang!
And he brings it right
Bang
back
Aaron!
to versus 3. Plenty
Yang
of
bener
walls.
aja!
Can they calm themselves down? To keep the strike even. Not going to happen just yet. Bonyat has control of the back of the site here. Ultimate activated right now by Mindfreak. Big flanks coming in from Munchkin.
Yang
So the
bener,
time for Bonyat
nice!
to make something
Monyet,
happen
monyet.
is very minuscule here. 2 versus 1. Caron now backing himself away. Gonna double up with his
Spike drop
teammate.
lagi.
This is the perfect time for them to
Wah.
try working their magic against the one. What is this TP? Did he try to pick up a spike? No, he's just trying to reposition for the fight. Very good for Bonyat, but it's not gonna work out.
Oh no, nice try banget
Nice try, nice
Monyet.
try. But
Wah,
Munchkin
6 sama
just turns
guys.
around and says,
Wah,
"Dude,
sengit
you
nih.
thought, you
Son of Odin.
How many flags did we see in that round? First of all, we had, Mindfreak holding the angle with the Odin from window, but then afterwards, Munchkin coming
Bang
back
Aaron!
in the same spot that Texture and Lakia approached from. I mean, it's just so confusing that PRX, their whole game plan kind of gets thrown off. You can see that what they wanted to do throughout this
Nih,
entire map, which
Coach
truly
Alex
was just
langsung.
either going for execute off of Monyet and something, or create a bit of noise, bait out that utility, and then rotate over thanks to gate crash. Leave the Vi on that lurk. It doesn't always work
sengit
out.
nih, sengit nih,
If
sengit nih,
Genji
sengit nih,
just goes
sengit
in
nih.
for, a bit of a flank, a bit of a retake. And that's the thing
Ntar
that you
guys, I'll
don't
tap
really
dulu.
have without like a,
Oke.
a proper-ish Sentinel. Yes, the Vi,
bentar ya, guys.
you got Viper, that's great, but no traps, no info.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
again,
udah.
it takes them a lot of time to just fiddle with their abilities, right? To throw it into a site. You already see how quickly, and you were mentioning this, again,
Aduh,
Texture is just
ya ampun.
that
Yang pick
confident,
siapa?
that
Yang Breeze
how
ini
much
yang
of a
nge-pick
risk taker that he
si
is
Gen.
willing to see the limits or see the chinks in the
Sana,
armor
thank
of the
you.
PRX setup. But now as we are flipping the
Jadi
sides
seru nih
here,
sama poinnya sengit banget. Iya,
the
sengit,
question
sengit,
comes
sengit,
into
sengit,
play.
sengit. Seru,
What is
seru.
PRX going to do on that
Seru,
defending
seru.
side? Are they going to do something similar to what Talon was doing when they didn't have the Sentinel, where they were just charging out because they can't really anchor the site? Or as you were talking about, are they going to fall back with the Vi, who's actually doing a heck of a good job on that Viper of his?
That's the craziest thing. I mean, it's the W Gaming squad. We expect them to push out. Now they've got 3 controllers, and Devi's the one doing all the fragging. So very curious to see how this will play out. I mean, you don't want to die too early on as a Viper either, right? Because then you can't really use your abilities. So PRX has to be a little bit careful, a little bit mindful about how they want to push out if that is their game plan.
Speaking of pushing out, there's like 3 players of PRX about to have the welcome party outside A main. Smoke quickly placed there, as well as the Cascade.
Ketahuan dong.
Shock darts from Mindfreak to dissuade anybody pushing up onto the Hall's position. The swing outs from PRX, like I mentioned, because they don't have that Sentinel, they just have to start peeking and pushing, and as well as just getting that contact. Shots through the smoke, able to get Lakia. The push out from Texture, and he finds something. Whoa! What a flick from Texture, down to 25. But his lethality is still very much felt. Thus settling,
Coba, you
numbers
can do it.
favoring
Itu
Genji,
kayak
Mythia
low
as
banget dia,
well
coy.
as Devi. Device already coming in for the flank here, and Texture, he's very much unaware of it.
He is holding a bit of an off angle though, so Devi can't really just
Bro,
waltz right through that door.
On mid though, that's going to be Mythia by himself. Does have the paranoia. I'm not sure if he actually spotted the other
one. One more.
Texture. Oh, that door closes. The
Not
opportunity
nice.
for Devi is not even possible. Dude had the so close yet so far away situation.
He opened the door again.
Okay, so his positioning is already given. He's pushing out. Jumping through the smoke smartly to try to get a coax out of everybody.
Not nice, not nice.
Every single opponent of Devi right now is low, so his Sheriff has a lot of lethality on it.
Just one shot to the body.
Oh no, okay.
But look at the positioning.
He's so unaware. And you can see that with how he's moving up here, that he wants to get close against Charon, but he's so afraid of where Texture actually might be, even thinking it could be mid.
I mean, he's got a bit of time, but Texture is the main one to look out for right now.
They just barely miss each other. Look at Devi. I think he heard the drop down too. He's just about to just peek out. Devi, can he be rolling it in for the round win? Cool, calm, collected. My man is patient as can be.
What is up, Danger? He's got that Sheriff. It's got the word Danger written all over it, and he just clutches it out for the team. I mean, apart from being keeping his composure, just knowing, okay, I have a rough idea of where Texture is. As long as I keep my sights right up around door, I should be okay. But the main thing is also knowing that Charon's right around the corner, and he is able to flip back and forth. Now catching up to Texture in terms of kills.
He completely turned around W Gaming. It turned into an M. Meditation, you know?
Yo, what, Mario, Wario kind of... What am I?
But I mean, dude is... I used the term yesterday, I think. Zen. Very zen with how he approaches these fights. He's not impatient, like you mentioned. He has a lot of time to make use of. Anyways, big contact coming in from this one. Couple of marshals activated. What a risk from Mythia just to peek that out. Forsaken, though, dipping his toes as well into the swing game outside of A main. Oh, it's Mythia, I love this. And he actually challenges, but Forsaken drops. This could be bad. If he re-challenges this once again, he's the only one holding the site for the moment here. And he has to back away, wait for the reinforcements as Mindfreak and Devi are slowly creeping up back onto A.
Trades the Outlaw for a Bulldog too, just wants additional firepower. We've got a little bit of support from Mindfreak coming through halls just to check. But he's got to be so careful. I mean, Gen G are bunched up together. It's a full squad of classics and marshals. He hears the jump. Gets the first shot.
He gets away too. So no trade here for Meteor. Throws out the recon dart for a bit of that safety.
Let's go.
And he's home safe. Wait, no. Okay, I mean, now he's home safe.
Genji really just wants to wait for more picks and then maybe try to soften up defenses, try to sneak through. But at this point, only 30 seconds left. They have to hightail it to B. And as long as Meteor can do the same thing that he's doing right now, Genji might have a better time in this round.
My freak couldn't really do anything. And the rest of Genji gonna be walking up to B.
10 seconds.
It's all up to something. He's got a Guardian. The aim god. Okay, good at the first.
Nice!
Gets the second one instantaneously, but he's
my god, nice try.
Bullets and everything. And it's down once again to Monyet. Oh, was that a tag? It was. Look at how just low both of these players are. I mean, even if Meteor drops down, you can already see Charon waiting patiently at the back of the site. He even finds Mythia trying to reposition, and Genji somehow
dua-duanya low banget.
Work. I'll tell you, somehow it was Meteor. All it took was a marshal, and
banget
this
nih, 7 guys.
as he was last year. Maybe not on the jet anymore, but as soon as he pushes up halls, look at these picks that he's getting. It might not always be headshots, but just because he plays around the space that way, plays around the obstacles, he keeps himself tucked away, and he's always able to chip away at PRX bit by bit. That's, you know, something had some nice Guardian kills that was really flashy, really fun to watch.
Iya sih, 2-1 sih, tapi Monyetnya juga udah low sih.
PRX was meant to win.
Absolutely. I mean, it just also felt like PRX was agreeing to the aim duel, and Genji was coaxing him to do that. There was...
You want an aim duel.
Exactly. Lesser risk for Genji to do that because it was a... They were just on marshals, man. They weren't even committing to purchase this, and Forsaken, what was that? Actually gets through the defense, the line of sight. Doesn't even have to trigger the trap here, and does get a 1-to-1 trade. I mean, I don't know how impactful that is going to be, but
mainnya
it's
di
going to
mana?
show
Di
how both
Breeze.
teams very much willing to take those off
Yang
angle
milih map
risks
si
to
Gen.
try to get something.
Both of them are in the fight very much so. 7-7 right now, and that's the main thing. You definitely can't underestimate PRX too much, and I think that's why Gen G are taking things really slow right now. You know, maybe trying to suss out information, but
tadi sih
we
memang.
don't have that much in terms of gathering, right? You got to think about Lakia's guiding light usage. So maybe just executing onto A right now, and it depends on how well PRX can hold their ground.
What a far smoke from Munyan, too! He's going to be gifted himself a Bulldog, and no one's there to trade it for Gen G. So they get themselves some control, but Caron and Munchkin making quick work of that A site. Gen G find themselves the advantage.
1 point in the lead. It was against pistols, but you gotta admire how they, you know, went
langsung hilang ya.
made sure that they
Tiba-tiba.
were, you know, going to pre-fire
Anyway.
some of these corners. They checked some of it.
Tiba-tiba
Although
rata.
Mythia did die, it was a bit of
Anyway.
information that they could use to go up against.
Baru buy round, baru buy round. Tenang. Nah, ini baru buy round nih. Nah, udah tuh, buy round tuh, selesai tuh. Nah, gas.
So, on to the next. Now, Tex just got enough for the Blade Storm. Doesn't need to buy up. Gen G's economy starting to flow, Asura.
Kayaknya si
Absolutely.
ini
They even have
si
themselves
Texter
Caron's
saving ya
Cosmic
buat OP.
Divide.
Oh.
Wanyat finding Meteor through the push on A main. This is
Jangan
what they
aman.
want. They
Oh,
want
yeah.
to stop these multiple angles of attack. Go for a little bit of
Oh my
coverage.
God!
Flashes is so good that Gen G
Chill,
their eyes
whoa,
and wait for the
whoa,
blindness to
wait, what?
dissipate. And as it does, Munchkin's by himself,
Yeah.
Forsaken. The towers not gonna be
now we
flawless
playing,
round
okay?
PRX.
Now we playing. Now we playing.
That's another one of those
Langsung
things
dibahas.
again, because when you think about PRX, every
Now
single one of
now
these
we
guys
playing.
has
Now we
the
playing.
potential to
Now
frag
nih ya.
out. And Monjet
Au.
is single-handedly
Gila,
picking
gila,
duels
flawless,
outside
coy.
of, you know, A main. You know, he's got support from the team. You've got Forsaken watching mid. And it's just that much more difficult for Gen G
Gila,
to
gacanya
really
bagus,
pull
monyet.
off some of these
Nice.
like split pushes that they want to go for.
Gila,
So they have
gila,
to really
gila.
pick the
Nah,
strategies,
nah.
you
And
know.
I took
If
that
this carries on,
personally.
I can foresee a timeout being called by Solo.
Baru enggak ada yang belum deh.
Already, both teams have actually used
Nggak,
their
nggak,
first
nggak,
timeouts
nggak.
as
Texter
well in
nggak,
the first
saving
half,
sekarang.
but feels like they have better grasp of what is happening right
Maga.
now. Again, it just goes to show how even it is that 8-8.
Nah, ini
How close something is on this mid control. How
Aggro
risky it
juga.
is too. A stray pop shot. That smoke going. And there's the pop shot. He's actually getting tagged. He might want to get away right now.
Movement though.
But he did give away his teleport on. He does have the dimensional drift, so he can get away from this without having to use that gate crash. Or because he's in such an off angle and he's that Yoru, he can
Nice
just do whatever he
position,
wants.
I guess.
Yeah, he's gonna gate crash out now.
Oh, udah.
Definitely doing
Pindah.
what he wants. I mean, just getting enough information or maybe
Mereka lewat
pulling the
mid
attention
ya.
away from Gen G as they start to go back
Kayaknya
towards mid. Now the high tide invested.
Pengen ke
A little bit awkward though with the curve. So Texture has actually made it onto the other side.
Aduh, jangan overpick.
He's still doing
No,
this.
no.
Something.
No.
Yikes. I mean, you know, shame on me.
You can do it. You can do it.
And shame
You
on
can do
him
it.
if he does
You
that
can do it.
again.
You can
The
do
wall's
it.
dropping down. And Forsaken! How?
Oh my
he
God.
used his teammate as the great
Maga.
mate. They thought they
Maga.
would have double up, but he did. He does get some value. 30 seconds left,
Okay,
and
okay.
Gen G
Triwong,
lose
triwong.
all control
Oh,
on mid push, but
Gila,
they
dapat dua,
wait
coy.
to use that neural tap for that information.
Asura, we are fishing out here. But it's big information.
Kembel
Now we know
mereka.
Devi is alone and cold on the B site. Maybe we could harpoon him, but we've got 13 seconds left.
Can do it.
Oh, he's just
Oh.
so
Wow.
again,
Okay.
boy's patient, man.
Ah.
He just has to wait for him to bait into his crosshair, and Devi single-handedly holding this. Can he beat down Meteor? No. But
Jangan rata,
because
please.
of the recon dart,
Main
he's
break.
taking away his position. Meteor is just having to hold so many angles. The shot dart. Mind freak, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind? Are you a freak? Well, he could definitely be. Paranoia misses
Namanya
Meteor.
juga main freak.
But knows exactly where he is.
my
Bang,
Down
bang,
14. 3 bullets in a dream. And is this dream gonna turn
14
into
lo bang,
reality?
lo bang.
As
Nice. Nice.
Thumbs up, man.
Nice.
Swings.
Itu casternya sangat ini ya.
Knows he's low. All he's got to do is to go in for that burst.
Sangat
So very confident. You know, cool enough. He might be the youngest
sangat
player, but still
apa
has
ya?
enough experience, and that's one of the things that people
Mewakili
don't
ya.
really know.
Are you lost your mind? Are you a freak?
Ya
maksudnya ya namanya juga main
freak.
Gila lo. Spray transfernya lo.
Gila
lo.
We were talking about fishing a little bit. Remember Mika and Victoria were telling us about this as well. Davai
Iya,
fishes in
dempet
real
terus.
life. He is
Skornya dempet
patient.
terus.
And he knows he turns that situation into a 2-on-1 for his team.
Yeah. He knows that sometimes all he has to do is, again, not do anything. That's already a lot, because the stress on Gen G makes them try to peek out, makes them want to get as much information as they possibly can. Something, he's already nursing himself an operator all above here on Halls, and I really like this because he gets so much information, so much value. His gate crash is about to expire, but it shouldn't matter at the moment as Gen G coming out of elbow.
Yeah, he can always just regroup with his team and other means. Main thing, though, is for Divide to stay alive right now.
Well, he can, especially because of those flashes. But the punishes from the Reckoning as well as the Hunter's Fury does get the value something. Jumping in and out with the shorty.
I got the spike.
Numbers still favoring Gen G. All of them now on the site. What's the damage here? What's the capabilities? Monyet wreaking some havoc outside of Arch. But he's alone. They haven't picked up the spike. He can reposition into this, and he's got everything. Shrouded Step, Paranoia, and there's smoke.
Ya, masih ada paranoia lo, Bang.
Wants to actually
Bang, ada paranoia, Bang.
want to use the numbers in their favor. Monyet. Did he hit all of them? He did! He repositions! Monyet!
He's out of
down to
ammo.
one bullet. He has to change. Either reload or change. He does. And Monyet almost gets it, but Munchkin perseveres and wins.
Oh my.
Oh boy, that was close for both.
Gemes.
I mean, just a bit of nerves on stage.
Oh my god, ini skornya lagi-lagi sama weh.
But still, it comes down to it. Munchkin actually lands the flick above Monyet. So it's all of these like really thin margins, and it comes out on top. Sometimes numbers advantage will still prevail, and that's why, you know, it gets so dicey when you're going for these shorty kills. The Reckoning, the Hunter's Fury was awesome.
Wah, tentu saja nih, langsung nih.
You're starting to run low on rounds, right? It's 9-9. Alex calls a timeout, and that's something that we often forget. It's like, it's not just a battle of the teams and players, it's also a battle of the coaches. And, you know, Alex was talking about it. Solo back in the days, you know, he looks up to him, and he's communicating with his team as well.
It feels like the plan for PRX for the past couple of rounds right now has just been to disrupt the entry into the site of Gen G, right? And again, it's resulted in more of these riskier plays that might not pan out as much for PRX. Something like, again, something that plays with an operator, just gets
makan dulu, say. Udah, baru habis.
Can't really reposition.
Bah, dari tadi nggak bisa makan, weh.
And then that leaves them into these kind of clutch situations with PRX.
Sayang banget peluru susah 9 kalau nggak rata.
Really want to always put themselves on.
So you always gotta be careful.
Aron baru turun kena mati.
What is this? Outlaw Marshall by.
I mean,
I don't hate
there's
it.
like 3 players.
Lihat guys, lihat skornya, it's so good.
I don't hate it.
Kayak satisfying sih lihat skornya.
You know, till FYI for people, if you only shoot 1 bullet at the outlaw and reload it, it's faster than, you know, the full reload. So
I don't hate it, but I'm nervous after I. Oh boy.
Okay, that's gonna be Forsaken's back. Oh, that's not even him backing away. That's a trade by Meteor.
Babang.
Punished by Meteor. Straight into the neural theft, and Peekaboo, I see you. Whole map exposed.
Just trying to get out of, get as much out of Gen G as possible in this round, right? If any round is the round that we want to bait out those ultimates, bait out those pieces of utility, that's gonna be this one.
Monyet. Got the Marshall in hand, shooting through the smoke blindly.
Wow.
Meteor comes in for the pitch. He will get diced. Mind Freak looking a little bit too far away. That's gonna leave Ilya by himself. I was about to say Divide, but then he's just by himself right now. Oh, he does not get the shot onto Meteor as well, and he's position exposed. Gets the heal. This might actually have to be a save from him. As he just backs away. Wait. He has a gate crash all the way at the end of Halls. Is he willing? No, probably not.
Yeah, I think it ran out. He's probably opting for the save instead at this point, but still, I mean, definitely trying to get an idea.
Yeah.
So scouting out, what Gen G's early game plan is, right? At least in the first 30 seconds. Sometimes, they're up around elbow, up around mid. And this time you could definitely feel that A presence, and just not too sure how PRX can really disrupt that. We were talking about it before. That's why you have to Yoru, right? You always want to push up front. You always want to scout and then gate crash back.
Yeah.
But it's still, sometimes just a little bit risky.
I guess the problem for that is because you only have technically the one duelist that we can reposition. I mean, you can maybe argue that Monyet can also do it as the Omen here. There's not really a lot of options for PRX to really get out of harm's way without getting punished, even with the smokes. Right? So we're kind of seeing the other position, the other way now, which is getting punished by Gen G and ultimately giving rounds to Gen G. Okay.
Whoa.
Seeker's been activated. Forsaken's just charging right in. Divide. Deceiving its body.
Nice.
Doesn't even have to look at his opponents.
Nice.
Cool guys, don't look at snake bite kills. It's not even an explosion, guys. It's a slow burn, a slow, painful poison burn. Cosmic Divide used on the A side itself. Cove making Gen G just a tad bit afraid. As it drops, now they know. And they even have, the Viper's Pit to make things a little bit easier as they transition, into this post plant.
And that's it, an uphill battle for PRX, right? They might be able to surround this Viper's Pit. There is a trip on the other side. Meteor can make use of it. And then you still gotta watch out for those players up inside A main. How do you break this?
Monyet, though, he's vertical, dude. He's got the high ground advantage, and he is using that to actually get the one up. Viper's Pit. Use the snake bite to get a little bit of damage. No one's going Spike and Munchkin through the smoke. Oh, this is going horribly wrong for PRX. Someone's gonna have to start defusing it. Someone's gonna have to hold him.
Nice.
Munchkin absolutely everything.
Nice.
He has bought enough time.
Not nice.
The event horizon, and that's gonna be Gen G. 2 rounds advantage.
No time.
To maybe
nice try,
but
nice try.
Just incredible. I mean, the combination of, first of all, the Cosmic Divide to give them that much more space, that much more security, and then the Viper's Pit, and how Munchkin is playing off of it. This is what Gen G can do off of a post plant.
Aduh, si Bapak.
Although we had Monyet, kind of like you mentioned, with the vertical play, trying to break through that Viper's Pit, trying to break through Meteor. It worked out for just a second, and that's why it's just so much that work off. And now, it's a 2-round differential. How do you climb up against that? And they have to make it happen. And they already started out strong in VCT Pacific Kickoffs this year.
Well, thankfully enough, they do have money, creds, to have the weaponry to make something happen. I will honestly try to find a different word other than something. If you guys can just like give me a different word I can use so that you guys will not be confused. Anyways, the man himself, Ilya, is there on elbow, nursing himself the operator once again. He is just holding that angle for the absolute longest time. He is hoping that someone is just gonna go into his spider's web, but unfortunately for the moment, Gen G, they have their eyes set up here on that A site, and it could actually be good. Monyet's cold in for that one-way smoke that actually drops in and turns into a regular smoke that has a very big partial outside of A main. It could actually be bad for the buy. We'll have to see how that works out, and he is trying to clear that with all intentions by himself.
Oh no, dapat.
Oh, he is so dead. Oh, this is not looking too good for PRX. Forsaken.
Nice try.
Doing the same thing. No prize! And he absorbs his opponent right in front of him with full flash. But the trades for PRX are actually working. Shot through mid.
Itu kenapa?
Something gets it.
Mouse-nya mati kah?
The lurking meteor.
Nice.
And all of this because of these shock darts coming in from Mind Freak.
Sayang.
Will plant the spike. Monyet does not chase for him or tries to punish him. So it's the double
full
up,
blind.
both of them. Something coming in from the white string, and he's had enough.
Gila, nggak hoki banget. Nice.
Getting the final kill. Mind Freak. There's something getting kills. We've seen that before. Mind Freak with 2 shock dart kills. Not something you see every day. Welcome sight nonetheless. I mean, just getting the information off of the play around Monyet's dark cover. That one feels really iffy. But look at how Forsaken really comes back in. And after they get that information, just being able to put out the tire traps. You got those caltrops, the shock darts.
Welcome back!
Gen G can't really walk onto site that freely. So PRX trying to play a little bit more patient this round, especially with something posted up with that operator. That was the cherry on top in this round.
They gotta go for these adaptive risks, I think, because Gen G is so good at just
Bang Hotzot mewing.
made up stats, but they feel like they have the first bloods, very much locked and loaded in this first map. Something at least pads the stats a little bit more in the favor of PRX with that peak.
Watch this.
And that slows down Gen G by a big margin. Not having the flashes anymore from Lakia really hurts the chances here for Texture to get more of these quick contacts into the site.
Definitely slows down Gen G. They're always going to be thinking about what's next. But now, Dimensional Drip just to gain further information.
Watch this.
1 minute left on the clock, and Gen G actually going back off of a bit of a default. They want to spread themselves across the entire map. Ooh. Just saw the spike.
All right. Mr. Risky here. Not even...
Dude, they are living dangerously.
Yeah.
Watch this.
One Blade Storm at a time.
Back.
But it works for them. And right now, he's got information. If they were to cross in the risky way, most of them have already bypassed it. So something going to reposition.
Commit
But what I'm curious about is Karen actually lurking up around mid.
Sepertinya commit guys.
Well, there you go.
Commit
He finds the one
Ayo guys,
guys. There's the quick charge out. It was actually saved up by the Texture, so he has capabilities to enter the site. Forsaken's not going to know about Karen here. Or does he? The Reckoning is about 14 seconds. Let's see what the battle comes into the mid. Forsaken. Spike, though, should get planted. It's all down to Forsaken for now as he waits for the
Watch this! Watch it! No!
What a reposition! What a challenge! And what aim!
Nice try.
Top fragging Korean brought to the Gen G
Nice try. Ente.
Watch this! Dude, yesterday,
kayak gara-gara gue watch this. Jadi beneran kena deh guys. I'm so sorry.
Having those first kills that you mentioned before him, he has 16 throughout the entire series. I feel like this one, he got even more. But not just that, the Blade Storm, the aim off of it, the way that he comes down at his knees.
Maaf, aku sih yang
nge-watch this. And now they've earned that match point. And remember, they are still sitting on one timeout.
Bang, serius dulu nggak sih Bang?
Like 2 seconds into the future, man. And in a
masalahnya dari pilihan agentnya saja sudah trolling dari tahu. Oh, what the hell?
That cascade was supposed to give some sort of safety, an access point for PRX to get through on halls, but it turns into
blessing arah-arah gila banget.
It's kind of obvious. I'm just gonna pop shots. What am I gonna lose? Absolutely nothing. And he gains
sebentar
the
gak sih guys?
for almost everything here. There is
behind him.
PRX right now. Forsaken. Okay, that's one. Myfric's gonna have to go big, which he does. Oh, this drone.
Enggak di.
Right in his face, dude.
Seng. Aduh, udah Vai jauh lagi. He can do it.
From the situation on A.
Seng.
I'm running out of words. I would have thought maybe at least something would have been able to get a trade at least, but wow.
Udah Vai, jauh banget.
Decision making just a little bit off, but then at the same time for Gen G to pick up these frags that quickly. They are looking in new form today. William is definitely chuckling at the desk. Now they're just one kill away from pushing us into the next map.
Clutch.
Definitely patting himself on the back with his Gen G-inspired outfit.
Clutch.
3 versus 1. Oh my god, the Vai doesn't even have any smokes to supplement himself. He just has the weapon in the corners.
Watch
and that
this.
spike is just dwindling down ever so closely to exploding.
You're good.
He does find Texture, but
You're good.
I mean, Karen's just gonna activate gravity well. Whoops. That's about it.
They know they got it.
He's got no time, man. That's gonna be it. And Gen G got themselves
nice try, guys.
in this series up against PRX.
Nice try.
I mean, what an unbelievable performance. Texture on a new form. Carrying through that momentum from just a couple of days ago. Karon, the rookie, still showing up huge. And Meteor, of course, not much left to be said. They're anchoring, they're doing everything possible. They know how to play off of PRX's aggression.
Maaf ya guys, gara-gara aku. Watch this.
Finding these fights
Pasti.
against them, right?
Jadi
PRX had a
beneran
tough
mencuci
time
mereka.
in the first half. They managed to tie things up, but even towards the end, just not quite able to defend.
Iya, saya
against
dubbing
this.
ya, Bang Aleknya ya. Iya, jadi harusnya nggak seperti itu, guys ya.
What was available to them because of the competition.
Nah.
You know what? Our analysts are going to break all of this down because we got a very interesting composition to talk about.
Oke, Lotus, here we go. Lotus.
Are you guys okay? That was just map 1.
Lotus. Iya, seharusnya kamu nggak pakai Odin pada saat itu. Nah, I mean nice decision though. Kan udah gue prediksi guys. Iklan mid ya, emang iklan biarin aja. Emang dari sananya bang. Nggak guys. Kan saya sudah meramal ya tadi ya. 21, bener 21 ini mah. 21.
Map that they go to, and the part I was most impressed about is even Karon was now aware of the fact that when you see one member of PRX, there's most likely multiple
udah dikasih aja dulu satu, bener gak? Bener
so
gak?
well done, and it's
Kan aku udah ngomong iklan bangke maaf kak dari VCT-nya kak. 21 menang atau kalah? Menang lah. Duanya buat PRX. Karena udah pasti satu game tuh nge-troll pasti.
Continuing to play up these numbers, it shows that the match versus RRQ, it wasn't a fluke, it wasn't RRQ being a lesser team or anything like that. It's just the texture is him. Good God, the performance.
Seharusnya nggak pakai Odin ya, nggak apa-apa sih guys. Karena si Seng kan pakai Odinnya pas ini, pas last round, jadi nggak masalah.
Not to mention he's having fun. Every time the camera cuts to him, he's just laughing, he's grooving. This is him in his element right now. He's so confident, and at the same time, again, his ACS has not dropped anywhere below 315 this entire kickoff. So I guess Gen G, it is insane.
It's across 4 maps now.
Yeah, it's a crazy stat. I mean, Achilles and I were talking about it as well, especially for texture. We've been following him for his entire career in Korea, and while he's always looked like one of the best duelists, these are actually the best games we've seen from him at this level. The competition has upgraded, and he's saying, I'm still above all of that, and he's here to prove it with this new squad.
And the fact that he's doing this in just current era, because when he started off the game, even just a couple years ago, it's already so different. And the fact that he's still having these kinds of performances, putting up these kinds of numbers, it's just so damn impressive, and it just tells you what kind of player texture really is.
Yang dibahas Odin makanya.
I thought Munchkin was having a lot of trouble in that first half. Honestly, only had 1 kill going all the way up to round 12, but he's able to really help bring home that victory in the last round of the half, and then he's climbing all the way back up as the IGL, going for the calls as well as the frags to help support the team. That gives a confidence for someone like Karon as well to continue fragging out, playing his comfort zone.
Is this new optic? Is texture yay?
Oh my!
Icebox atau Lotus nih? Lotus.
Is Locky having his
Icebox demand.
It could be. Hey, this is something that we're going to see develop all throughout Pacific, right?
I was just talking about the scoreline.
I know.
But I absolutely
love
love how close this map was. It came down to the micro plays. It was just that somebody's
Kayaknya
just a
Lotus
second earlier,
si
or
monyet
micro
pakai
second earlier.
race sih.
Somebody's angle was just a little bit wider, right?
Yeah, because honestly, the rounds PRX were winning were very impressive too.
Ilham, terima kasih udah subscribe.
We got
Thank you.
all the highlights that
Semoga
we're
betah.
used to getting from PRX. It's just that Gen G had a couple more, and that's the crazy part. If PRX had looked just lost during this map, we would have chalked it up to, okay, they're still experimenting. This is classic PRX kind of going back and forth onto
Eko,
things.
thank you.
But
Sudah
they
subscribe.
had the same shots. They had some good trades. It seemed like the movement around the map, the speed was all there, but Gen G was staying just one step ahead in most of these rounds.
Yeah, I thought maybe we would see a bit more of what we
kamu nggak
had
main
on
mid?
that breeze. Maybe they were going to iterate on the composition.
Gimana
that we
tuh?
saw from
Ini
the versus
ada
Sentinels,
miminnya
but
di sini.
double duelist going for the triple controller.
Kayak kalau main langsung
PRX
menang
really
sih guys.
cooking up, and I don't think
Nangis.
that the triple controller is what necessarily cost them here. I think that a lot of the time they
Langsung
were just
menangis
getting
ya.
completely outdone, and also not necessarily checking angles that you very commonly should be. They were getting caught off guard a lot on the flanks by Gen G here.
And this is what you get for not having a jet or a raise, right? You have to find different ways to check those angles because you're not able to just have someone dash in while they're getting you vision, while they're getting you info. Both the Euro and the Omen aren't able to do that as easily. You got to find other ways. And that's the part they were missing a little bit. The frags were there. Once they found their targets, it was very good. The clutch factor was there as well. but it was a little shaky when they had to go for these executes. It just didn't look as clean.
It's also because, like, you know, they didn't have Sentinel. They had that, you know, they didn't have that much information to work with. Whereas Genji on the other side, you know, you didn't have Meteor with these amazing plays, and suddenly, you know, he
Tapi kan
had all the information
Viper
to beat his team
Sentinel,
and
Kak.
everything. So I feel like, you know, PRX here,
Viper
perhaps they were still
Sentinel.
experimental. Perhaps they were still trying something a little bit here, but
Tapi
given
kan
the reaction that we
Viper
saw from Alex
Sentinel,
on
Kak.
stage a while ago,
Bener
maybe
gak,
not.
Kak?
I mean, honestly, if this was any other team, I think it could be very different, right? I think
Bener
this is
gak,
where
Kak?
we say credit to Genji. Because,
Tapi kan,
again,
tapi kan
they're confident
Viper
to its
Sentinel,
maximum
Kak.
potential, but they were still grinding out. I mean, they were still clutching up. They had some great rounds. They had some good executes, chaining.
Gila sih, Davai
ultimates as well.
bersinar
Things
banget
like
sih di
still
sini.
finding good value.
So
I mean,
good.
we saw that one round on defense where something just pushes all the way out, finds even the
Tapi
spike,
kan,
and gets out. Things like that.
tapi-
Those are the styles of PRX, but Genji was ready for it, and that's what impresses me. Is that sure you got 4 veterans, but when you have care on there individually and also synced with the rest of the team to say I'm also ready for this style of W gaming, that's a very good
Davai
sign.
memasak, Kak, pakai Viper, Kak.
Genji, and I mean, if that kind of performance is going to continue, then maybe they can just take this one punch to take it into the playoffs very swiftly. I mean, with Lotus on the horizon,
Izin alt-tab, guys, sebentar.
kind of lean
Okay,
back over towards PRX's way, just given their proficiency for that map in the past, but we do also have to remember, we don't have Jing who's going to be going through those crazy blast pack setups. How much did he teach them?
Nah, iya ini juga ya gimana ya?
Walaupun
Walaupun ini mapnya si Gen ya, cuma they did really good job sih. Maksudnya kalian lihat gak sih guys, skornya tuh dari tadi tuh tipis. Dari tadi tuh tipis skornya. They're doing great.
And right now, he is absolutely performing above everybody else.
Very true. I mean, on the topic of Korean duelist, you know, Governor, we claim
Dan memang banyak momen yang
he's fully assimilated.
menguntungkan aja sih untuk musuh. But it's okay. Kan habis ini kan mapnya Lotus guys. Nah ini aku percaya nih. Bisa lah mereka bisa.
But I do have to commend, you know, PRX. We did say that, like, you know, okay, they probably weren't prepared up against Genji.
Ya itu si Mindbreak juga belum mode BU ya. Itu Bang Aron butuh DJ angkot ya. Tolong ya Mimin siapin DJ angkot untuk Bang Aron.
That's pretty haphazard. You're just hoping that you're going to get the first kill.
Yeah, it just
You can do it guys. You can do it guys. Nih mereka nih lagi makan pecel kayaknya. Oh enggak nih, udah standby.
Flush them out because PRX have gotten away with this so many times in the past. It doesn't happen, but then they just continue to try it, and it just was not working out. But now we do have the agent comps ready to go here for Lotus.
This is going to be a
Now,
PRX's pick, so I wonder especially since Genji
Nah, ini dia baru
so
kan.
PRX,
Sudah saya bilang Kak. Iya. Lihat guys line up ya guys. Nah, oke, ini baru. Ini baru guys. Nah, inilah baru. Kan monyet saatnya kamu bersinar. Nah, ini dia.
Yeah, well, we're gonna find out indeed if Genji can
Okay,
manage
let's
to
go.
do their homework exactly against PRX, even on their map pick. So let's toss it on over to our
Enggak
casters,
lah.
Quack and Asarai.
Kalian sudah pasti
That's the
monyet
sound
gak
of
sih?
something being tossed and us catching it.
Okay, that's right.
You can do it guys.
Caster's desk, and this is
Something
what you're
dengan
saying.
kekuatan anime,
Come
aku
on.
mendukungmu.
All right, let's bring
Something.
things back to this because you know they were
Kekuatan
talking
anime.
about it.
Kekuatan
Definitely,
anime.
we're wondering about Forsaken
Serap kekuatan ini
and
something.
how, you know,
Serap
effective he can really be.
semuanya.
I
Serap
think
kekuatan
he
anime
should
ini.
have studied enough because that is what
Okay.
he's known to
Dah.
do. He can flex on so many
Dah.
agents, but apart from that, who is going to be the one
Watch.
supplementing Jing? Of course, it's going to be Mythia on that race.
Mohon maaf itu kenapa
True, and
namanya
again, feels like something
salah
might be
lagi
back
ya.
in his element now. Now that he has that jet back in his hands, it seems like when he was on the Yoru, he was just following some set guidelines. It wasn't the same something that we were kind of mentioning when he is on that more explosive duelist. And in case I thought Genji was going to commit on that C site, but no, just a bit of noise here and there. Maybe hoping to coax a bit of rotation from PRX, which has worked. But if obviously Genji doesn't know that, but they're still going to hit the other side on B.
I mean, that's the other thing. It's just that this is a map that, you know, PRX can study game tape off of because Genji did play this, you know, against RRQ. So having an idea, you definitely have that something that is feeling a little bit more swift, a little bit more fluid.
Something get in? Oh, I thought he got into the door. He opened it himself. There's the fight.
Nice.
They're gonna try to go
Nice,
for the very
monyet.
quickly.
Monyet.
And
Tuh kan.
PRX.
Nice, monyet!
There is no solid ground here. It is all quicksand. You gotta move, or else you're just gonna fall into the depths of the bullets.
Oop, nice.
By
Dapat,
himself, that's Mike
dapat,
already getting defused.
dapat,
And PRX,
dapat.
solid start on the pistol.
Dapat. Itulah.
Excuse me,
Itulah.
actually, it wasn't
Itulah.
Lotus. I think it was
Itulah.
Team
Kan
1.
sudah
But
saya
the
bilang.
composition, the ideas are rather similar except for a few
Keigo,
agents.
halo.
And that, that's the main thing
Welcome.
again, still just with the fights going the way of PRX.
Hashtag
It's
Keigo
a little
ganteng.
tougher for Gen G to
Nah,
break
ini
through.
baru. Now we're cooking.
Ah, there you go.
Gila, monyet.
And I do like how... Sorry, I was just getting caught by the replay real quick. I do like how PRX realized as well that if you're going to push on the B side,
Rapi
as
banget,
their
rapi,
opponents,
rapi,
right, Gen G, you do not want to let go control of C-Long on Mount, because doorway control is so strong, especially now in Lotus, that the door opens very quickly and closes very slowly.
Aduh, mau tuh pisaunya.
You know, this gives
Persekan,
them
aku mau.
more opportunities to keep Gen G pinched into the B side, which allows them to flank around much faster.
Again, that's something that PRX uses very well on the on the defense. Mindfreak just making a bit of noise. But look at how Gen G is playing defensively. I mean, that's one thing that a lot of teams have adapted to against PRX, expecting or anticipating that they would push out a lot on this defensive side. So they are playing so far back right now, and now that the first minute comes down, now they walk on up to B.
They're about to open that door. Yeah, there's the haunt activated already. Forsaken's ready at best, but there's too many numbers here. They've committed the fight, they've lost the weapons. And they've losing numbers right now. Monyet's gonna have to hold this by himself. He is down to a very dangerous amount of HP. And something all down to him. Thankfully enough, the rest of PRX, they've done somewhat their jobs. As they have lowered the meters, the life of all the Gen G players down to half. It's a lot more
Vandal.
digestible for something. Vandal indeed in his hands. He's already activated Tailwind, but Gen G's not biting. They know they have the numbers advantage. They know the spike is planted already. So something's going to be put into such a decrepit state.
Padahal tipis banget itu. Saving kayaknya.
Yeah, if he got one kill, maybe he would have gone for even more, but without that kill,
sih.
it's just way too risky. He never knows if someone is holding an off angle, a bit of a crossfire against him, so doesn't want, you know, to get swung upon contact either.
Saving.
And it's just unfortunate. I mean, well played by Gen G because they played it safe.
Nice.
They had those haunts and you know, bits of setups just
nice
to
try.
draw out some of
Semua
these
iya
PRX
sih, tapi
players,
susah
right?
guys.
They
Mending
heard the
saving
door,
aja.
they kind of had an idea. You know, dude, this might be Mindfreak, he might be around the corner. Let's check. And with so many players up around the corners, it's just PRX kind of putting themselves in awkward positions and, you know, not quite landing their shots too. That's the thing that surprises me the most, because it feels almost as if there's like a bit of that mood shift. Coming back on stage, Alex talking to them that way, and after having lost the first map, they can't be feeling too good right now.
Guys, ekoron.
I'm going on to a different point here. You know how PRX on the attacking side here on Lotus, they love to break that mid link to go to A to B very quickly. You know, again, using those connectors from site to site to put a lot more motion in the ocean with how they rotate. Gen G is doing the exact same thing, and it seems, at least for now, in these couple of rounds, it hasn't really paid dividends. What timing for something there. He's actually going to chase for the kill here. Thankfully enough, there's a lot of utility for Meteor to give himself that space. And, yeah, 140 damage to the body.
Okay.
Outlaw's just insane, man.
Peter's not even going for the headshot there.
Ikoron.
And that's just unfortunate. Again, I mean, half armor, you want to get a kill, at least something, create a bit more space for the team, but can't find all too much. And something going chasing that way, it's, dude. Again, not a feels good moment, but for Gen G, I mean, right now, we were talking about it from the previous round. You're talking about how they love to, you know, find that motion in the ocean across the map, find that space, and then push into the A site. They always have players watching their backs. They always have players watching out for those pushes from PRX.
And having Meteor playing as that Killjoy makes it so easy on Lotus. All you have to really do...
Oh my god.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting Mythia to survive that. All you really have to do is place your your alarm bot on C long or A main, depending on which site you're actually committing to, you put it on the elsewhere. And then that one turret on B, or yeah, is just enough to check out all the
Thank you, subscribe.
also.
Precisely.
Yes. Yes to your hub.
Also just Meteor being Meteor. I mean, he was that guy who always bought Marshals in round 2 last year when he was the primary duelist for Gen G. Now onto the Sentinel. I was saying huh because I saw a double Odin.
I thought you were going to point out the double Showstopper available for both the duelists very quickly here.
That too.
I love having ultimates very early into the game. It makes you very aggressive. And it looks like... okay, let's see. All right, that's going to be a trade for trade. Texture does get Monyet first. Dust settles 3 versus 3.
Dan Davai pakai Odin.
What was I supposed to say? When you see 2 raises just coming out into the open with Showstoppers, you really just have to have your hands up in the air and wave like you just don't care. Anyways, again, Gen G able to go into the C site. Gonna be able to plant that spike in, and the quick rotation, the quick huddle around Rubble works in their favor because now all of the utilities that Paper X has kind of sprinkled around the map has been subverted for the most part, except for this one really weird off-cam from Forsaken that's been spotted.
Surprised that he caught it. Although it was a bit
Is
of information
Outlaw
for
better
Forsaken
than
nonetheless.
Marshall?
We've got some smokes up. We've got Monyet and Mindfreak
Nice,
available, and
nice,
they're trying
Forsaken.
to work their
Oh, there
way
you go.
in.
Nice,
Getting those
Forsaken.
heads-up duels will be advantages.
There's the NT, not nice try, but
The-
the Neural Theft activated. Meteor still holding on, man. He is
Oh my
he is a
this-
force to be reckoned with.
Nice!
Free comes up
Nice!
to win. Time
Nice!
going to be enough to defuse that spike. Man, oh man, if Forsaken didn't pop off there.
Ayo Seng, mau debeu Seng. Mau debeu Seng. Ayo Seng, mau debeu Seng.
We will do it again when we have the same exact situation happen.
Definitely,
I'm
man.
gonna hold you to that.
We don't want to
the fuck?
overdo it. We
That
don't
was-
want to overstimulate our audiences.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, sick.
Asteroid's voice stimulating and titillating.
Maaf.
It was really fun. It was really fun.
Maaf,
But
maaf
I mean,
Kak,
again, the
maaf
main
Kak.
thing
Tadi
is,
diizinin
after
ya
the
buat fan
exchange,
girling ya,
right,
jadi
the
nggak apa-apa.
both
katanya.
showstoppers. The rotations came through. Gen G reads it, and then the retake coming in. You've got this Odin, but Forsaken getting the
Kodok
heads up
stikernya.
duel, and it's just Meteor holding
Iya,
the
stikernya
angle
bagus.
off. It's beautiful Valorant on both sides.
Dan
but
masih
Mindfreak
pakai Odin
clutching
dong.
out
Hey,
on top
Davai.
of it was the main factor.
Namanya masih Odin
Now-
Gaming.
Seems like we're back, you know, down to even. Door's been opened up, but no one
Mainkan
wants to
DJ
charge
angkotnya,
in
bosku.
on tree. I guess it makes a lot of sense. They know that the Odin is
nggak
available already for device, so they don't want to get, you know, peppered, wall banged to oblivion
Wah,
on tree
ketemu
there.
tuh.
They just want to make them think. Device already pushed up here, so now he knows no one's actually inside this position. So there is a lot of merit that they might actually break through that link, go to B, or rotate around. Meteor, his timing is going to be very crucial. Forsaken chase a little bit too hard.
This
Then he
guy.
has the lockdown. He can activate it right now, let the rest of his team come in, or use it as bait, force the rotation away from Paper X, and go elsewhere.
And that's the
Kenapa
best
dia
thing that
ulti
Gen G
di
has
sana?
going for them right now. The number of options that they have thanks to
Kenapa?
Meteor getting that first
Lah,
kill. But now,
kan mereka
committing
ke
over to
B.
B side, paint shells in, it buys Paper X a little bit of time
Lah.
for something to come up with
Nice.
the judge.
He knows someone's right behind him. But since they haven't picked up that spike, he can just be as patient as possible, hold for the rest of his team. That's all he really needs to do. Texture stayed, not going to do much damage, but he does pick it up. Something's got a cloud burst. He can get closer and closer here, create that tempo if need be.
10 seconds.
But the one that's going to have to hold the most
Nice,
is
Davai.
Meteor right on top of that B site, which he does, leaving Mindfreak in a 2 versus 1.
Mindfreak. Ayo.
They've doubled up onto the corner here.
Bisa yuk.
They got a shot at step. He's got a shot at step. But he's waiting patiently, but you mentioned it already, man. They're stacking up, and he can't do the high-low. Too slow, and that's going to be Gen G with a round advantage.
Susah.
That is such a difficult shot to land.
Yeah,
I mean,
nice sih.
the only time I've ever seen
Nice
anyone pull
high-low
off something
sih.
like that was like maybe Sentinels a few years ago, but still.
Wow, what memory you have, sir?
I don't know, I'm thinking of like Dapper or something. But still, I mean, back into this one, it's just so darn good from Gen G, the way
Nice
they're
try,
playing
nice try.
this.
Itu berdua udah janjian itu.
Jumped around and fired off his judge, thinking that maybe he would be able to buy the attention away. But Gen.G doesn't bite that bait. They stayed hard up on stairs, B stairs, up against some of these players from PRX like Mindfreak, and making sure that they wouldn't be able to push out.
Yeah, and again, it's because they don't really have to chase him. Again, they can rotate elsewhere on the map. They still had Meteor coming through C that got the kill on Forsaken here. That's a trade for trade. Something's got the Blaze. They're pushing out very aggressive here. Forsaken wants to create more tempo as the rest of PRX come into Waterfall on that flank.
What's this?
3-3.
What's this?
Gen.G's trapped onto the site.
What's
Smokes
this?
from Monyet, or excuse me, from Mindfreak to provide some coverage here.
What's this?
Paranoia to delay them
What's
just
this?
a tad bit further.
What's this?
One satchel.
What's
Pushes
this?
right in. Caron holding.
this?
Thinking he could be top of the
What's
spike.
this?
Numbers of PRX dwindling down. Someone's going to have to make something happen here. That right click, very shallow.
What's
and that's just going to be a clean
this?
pickup. Clean.
Bang, tadi saya ngebahas this. Menang bang, musuhnya bang, menang bang.
Because Gen.G's too fast, dude.
Nice try.
And react in time.
Ya apapun yang gue lakuin salah sih.
Economical damage either. In that round, PRX is just really trying to find as much as they could, get some kills in. Something getting the Blade Storm going was, a glimmer of hope, but just a bit of hope at best, because it was just way too difficult. Gen.G saw the flank coming out. They knew, all right, let's just go to C instead. So something's not going right for PRX right now. Alex calls in the timeout.
Just a bit of a breather again here. Usually when that happens, PRX do get their second wind. And they definitely need that.
Waduh,
Especially for all of us that PRX should win the series. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I'm really curious about the interview.
Oke, saya dubbing ya, jadi ngomongnya
something's definitely off about the forum or the mood in the team right now.
Oh iya, jadi kayak kalian kelihatan lelah. Habis ini kita makan nasi bungkus ya,
when they
digituin.
don't perform well, it's usually
Gitu
when
katanya.
you start to see these patterns, like Forsaken.
Tapi menang ini. Menang kok round ini menang.
They don't feel good, and they want to shoot themselves back in the game.
Ntar ya, aku cek
Something that
sesuatu
just
dulu.
doesn't work out so well, especially against the Gen.G that's feeling this confident. They're like, all right, you want to chase us? Come at us.
I can only assume it's them
Ya,
trying to
dibujuk sama
uphold
Nasbung
their
ya.
performance from
Kalian kalau
last
menang
year,
round ini kita
chasing
beli nasi
that-
bungkus ya. Gitu ya.
that high that they got, and it might be getting into their heads. I can only assume. I don't
Ya,
know
nggak apa-apa, tadi juga
if it's
kurang.
the real
Oh,
cause,
banyak yang pakai
but
ini ya.
there definitely is some.
Phantom.
There definitely is a change up here from something. There you go. I changed my words already. Anyways, Monyet still hasn't really shown what he's got on this raise. I don't think he's gotten too many big of highlights. It's just the crossing of the streams of those showstoppers that we saw, but that's about it. Still pretty early into this game, though.
Not really feeling all that much yet, but at the very least, trying to get a read for Gen.G's game plan right now. We've seen a lot of that A to mid-link play, like you mentioned before, Asteroid, and PRX are trying to adapt around it. They know that Nightfall is available as well, so just trying to play away from it. Now they're set up for something, maybe to at least toss paint shells to deny spike plant, but look at how Texture is hunting.
Oh my god!
Out of charges.
He barely dodges that, gets out of harm's way. But that's the power that they've got. Big kill onto Munchkin there, though, but Meteor's still holding on Rubble. If he can hold on to this position, his teammates can rely on him to hold that long angle right now, but not available anymore. Texture throws the nade from up above on Heaven, so they know that somebody's at least up there as he tries to reposition. The rest of PRX coming in closer, something floating, stinging like a bee. That nade is going to be so strong. Lakia, analyzes the situation and gets punished for it, but Texture is all in his wheelhouse, baby. Smoke does dissipate, so Devi very quickly will be able to get that refrag and PRX strikes back.
Yeah, classic PRX protocols coming in for those trades. Something with the shorty floating into the dark cover. That was always, that's always fun to watch. But it all starts with Monyet. I think he was trying to create a little bit more space, but the paint shells kind of threw off. And he died really early on because of these shots coming in from Gen.G. However, once something comes in, once Forsaken starts to get going, they can go in for those trades. Then we see the PRX fold.
Davai save the day.
We need more of that, though. I mean, you can't just always rely on these retakes. These round was won thanks to Alexa's timeout. That was thanks to, the read that they had, knowing that Lakia would go in for that.
Keren pisaunya.
And again, as I mentioned already,
Sorry,
losing
anyways.
both the players holding rubble, the long angle, was such a huge discrepancy for Gen G because they can always have someone hit the re-lurk outside of A main. Anyways, moving into this round, there's only one player holding that A side, and it's Mindfreak. He's put himself the one-way smoke on Tree here to give him some form of anchoring spot. But thankfully enough, no one's gotten very close into challenging him just yet, but now they do. Prowler's been used. Wow. He's just going to get pushed back, and Monyet just making sure that Link is unoccupied by the rest of Gen G.
Yeah, Forsaken too. At least getting the frag onto Meteor, but now the hit comes through.
Devi holding the backside, anchoring it for the moment. Waiting again for Monyet to double up with him and try to do something as of now. Dog is available. Monyet, like that reposition. Wait, what is happening here? Locky is trying to run away. He opens the door quickly, backs up, but something
doesn't
have to challenge him just yet. Munchkin has the wall, drops right down. And he has so many angles to deal with. The crossfire is too numerous for PRX, and we equalize once again.
Yeah, this is what we want to see from PRX. This is
Iya,
the
orang
PRX
Indo.
we need. The tempo
Di
in
sini
which
orang
they're
Indo ada
going,
3
not
guys.
just, going for those
Namanya
early
Monyet,
aggressive
Forsaken,
kills, trying to
sama
find frags,
Mindfreak.
or chasing down Meteor. In fact, what they do
Mindfreak
is to
kenapa
kind of
nih
pull back.
belum mode
You've got
BU?
Mindfreak.
Tapi
Set
nggak
up that one way. You know, you got hold your space, make sure you gain map control, and they got Divide just kind of
Let's
getting
go, PRX.
information off of stairs.
Dominasi bungkus.
Jump peeking a little bit. Once
Thank
they
you,
confirm
Rinka, for
coming
subscribing.
through, they have an idea of where Meteor
Wah,
can
nice
lurk
banget
in
ya,
from, and that's what they want. That's how Forsaken picks up that first frag. That's how, you know, Mindfreak does a little bit more.
Speaking of Mindfreak here, he held for a very long time that tree position.
Yeah.
Loving how he does it. I mean, yeah, sure, he doesn't get any kills, but the threat of him of getting that kills and forcing Gen G to put that into the factors of how they push up into a site is pretty huge. I will say, though, I don't think I've seen Forsaken be successful, in holding a site. He's been good at getting the lurks because he's Forsaken, but the setups that he's done on C really hasn't resulted in Gen G being thwarted. Meteor has gone there
Raza, thank
and
you,
gotten those
subscribe.
flags, so I don't know how far he can go into this. Pop Shots does put Munchkin down to 56.
It always makes you think twice about wanting to lurk or at least call some rotations over. They know that there is a bit of PRX presence
Shogun,
all
thank you
across
for
the map.
subscribing.
PRX is no longer, really pushing out all that much anymore. So Gen G now trying to play along with this tempo, trying to adapt to it, but it burns down the timer. Look at the clock aspect.
Thank you
Look
for
at this though, Gen G
subscribing.
can actually go for that link, and if something is too slow into this one, even if he escapes this, he's gonna get pinched in. Unfortunately for PRX, Meteor gets it once and for all.
Gila itu tekstur.
The showstopper and the rocket
Itu tekstur 1 HP ya bang.
That's gonna be Monyet to get the finalizing kill. And even though something falls, PRX were very quick to adapt and to respond to the offensive Gen G.
Wah, gila
I
sih.
will take that
Wow,
budget,
wow,
the bootleg
wow,
boom from
nice.
Not quite the one that we got from before, but still good.
Saya senang melihat ini ya.
You get it when there is a well-deserving.
You were absolutely
Andra,
right
welcome
with
to
the setup
Bedford.
that something
Thank
had. I mean,
you.
I would have thought at least he would be able
Kan
to
gue
get
udah
secure
bilang
at least
tadi.
one op kill, right?
Kan
But
tadi
the
aku
rest
udah
of the team
translaten
reacting
ya.
that
Tadi
quickly. Monyet
Coach
don't
Alex
go for the
ngomong
showstopper
apa?
that soon. That
Ya,
was
jadi
what
kalau
PRX
kalian
needed,
menang
and
round ini ya,
that's why
kita
you got to have
bakal
this setup
mukbang
from
nasi
PRX.
bungkus ya,
That's why they're not
langsung
pushing out
TO
all
tuh.
that much. It might not be, full-blown W gaming, but this is also what Victoria was talking about before, that lateral shift. You're not always that same
Bener,
PRX. You got
Azri.
Monyet now, and it's just that much more control.
Kita lihat guys.
Of course,
Oke, kalau
Gen G now starting to feel the
kalau
pressure.
PRX
They
sudah
call themselves
ketawa-ketawa udah kelar.
I've had
The power of
the
nasi
pleasure
bungkus,
of
bener.
also being able to cover the Indonesian scene because, Southeast Asia and everything. Monyet's been there for a good chunk of time before he joined Global, right? And a lot of the characteristics, I think, of the Indonesian scene is how well they can adapt
Atuh
in
liar,
these
welcome
very
back.
tight-knit,
Kemana aja kamu? Aku kangen.
very crunched up situations. And you see that be translated into his play with PRX very quickly. I think there was an
Topinya
interview where
lucu
he said that
banget,
he needed
iya.
a bit more time to adjust.
Iya,
but
iya,
because
lucu
he's
kali. Ih,
been in
kukunya
that situation
cantik
for
banget.
such a long time in his
Kuteknya
local
spill.
scene, you see that translate
Ichan, thank you to
into
subscribe.
Pacific League 2024 with PRX. Much
Here we
quicker.
go again.
That's
And,
right.
I mean, look at this. 9 kills for the man.
Back when he was an Onyx,
punya
APAC,
ulti dong.
LCQ,
Tapi mereka
he
eco
was
round
doing
sih.
things such as neon plays.
Solid texture.
Kid is talented.
Maksudnya
But, I
Iko
mean,
nggak
apart
sih?
from
Enggak
I
ya?
believe he's like 10 years younger too.
Itu mungkin udah.
I don't know how old you are, right? But anyway, I mean, this is a round where PaperX has some guns. Genji, on the other hand, it's more of a half-ish.
Itu tulisannya apa Mit yang ditulis Mbak tadi? PRX Sarange.
Yeah, and you're always thinking about like, you know, they call
Gak tahu guys, aku ngasal.
They want to suss out information, get a feel for how PaperX is defending this side. But something's not going to make it that easy.
Gila pada ngumpul semua di situ, buset.
In the face of Mythia there. Something's gonna back away, retreat. Danger,
That's
alert.
why smoke-nya kayak gitu ya.
Clearing him up once again. Not big damage. But as that door keeps closing and opening, they don't know how many players have already exited.
Loh,
how many players are still holding.
mereka.
Holding. It's Texture one down. Something. Ooh, overflex. And that's Meteor. He can call back his teammates if he wants to. There it is. Lockdown available. And Meteor opens up the A side
langsung
by
ini
pure
sih.
sheer
Langsung
power.
balik ke A sih.
I gotta see the replay
30
of
seconds.
I mean, it's so interesting and off-putting how Genji is approaching the map. It was a half buy. You just had this squad of stingers. But guess what? Here comes Forsaken and the spike plant goes down.
This man might not be the Guardians of the Galaxy, but he is the Guardian of Lotus. 4 kills for
Ini Meteor
Meteor
dari tadi.
on our Guardian, man.
Nice try.
That's pretty insane.
Nice
Dude
try,
is tapping heads left and right.
Yeah, first of all, we had the space.
KJ-nya
like I was mentioning
agak
before.
ngeselin
I mean,
ya.
it's a
Terus
little bit
mereka
weird to open the
ngumpul
door and
gitu
just
loh.
hide inside a tree.
Tadi unlucky banget sih. Apa OP-nya miss.
Space, Meteor is the one that they weren't really expecting to be there, and because of his sharp shooting, he's able to pick off their heads just like that.
Buset, OP lagi tuh. Lihat tuh, dilihat-lihat OP lagi tuh. Something.
I definitely did not expect. I want to see something with his op, really pop it off, but he's not doing it so far.
Wow.
And with all of the abilities that can really flush you out as a jet with an operator, it's very hard for him to do that. Yes, there's no big flashes from Genji here, but Prowler, Boombot, Smokes, Paranoia, there's a whole slurry of non-flash abilities that can really irk you if you're something. So Genji's been using that to a very good extent.
Now going up against him as well. However, he holds his ground, picks up the first one, and backs away.
Out.
So this gives PaperX a little bit more information and inkling as to where Genji wants to approach from. Something repeaks and holds the angle. Defy comes in for an doesn't find all too much. Ready for that, but here comes something.
Ambil.
He's got a tailwind again, so he can get out of harm's way if need be.
Langsung miss, saya kasih kekuatan anime. Oke, haram. Haram. Nggak boleh lagi.
Here on drop. That Han supposedly giving away position, but somehow Forsaken manages to squeeze his way through the back of the side, leaving Charon by himself and find 3 for the pinch. That is going to be
tipis. Nggak. Haram. Kekuatan anime haram. Nggak jadi. Saya doain aja.
6-5.
Buff anime ada efek sampingnya, coy. Nggak jadi. Kekuatan anime bikin miss.
And if you're thinking about it, I mean, something maybe didn't quite
OP
get the
lagi
kills,
tuh,
but at
gue
least bought
lihat-lihat.
enough time, did enough damage for his team to arrive on scene. And that's
Thanks
another
of the day,
thing.
yo.
Forsaken playing this role, unless they're walking into his traps, unless they're going into him, we won't often see
hey.
him popping off that way, unless
Bang
he
Jason
arrives with his team.
Bening bet mukanya.
And I love this from Forsaken. Again, it's
sorry,
old
guys.
news, but I love how he's transitioned into this
Oh
type
my
of guy
God.
that can use these Sentinels.
My God.
Man, he's still getting kills left and right.
Let's go, mode BU.
He's got himself a judge. I mean, long range, he got the Sheriff. If he can close the distance somewhat, maybe there's a world where he can use that Viper Pit. But look at how many players of PaperX are just holding that angle right up in his face.
Yeah, look at the cones of vision on the minimap too.
Yeah. But they're getting closer. Hold on. Wait. Oh my God.
Nice.
Heart attack, man.
Was that
think
something?
about it, but
3 players.
Yeah.
Something wide swing. Okay, we got this.
Yeah.
7-5 is not too bad for
Let's go.
PaperX. Obviously not
7-5 lah, bro.
score that you would envision for a team of this caliber, but still good nonetheless. 2 rounds ahead. If they can pick up the pistol, that would be even better. But of course, Genji has been showing us such a dominant performance today.
Jantung
These
nggak aman,
guys aren't buckled by anything that PaperX is throwing at them.
5 more. Let's go. Doni Kusuma, thank you for
You
subscribing.
see that? it feels like I can't really say any
Tapi
names
ya,
right now of Genji players.
nggak ada, nggak jadi deh. Ini out of topic sih. Nah.
Lotus that's making any plays because it's
Not
the whole
not gonna
team.
say that.
You know, it's how well they're able to play off of. I feel like the setups that the Fade does, right? So and then they just kind of feed off of that.
But I will say, I mean, like if not for that, previous map we might have seen Texture popping off like crazy.
Gue jangan megang tim paper lah, tenang. Ini saya all in PRX ya, tenang aja guys.
That one round where they had nothing but a half buy, just using nothing but a Guardian.
Nah, ini udah attacking nih, ini baru nih monyet menyala. Let's go.
That and the one actually, thank you for saying
Next
that
match
as
juga
well.
restream nggak mid? Kalau bukan PRX yang main kayaknya nggak deh guys.
Single-handedly holds that site and allows Genji options. They could even keep
Kita nggak
pushing
pakai
that
baju
site
PRX
or
kak, iya.
rotate to see where Meteor was. So absolutely right. I will agree with that. And boy, oh boy, he's 13-9-3 here coming into this second half.
Oke, let's go.
Texture still has to kill leader.
Tadi PRX nggak fokus guys, tapi ditawarin nasi bungkus sama Coach Alex, langsung
But
fokus.
of course, now that Forsaken gets to stretch his legs on this attacking side, hoping that we can see a little bit more from the team that won us VCT Pacific finals last year, and then of course going to champions as well. I don't need to introduce them; everyone knows.
Yeah, how much effort with both teams actually fight for Rubble here? Because the thing about Lotus, at least in the pro scene that we've seen for the most part, is people will just do basically this. Commit the Rubble plays, and Genji, those nades are very, very, very deadly. My god, Texture, where'd that flick come from? Mind Freak, he's alone. He's got guard cover to work for days, but his opponent,
nice
they can last for months, so just see how more that is.
Apa guys?
4 versus 1. He's repositioning around the corner here. Meteor hears him.
Oh no.
I wonder if there's a world where Meteor tries to stab Mindfreak here if he over pushes. Or doesn't even check the corner.
But nice try.
Current teams now.
I look away for 1 second.
Wishful thinking, man. Wishful thinking.
But I mean, it's just how they play. Very controlled. They know the setup.
Coba mode caster nggak bisa guys.
I kind of have a feeling that this is something that Genji had prepared. Studying game tape from PRX before, knowing that this is definitely something that we want to go for, right? This Rubble control, it's so useful, gives you legs to
ada di shop itu pisaunya.
have
Oh iya.
option towards A
Bundle
or
baru.
mid link if you want to set up split pushes. They want to deny that. And that one nade from Texture, not to mention Lakia and Texture pushing in together, just throws PRX off so
Biar
much.
samaan.
Can I add as well?
Ya, anjing.
Munchkin's toxic screen was pretty huge for that, because usually you see that and say, it's the safety for the A side. No, it's the danger for Rubble for you if you're trying to push that. So keep pushing though. It's the C.
God, this guy.
Zoom in past Monyan.
This
the double jumping PRX.
Yo, but they still got the shot, man. So although Manyan makes it through, has a Bulldog, can't go up against Munchkin now. What?
That was funny.
All right, down to something with a Marshall. 3 versus 1.
Oh, nice.
Makes it a quick 2v1. Okay.
Nasi bungkus.
That
Ayo, nasi bungkus.
Is very much open for him. He's got a he actually repositions. But wait, does that angle actually work for him? It's very risk, so he has to try to do something here. Oh my god. Oh,
what the
hell? Near the body space of Lakia. Something overdoing it, going back into C-Long. I mean, it was for the information, but he kind of overheated in that situation too.
Really close. I mean, at least had the right idea to tailwind out of that hairy situation and to play for time a little bit, try to distract Munchkin. But I mean, Lakia. As soon as Lakia goes in, though, just knowing to crouch and to keep his head tucked under.
Yeah.
Lakia is not always like a stand-out fragger, but in some situations knows exactly what to do. Has enough experience.
Itu mereka tuh kayak
shoulders for sure. Something challenging here. It's tagged up.
Ketahuan bang. Oh enggak.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We tested Lakia last year, right, on Ascension Pacific, where he was on Damwon Kia.
He's doing
not
something.
Really getting an opportunity to really showcase what he's got there, but the Genji here.
Iya kok nggak di replay sih yang double ciluk gua itu lucu banget.
Of course, now with enough economical damage, Genji not having the best guns. You got a Ghost on Texture, Charon on the it's Charon still. PRX buying up, trying to do what they can. You've got something on this outlaw, but Gen.G just respects all of this space and plays for numbers instead. They kind of relinquish A, which means it's going to be a tough retake for
Ya
them.
separah itu kah outlaw kah? Maka.
Especially with the rest of PRX holding both stairs and A heaven.
Chef kiss.
They've got everything locked and loaded. They don't really need to stay inside the site. They can be proactive as much as they would want to.
Oh, no.
Heron does get that angle against something, but damage is already done here. Gen.G, I think it's only going to be exits and a bit of economic damage that they can really do in this round.
Iya itu.
Makes me wonder
kayak kita loncat bareng ya. 1, 2, 3 jeder.
And you know, it's that nerd talk about line of sight. You get closer into a corner. You can see your opponent faster than they do. We're not getting 34 degrees here in the corner of the wall. TLDR, guys, the closer you are to a wall when you peek a corner, the worse it is for you. The farther you are from a wall when you peek a corner, the better it is for you.
Thank you, Asarai.
Yeah.
But yeah, still a round picked up by PRX still.
Saving ya.
As they move forward. But Gen.G has definitely caught up.
Gue loncat ya. 1, 2, 3. Tapi kenapa nggak di replay dah, Bang? Bang yang ngatur OBS-nya mana nih? Replay, Bang. Gila sih itu.
Still a lot of damage, but apart from that, just thinking about how else PRX.
Percaya nggak guys kalau aku salah satu dari mereka yang tadi? Enggak, lucunya kompak gitu.
I mean, did we come into the stage thinking that it would be this close between PRX and a revamped Gen.G?
How many of us voted for, predicted PRX would win?
All of us except for William.
Except for William.
Truly is the will I am. Will he? Or will he not?
Tadi siapa sih yang lompat? Monyet sama Davai.
We have 20 seconds, so I'm just buying time, you know, for this time to pass this by and get it back into the action.
But I mean, still just thinking about it, right? We haven't seen too much from Gen.G on the defensive side. We know that they have the potential to push out, especially with a player like Texture at their hands.
Yeah.
PRX has to,
casternya nggak notice sih itu.
True, and again, they have to be very aware of how strong the rumble control can be for Gen.G here. Again, it was only a glimpse of what it could be on that pistol, but it can translate into these gun rounds a whole lot more. Now looking quickly into the ultimate cache of both of our teams, PRX has got a little bit more of the strong suit with the blades and the showstopper available here, but Gen.G not lagging too far behind. If Texture can get that 1 kill, he will have access to that showstopper of his.
Which is why PRX is trying to get a read for that.
Gimana ini nama
Gen.G's timeout. We've seen their A, we've seen a bit of their C. Haven't seen all too much else for now, though. I mean, newly formed PRX with Mythia now, just executing into C site. Kind of bypassed Munchkin's judge. Oh, but look at that door play from Lakia.
Tiba-tiba hilang 2 tuh.
Again, the door opens so quickly that you can't really sometimes react to the punish that could follow up from the defenders, and you see that activated so quickly here. Something now just going to be holding with the judge first. I do like this because, again, you don't want to play that close and hope for accuracy. You just want to go for the pellets first of this shotgun. Munch is going to be first on the pedestal. He's getting very close. I don't know who's going to get this one. On the corner, he will be dropped down by something. Coming in right now is going to be Mythia using that showstopper to delay even further. Meteor's getting closer. Lakia as well. They need to make something happen here. It's all down to Lakia. Good for the first. But there's so many just angles from PRX that you cannot even click quickly enough to deal with.
Now we're playing.
Yeah, great solve on the C site. You know, you got
Astaga, Odin lagi kah? Ini 4 second mau Odin tuh. Gue lihat-lihat tuh. Tahan. 4 second, tahan.
For something to get into position to do things like this. I mean, he was really a lot more calm in this moment. And then picking up that
Kayaknya Gen saving deh tadi.
Coming down to it as soon as they picked up those numbers, as soon as they figured out where Gen.G was going to approach from.
Bisa lah, nggak thrifty dong.
But again, Gen.G showing the same thing that they brought up here from that Breeze map, which is that they can't punish the in-transit of PRX, and they do it once again here in this round. Look at that. Something's been dropped down as well as Forsaken. Mythia frantically trying to get control here of C. Doesn't matter if he is alone or with teammate. What a dodge from Mindfreak! Oh my goodness! They're trying to rally behind that showstopper of Texture. Great flash from Charon, and it's all Mythia. The new blood from
Bro, you know what? Gue gak akan ngomong apa-apa lagi, oke? Kayak apapun yang gue keluarin tuh selalu it's a bad thing for them. I'm so sorry.
Wait for that contact from PRX.
I just jinxed it. I'm so sorry. Okay. Never jinx.
Definitely is a PRX that.
Enggak. Udah. Gue gak ngomong lagi. Gue bakal komentarin yang lain, oke?
Things are starting to go. You know that Genji is on an eco, and you're like,
I'm so
I
sorry.
can take them. You start to walk out, and it just hurts, man.
I'm sorry.
No, I feel you. And again, it boils down to.
I'm so sorry. I jinxed it.
Again, I don't want to assume,
Ini,
but it feels like they don't want to challenge A for the moment because again, they're afraid of that robo control, especially when they saw the Texture was nearing his showstopper, so they wanted to try to go for BRC.
Mute.
Again, the
Okay, I'm muting myself.
That is very quick. You can rotate either way because you have control of the door, but they somehow get pinched
Itu Bang
in
Monyet minus
position
berapa
of
ya?
that. And
Tebel
we
tebel.
see Genji utilize that for the past 2 rounds. Now PRX feeling that pressure, gotta call for that timeout. It's not
Ya, apapun yang gue bilang itu adalah kutukan untuk mereka, Wen. I'm so sorry.
Genji, they're bringing it right back, baby.
Kalian lihat for second. Kalian lihat nih anak gak bisa tahan nih. Lihat nih. Oke. See. Watch and see.
But of course, PRX getting to buy up onto the next now. You've got to note it back on Forsaken.
Watch and see. Okay.
Something
Watch
on that
and
off again. But on the attacking side.
Okay. Oh, the Haunt actually gave away the position there of something as well as Mindfreak. Nade did stop PRX for just a few seconds here, Quack. But not really the biggest of hindrances for now.
Just letting them gain control
This
over
guy,
the spot.
I swear.
But look at the positioning that they have. Texture still up around. He could go up the ropes if needed. And then you've got Munchkin just ready to welcome them with open arms on the other side of Link.
Texture's trying to delay as much as he can at the back of the site. Hoping that he can stop the Monyets. But he will not. Lakia coming in to pinch. He's stopping some of this massive back control that PRX has gotten on that A. Spike will get planted. It's all about the retake here for Genji.
Oke, gue diem. Menang nih. Gue diem.
Munchkin here, making it a more palatable situation for PRX. Lakia opening the door. The Forsaken finds him with an Odin. Meteor's gonna just have to run away here, or just stay in the side, whichever. They're already pretty rich, so they can just buy up into the next round anyways. So he can make this into an expensive endeavor.
Kayak gue harus diem deh, guys.
A little bit.
Kayak gue harus diem, guys. Oke. Kayak harus diem biar mereka menang.
Hello, say hello, my little friend.
Oke. Sekarang gue tahu triknya. Gue harus diem. Gue harus diem biar menang, sih. Oke.
But this is a big reason why you
Ngejing
can
sih yang
just
bikin
wall
menang,
back for
oke.
days that
Odin
specific
adalah
angle where
kunci
they're
ya.
defending, and it is such a huge. Look at this.
Not gonna say
it's
anything.
Such a huge power play.
Memang diem itu adalah emas.
On the attacking side too, especially if you're behind rubble, you can spray through and try to catch someone as they try to approach. And that's what Forsaken is doing again, just to give PRX a little bit more map control. But yo, Charon.
Okay, a little bit of an overreach here for Genji for sure, as Mindfreak and Texture have been just blasted away. Speaking of which, Mythia to infinity and beyond. The showstopper comes to truly stop that show. 4 versus 3. We have a bit of calm here as PRX do get access onto that A site, but the rest of Genji already right now the back of things. Meteor finding one, lockdown activated, but it is a little bit shallow. There still is position that you can play inside of tree as well as outside right there of stairs, and something holding the blades as well as the operator. This makes the long range fights a little bit more palatable here for PRX. Haunt does give away his position. They use that Haunt to actually get closer, but Forsaken holds for something. Something now against Mythia, 2 versus 1. That box not really giving too many angles for him to have safety on. And if he gets peeked, it's gonna be 1 in the front, 1 in the back.
Emang gue harus diem guys. Oke.
So although they picked up
The
quite
power
a bit,
off.
making use of the Killjoy lockdown.
Oke. Gue bakal diem sampai mereka menang guys. Oke. Berarti gue beneran harus diem. Oke, baik. Kan gue udah bilang 2-1. Anyways. Stop. Gue bakal diem. Saya akan diem. Karena kalau diem menang nih, menang.
Again. Fun. And when PRX are having fun, you know it's a dangerous time for you. And I'm having fun, because that means that we're going to have game 3.
You need someone to keep those spirits up. You know, if not, something or Ilya will get you really in their head.
Aku diem.
What is this?
Aku predik kalah sih round ini.
Open the door, get tripped up, see what happens. Wall has been called in a little bit closer into the A main position, and that actually works in the favor here of Gen G. As you saw, Forsaken get blasted very quickly. They're very close into the opposition right now, but Devi realizes that he has to come pitch in for his teammates. Oh my god! Again, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee for something, loving to use that floaty. Both snipers actually missing as they try to reposition quickly. But now they know. Mythia's position exposed. He's only got a Marshall in his hand here, Quack.
Kalah ini.
It truly is danger time for him. If he loses this, PRX will be on map point. Wow, okay, Mythia!
Tuh kan, aku bilang juga kalah.
That's the same Mythia that we saw from Gen G last year.
Kan aku bilang juga kalah.
Still, I mean, when you think about it, PRX definitely
kalah
has
kan?
the books.
Anyway.
Very close to it though.
Diem boy.
With that Marshall. I mean,
demi Allah, Aaron.
his whole game plan was to really
Tuh kan,
try to
kalah,
find
bener kan?
a way, pull off something unorthodox, right? Make use of that toxic
Blok apa ya?
screen. The surprise that
Gila diserang gue macam. Sorry.
Mythia on the other side, PRX having game plans. A plan B really. To keep themselves alive. Devi is having fun.
I'm just gonna stay quiet here and let us just enjoy the laughs of Devi. Make that your soundtrack, ladies and gentlemen. But as I was spewing some nonsense words, we've already seen some great impact actions here from Gen G as something's been taken away from the board. Again, Gen G still threatening a lot of that control on Rubble. This means that it's only down to really Mythia to entry into the site. Devi activates, but Mythia is here to just again anchor things, denies access into that C site, and PRX will have to scratch their heads a little bit here. What happened? We tried to push in and actually fall on our heads as Mythia repositions for this right angle. They might not know about this. And they will never do as the smoke really just makes it difficult for them to gain any.
Way too much. There's so much delay that the rest of the PRX members on the other side, if they go into this, it's not a favorable numbers duel. Something kind of losing the Charon on the other side of the map as well. It just doesn't quite work out for them. So Gen G gets to extend their lives in this map.
Yikes, that haunt.
I'm sorry.
Truly going to be
kan gue udah diem guys. Aku udah diem loh. Aku udah diem loh. Yaudah ya beneran deh ya. Total silent. Fine. Fine then.
Have himself
a
sniper in hand.
Jinx lu delay gitu.
Yes, there it is. Caron.
Wait, tahan satu round, oke. Ya, oke. Oke, gua diem. Oke. Gua diem. The real silent treatment, baik.
Yeah, it's all these tiny, slight bits of utility. You know, Mythia has the nanostorm. It kind of slows down the rest of the team. They can't quite follow up with Mythia because of it. And keep in mind, PRX has spent both timeouts at this point. They're on an eco. It's a bit of a half buy, but it's starting to bite them in the back.
Ooh, Caron, where did he come from? Picks up the 2K. There's the quick flash from Devi. Okay, oh, hold on. Devi gets 2. But never mind. All right, I'll bite my tongue there. 12 to 10.
Oke, gua diem. Gua nggak napas dah. Abis ini nggak napas. Oke, baru bye.
Two at the very least. The adaptations. I mean, that's another thing with the structure. All of them are giving ideas as to how they want to approach the map or figure out ways to deal with Gen G. But yeah, they've spent those timeouts, and this means, you know, unless there's a clear answer, we might actually
Enggak,
have an
maksudku
overtime in our
kalah
hands.
tuh gennya kalah. Anyway.
PRX are running out of credits to actually fall back on for the moment too. This camera
texture and an off.
Yeah, there you go. Does give away the position too of his opponent right in front of him. It's only Forsaken really just holding A main. He wants to be able to anchor this by himself from the looks of things. That will allow PRX to again make do with elsewhere, but they're so far back from both sides, man. They haven't really done this kind of slower approach at all in this map.
There's not that much control. One-way smokes are all being spent up around this one spot. And then, of course, you still got Munchkin available with that toxic screen. A is a very difficult spot to hit right now, but trying to make something happen off of the Odin suppressive fire.
Okay, they open the doorway into tree. Woof, texture, here you go. Inside the smoke is going to be Charon. And PRX are pushing blind into the side. They gotta just go for that big contact. Something finding Munchkin.
30 seconds left.
Showstopper activated. Does that stop the plant on the spike? Yes, it will be. But it's trade for trade here, Quack. It's not the end of the world. Something repositions, almost gets hang by the rope side. Lakia pushed out, something exploding at this point. And there's the plant on the spike, 2 versus 1 for Mythia, but Mythia has truly been a miracle worker at this point. They're backing up into the corner and something finds it, the 4K, and we are going to map number 3.
I mean, in that last round, you could feel almost that tension.
Memang teori diem paling bener. Memang teori diem tuh paling benar. Teori diam memang paling benar. Teori diam memang menang. Teori diam memang menang ya. Diam adalah kunci. Kamu boleh ngomong, oke. Sorry. Kayaknya gue kalau nggak napas. Tadi literal pas tinggal 1 aku nahan napas weh. Teori diam itu emas. Ya. Kamu ngoceh sampai map 3 mulai. Oke, baik. Oke, kali ini aku bakal ngoceh ya. Ya, terima kasih banyak. Terima kasih banyak. Terima kasih banyak.
PRX here, they are being challenged by Genji. We did see in the coaches
boy.
interview that Genji did prepare specifically for PRX, and it looks like they're showing they did their research very well.
No, they very much did.
Mending mewing. Aku mewing tiap saat, guys. Dari dulu udah mewing.
Those 10-round wins. It's another 13-10 scoreline, and now we go to map
Next
number
map
3.
apa?
We're gonna get a
Sunset.
nice little zoom in here on Genji.
Berarti ini saya kena kita harus nge-silent treatment ya, benar.
But this was still
waktu dipersilakan.
similar to, it's one of those series that
PRX.go is real coy.
It was so much closer. 13-10 already.
Ya, ini mapnya PRX
these,
sih, but let's see.
went down to kind of 1v1s, 1v2s,
As
things like that,
always,
and many good
Odin
chances
Gaming.
for those clutches to happen. Obviously, none of them really coming through on the scoreboard. But the
Saya
other thing
bangga.
is PRX, I mean, they gotta brush up on the pistols, right? And the anti-ecos, because they are losing either the pistol or the anti-eco consistently throughout the series.
Oke. Iklan ya guys ya. Udah pada makan belum? PRX tim Indo, Singapura. Masih nunggu Gojek. Oh alah. Mana jersey PRX-nya Mit? Boleh nih, mau lihat kah? Oh,
Sure, but I think one thing that still hasn't changed for
kan?
PRX is how they use that Odin on this map, right? It's not just to get the kills through the walls, but it's
keren
actually
kan?
to constantly spam it so they can keep creeping up. So it's not just the double controllers, but it's the fact that they are not only clearing angles, but making so much noise that you have to respect the Odin. You just keep backing up, and a couple of those rounds, they basically took over all the way right up to A site simply through Odin spams.
You know what? I think that, like, okay, PRX did win this map, but it wasn't a very convincing win. You know, there were a lot of times wherein they could have won rounds like a lot. This could have been a lot faster. This could have been a lot easier for them. But we saw so many times where they were like, there's hesitation. There was a little bit of, miscomm. There was a little bit of like missed opportunities. Which isn't characteristic for PRX from like a few months ago.
Yeah, it's not. And I think
Pahanya berkilau banget digosok pakai apaan?
For them right now, we're not seeing that just
Pakai
consistent
Ibon
ebb
ya.
and flow between all 5 players in the lobby.
Tim
at the
Indo
moment.
apa,
I think
Miss?
this was going to
Hah?
take some time to
Maksudnya?
develop. Obviously, when you have a
I
core
love
that
Gravity,
sticks
me
together for a
too.
very long
Adam,
time, if
welcome.
you change
Terima
one of those
kasih.
pieces, it's going to take a while for that adjustment to come
Minumnya
through.
apa,
But
Mit?
still, fantastic performances across
Mit,
the
why
board
nerf?
between
No,
both of
it's
these
not.
squads. I mean, Mythia having
not.
a hell of a time, but Karon, I mean, good God, it doesn't feel like he went
Oke,
16
ngilang dulu,
and
guys.
16, you know,
Oke.
just a net neutral when it comes down to the KD, because there's so many
Setuju
great
loh,
moments
makin
where he was the
makin
one that
glowing
was
lagi
saving
loh,
him. That
Mit.
4K that he had
Anjay.
just a couple rounds towards the end there. Texture as well, putting up significant numbers. That continues here with this trend from Gen G. So going into Sunset, I really don't know what to expect because I need to see what Gen G is going to be bringing to the table on that map. And
Minumnya
I need to see if
UC
PRX
1000
can
nggak sih,
improve
guys?
what we saw from them at AVL.
Ini aku lagi minum.
There is a worrying trend here for
Wih,
Texture. Is
Emang
that
nge-stop sih.
he's losing the maps that he's not getting over
Exile,
here at
thank
ACS.
you. Thank you for the map.
And I know this sounds like a joke, but this has always been the trend for his
thank
career as
you.
well. If he's not top ranking out of his mind on previous rosters he's been
Bro,
on in Challengers Korea
got
or
nerf
I
on
guess
her
Valorant
boot.
Challenge
No,
way back
no,
when
it's
before
not getting
VCT
nerfed.
started. That was
It's
also the
just,
trouble.
I mean,
He
I'm
wasn't
wearing
ranking,
jersey.
carrying
What
the
do you
team.
expect?
It was very tough for them to kind of close things out. And yes, I mean, it's a very tough opponent, and Meteor is performing very well, but Texture, what I'm worried about is, does that get to Texture's head of like, man, do I really have to carry this team again? Because that would concern me a little
So
bit.
it's kind of like he's at 100% or none at all.
Well, yes. In terms of results. Yes,
Yeah.
in terms of results, absolutely. But both times, I mean, even last
Mau
time when
pulang
they
tapi
lost
mau
split
nonton.
against RQ, it was
Nonton
Meteor
dulu
who
lah,
was still
dikit
trying
lagi
to
kelar
help
ini.
keep them in the game alongside Texture. So hopefully that gives him a little bit of comfort of knowing, okay, it's not just my individual score that's kind of making or breaking the game. It is about the teamwork and how our opponents are playing around their map picks as well.
Yeah, I think that Meteor here was definitely a player, you know, that we have to highlight. There were so many times where it was just him versus like
Observer, kamu nge-replay yang tadi dong. Yang tadi lucu banget, coy.
Surely he doesn't win this, but somehow he does.
You put any gun in this guy's hands and he's going to be able to deliver the results. The Marshal especially, something he just demands respect when he is wielding that weapon, and he has put it, you know, proven it time and time again. Something though with some great moments throughout this, you know, just kind of getting back into
Iya, yang 1, 2, 3 lompat itu lucu banget loh.
Yes. But here,
sehat.
back to maximum comfort, you can see he was going for those ankle, those wrist break plays where he just goes dashing over top of somebody's head with that shorty in hand and just helping take him down.
And I like that you're seeing
Tapi
that
kalau
because
ngelihat
the peaks that we're
mereka
seeing from
main
something
tuh
continue to
memang
remind
ini
us of
sih
what we saw last year when he got that
agak
MVP
mind
in
blown
VCT
gitu ya,
Pacific.
karena
But
kayak
again, it's
gila
not
nih
as
orang bukan
consistent
manusia
as we're
anjir,
used to
serasa
seeing
embot
throughout
gitu
the
loh.
2023 season.
That's the thing, you know, you see the adjustment come in because they do have Monyet there, right? Taking over the reins of the Rays, so to say, over on Lotus. And you do see how sometimes, you know, the coordination isn't quite there, but towards the end, towards the later half of that map, I do feel like, okay, they were in sync, and you know, the entries that Monyet was getting was definitely something like, oh, reminiscent
Ini
from
musiknya
like, way
copyright
back
loh.
when.
I mean the whole stream is
I think a lot of
copyright
it does
sih.
also have to do with just going back to
Cuma
a
I don't
composition
care.
that's a lot more comfortable, a map that's a lot more comfortable, because obviously, yes, they will have been
Bayangin Monyet
practicing
ngajarin
that
Dava main
setup, that
FF.
controller setup on
Emang
Breeze,
bener-bener
but
nih.
bringing it onto the stage for the
Tapi
first
tadi tuh
time
Meteor
is
on
something
fire
very
banget.
different compared to running something behind the scenes.
So
Dan
now,
Minofrix
obviously, we
sudah
go to
mulai
Sunset, and that's the big
sedikit-sedikit
question, is
mode
that
BU
when
ya.
they played at AVL, it was Jin coming in to play that Raze, right?
Malahnya
And they were
ngalangin,
swapping
turunin
out
dikit.
Mindfreak
Nih
a couple
lama-lama gue
times
nggak
here
usah
and
pakai
there,
left
and they
2D.
were really swapping up the roles. So now, I mean, first of all, is it going to be the something Gecko? But then also, is
Hai
does
Mit,
that
gimana
leave
menurut
Monyet
lo
to
debut
be
Monyet di
the
PRX?
Raze to try to break open sides and
Masih
go for those
belum
retakes? 'Cause
kelihatan
then
sih
we're gonna have to start questioning, okay,
agresifnya.
is the synchronization there for the entire team? Or is
Mungkin
Monyet's
belum
confidence going
aja
to be
belum
enough
aja
to
sih.
actually carry that
Let's see
into
ya
the
di
win?
Sunset
I think with the
gimana.
performance that he
Saya
just had
tadi
there
di
on
map
Lotus, he should
map
be feeling
pertama
pretty
aja kan
confident
dia
in his
pakai
Raze
Omen.
performance. I think that
Ini
he'll
baru
be
nih
fine
map
to
kedua dia pakai
continue
Raze.
onward with that one going in towards Sunset. My biggest question
Kami
is
tim mau
there,
join
as you
PRX
mentioned,
lah.
the Gecko. Is that
Kalau ada
still gonna be
kesempatan
something
mau
that's
sih.
played for the side of PRX, or have they decided, okay, you know what, we showed this during the tournament. This is what they'll likely expect us to run. Let's go, you know, double duelist, something like that. We'll have something just continue on the
Mungkin
jet,
belum
or
ini
maybe
aja
even have
sih,
something else up their sleeve.
belum panas
Yeah,
aja
and
sih
that's
Monyet
scary
juga.
with PRX.
By the way
Again,
lucu
we're dealing
banget
with a
ya
team that
itu
is very, very
mau.
flexible, right? And what they
Bonekanya.
showed during the off-season tournaments may not be exactly what they have planned specifically for Gen G. And as for Gen G, I do believe that there's no information on their Sunset just yet, which could be a very, very good thing for them, especially since, as we saw in the coach's interview, like these two have been studying each other for quite a long while. And I do think
Faucia,
that,
thank
you know,
you,
for
welcome.
Gen G, they're riding
Thank you
on a
for
lot of
subscribing.
momentum right now. Yes, they did lose that previous
Masih
match, but
adaptasi,
it didn't
nggak apa-apa,
feel
nggak
like, you know,
masalah. I
it
mean mungkin
was a
ini
very
juga
close
debutnya dia
scoreline. It's
kan.
been 13-10 for both maps so far.
Yes, so I think the biggest thing for Gen G is obviously it's not necessarily that you're getting like run over with your firepower.
Yeah.
They've been having a lot of pride about we know that we're very strong mechanically.
Tadi
We know
juga
we can
pakai
fight
komen
individually.
gitu
Okay, they've
kan
proven
ya.
that time and time again so far in the
Baik,
both
oke.
matches, and especially if you are keeping up with PRX here in Pacific in that regard, that is very good news. Now, when it comes to Sunset, sure, there's not much to go off of, but they did show what they prepared coming into kickoff now, and I can't imagine that it's going to change too drastically. So the question is Gen G, do they have some more in the bank, or is PRX just going to be able to read right through it?
Yeah, and looking at these map highlights that we have, right? You know, you see these rounds come down to very individual performances here, and you know, I do have to single out Caron.
Yang tadi yang loncat, loncat, yang loncat,
this kid, he's
yang
definitely making
loncat.
his mark. He's so
Mana?
consistent as well.
Yeah, he really
Mana
is,
yang loncat?
and it's been so very impressive.
Mana
because,
yang
again,
loncat?
You know, a little bit of a slow start in the RQ
Yang loncat,
series,
yang
but
loncat.
then just ramps up. This time he started at an 11 when he came into today, and that was a big reason why they were able to take away Breeze, and that continued
Yang
going
loncat,
towards
please.
Lotus as well. His timing and just decision making as well as his aim have all been very much on point here, and having a solid controller, I mean, we know how important that is. It's one of the most important roles
Ya,
that you
nggak
could
masuk
have,
yang loncat, bro.
you know, a star player in for any team. That's why
Sangat disayangkan itu, pada lucu banget.
and has been for many years.
Wow, chill, давай. Oh my god, dia, давai, chill. Oh my god, nopal, thank you, subscribe. Hey, yo, what?
Because we've got a Sage coming back.
They are playing
the get-go.
duelist list.
Yep, no
Sunset
duelist.
on PRX.
No duelist.
I see.
Okay,
I thought
what?
maybe they were going to
No
a little bit
duelist?
different. I thought maybe they were going to
Really?
play single controller for this map. Have
No duelist kah?
Omen, Tavai go over to Killjoy, and then Forsaken go Yoru alongside the Raze, but they are completely going off my script.
But I actually kind of like this, especially because they knew that Genji's still running the
Gecko
Sky,
duelist
and
gak
Sky
sih?
just can't get as much information throughout the round now.
Oke,
with this
oke.
version
Ini
of
duelisnya
Valorant, so
Omen,
that wall, those
Gecko,
swarms
ya,
have a lot
keren.
more value.
How do you W without a duelist? We're about to find out as we head into map number 3 between
Okay.
PRX and Gen G. Quack and Asahi, over to you guys.
Let's go.
Thanks for that, our
Let's go.
amazing desk.
Oke, good luck.
Yeah, I was
Oke,
actually just
gue
wanting to
bakal
add as
diem,
well,
gue
you know,
bakal
in
diem
terms of,
sampai roundnya
the
selesai,
questions they
oke?
were throwing away at us.
Gue bakal diem.
In a map such as Sunset, where
bakal
I
diem,
feel
gue
like
bakal
Xeapher
diem.
has such a high tier
Gue bakal
here,
diem.
how can PRX actually deal with the tripwires when they don't have, let's say, a Sova, you know, to break it easy?
Right? Yeah, you're just gonna have to rely on, like, I don't know, your bullets, or maybe, you know, Forsaken's fragment, but then that's not really what you want.
Gue bakal diem.
Yeah.
So
Gue bakal
it's
diem.
definitely a bit of
Sampai ini selesai, oke?
a head scratcher. This entirely duelist-less composition is not something that we see all too often. Actually, I don't think we ever see it.
Yeah.
But you know, it is PRX after all.
Say that 10 times fast, right? But I will say on Sunset, the Sage Walls are pretty insane because you can get into some good elevations that the smokes of Gen G might not be able to blot out completely. That being this one as well, as we can see here on Market. But Gen G's very aware of this, and Davai was almost taken down. But the separation, though, does allow them to get the pickup onto Munchkin. Now, the rest of PRX is going to be holding back the site, and they're just going down to work. Gen G not in a comfortable spot, and they're just going to have to try to wiggle their way out of this as we turn into the 2 versus 1. But this could be a quick transition if Mythia can find some good timings on this. But he gave away that location of his
Benar, gua harus
because
diam.
he threw
Benar.
out the
Benar, gue
camera.
harus diem.
Just a little bit known and obvious,
Mantap.
but at the same time,
Let's go.
PRX holding things back. I mean, this is what we want to see from them on the attack.
Oke, gue
up
diem
on the
lagi ya guys
defensive
ya.
side.
Jangan nanya kenapa
You've
gue
got
diem.
that
Karena
Sage
kalau gue
wall, which is
ngomong
actually really
pasti
interesting because it
jadinya
blocks
curse.
the market, and now
Oke,
it
masih ada
allows
10
for the
detik.
rest of them just
Kalian
to
mau ngomong apa guys?
be free in a target-rich environment. We
Hashtag
know that they're
PRX
gonna
win.
first
Ayo,
maybe
ketik
just
sekarang.
hold their
Hashtag
ground and
PRX
start
win.
picking them off bit by
Ayo,
bit.
ketik sekarang,
Find
ketik
free
sekarang.
with that ghost
Hashtag
shot,
PRX win.
picking up the double kill, and that's the PRX that we see.
At least for these next couple of rounds, before Gen G gets those rifles, the Sage Wall is going to be somewhat harder to break down, so there should be a lot more safer position for PRX to drop it in. Don't worry about that angle for a good chunk of the round and just be safe. Anyways, Forsaken, Outlaw, Contact, success. Actually, very successful. 3 kills for the price of 2 bullets. Very, very good start here for Forsaken.
That's, what, 300% success rate? No, that's terrible math. In any
How
case...
could you? We are, you know, we're supposed to be good at math.
Why?
Anjay, jadi
Because we
benar,
have
gue harus diem.
phones that have calculators.
Benar,
and
gue
you can
harus diem.
check it.
Gua bener harus diem. Oke, you know what? Bener. Gua harus diem. Gimana ini Min? Min ini ada nggak ya? Soalnya gini guys. Masa iya guys, I'm getting paid. Terus aku harus diem gitu loh guys. Beneran cu. Ngomong dong, sabar 8 detik. Bisa ngomong. Pokoknya saya mewing dulu ya guys. Mewing untuk hashtag PRX win. Sekarang, ketik sekarang.
Oh, and a Sage Wall that boosts them up. That's what the Outlaw and the Sage is for.
A lot of the elevation, man. I told you, there is going to be so many cheeky positions that you can utilize this with. And of course, the byproduct of just blocking off a certain pathway that Genji will have to break or wait for it to break. Which, as you can see, forces Genji to be a whole lot more respectful of just, pushing up into these certain positions. Ooh, Meteor, boot spotted.
Yeah, they don't want to lose their full buy run all that quick, right? They don't want to give the bonus over to PRX, and so just trying to be very careful off of it, cut noise, and then the execution through. Texture getting this first frag actually does so much for them because now they have more options, not to mention Munchkin making use of tiles to walk up front on mid.
Did they close the door on Market though? That's still open, isn't it not? Okay, there you go. It's still closed up, so Forsaken doesn't have to worry about that for the moment. No aggressive push out here for Genji just yet, Quack. Maybe waiting for, or just letting PRX cook for the moment, but since they have to, some of their players have to go for the half shields, that Outlaw, absolutely terrifying. Texture's already here in the front lines, and the damage, the aim, the lethality, absolutely felt. Forsaken pushing in, picks up so many weapons. This man is an absolute inspector gadget. Charon can't reload. Oh man, he's waiting for his teammate though. He's waiting for something. Who has the wingman? Oh no, the stun! The way he actually loses is he gets stunned. Charon, 2 headshots, holds it off, even through the pressure of ability, chasing it down to the ends of the earth.
You can definitely see a slight bit of a mishap towards the end of that round. Forsaken starts things off incredibly well. Of course, Genji with that, play carefully around mid as well. Gathering up towards A and then executing it.
Udah, gua ngomong aja. Oke. Kita coba ngomong. Kalau round ini saya ngomong dan kalah berarti gua diem lagi. Oke. Deal. Wow, rusuh sekali di mid ya.
PRX does not want to let up.
Again, that's talking about it, man. This Charon newcomer for Genji already showing why he's, in that spot. This time, though, it will get punished. Davai holding a very high angle here. Not going to get spotted, so he will get some damage in, but Meteor somehow manages to get that backside control already, opens it up. Will not have the North up for
agak repot ya Xeapher di sini sih.
Does he activate it? Paranoia.
Nice, something.
Is he really gonna thrash for the overkill? I love this!
Nah.
And Lavia, welcome!
Bro, monyet bener-bener. Ini astaga. Indonya keluar anjir. Dipisoin coy. Yang bener aja. Rogi dong. Yang bener aja.
Thank you.
Enggak, bukan something yang parah. Yang parah monyet. Hey, kamu lihat nih monyet tuh.
Just securing the round. Michael, he's off for that 4th quad, right?
Mau deny fire, yo, parah banget.
The Thrasher. But it's mainly, playing off of that Dizzy. They managed to pick up those kills as Genji tried to make a play through mid. So PRX definitely adapting around it, getting a lot of good information because of their agility.
And again, just to get in a different point, it felt that this is the comeback for something in this specific series.
Let's go. Jason bersinar lah.
He's putting the hours in that Outlaw, man. I mean, he doesn't even have to do the headshots, all body shots for him.
It's an answer back to whatever Meteor and Texture did to them on that map 1.
Fair enough. Mind Freak now repositioning. Smoke.
Gila Jason.
Doesn't allow him to push outside of Market cleanly, but yikes. Is he gonna get thrashed in here? Actually,
Sorry guys.
Doesn't matter
Oh
though.
my god,
as
gila
as
banget.
they
4 second,
chase
4 second.
Monyet into
Panas
the back of the
banget,
site,
coy.
as PaperX is
Coy,
there
coy,
to
coy,
trade him
gila,
off.
gila. 4
Not
second panas
afraid,
banget.
right, to throw his body in so
Damn,
that his teammates
bro.
can kind of use him for
Wow,
information.
wow, wow, wow,
And
wow.
that's kind of how PaperX reacts so quickly.
Gila, 4
As soon
second
as they
nyala
can confirm
banget,
that the
coy.
hit was headed towards the site,
Jason be
you
like,
had
aku marah
everyone
besar.
rotating over. And just to kind of
Aku
set
marah
up around
besar.
it, Forsaken getting those 2 kills just pretty much
Wah,
confirms
nice,
that
nice.
the hit was headed towards B.
Nice. Anjir udah ketawa-ketawa
Okay,
nih.
I was waiting for like something else for
Tar
him to say,
dulu,
and
udah
you said, guys,
ketawa-ketawa
so,
atau gimana tuh?
yeah. Anyways, this
Gila.
change of graphic has means
Ya, itu
that we are
udah
going
ketawa-ketawa
to,
tuh udah.
possibly from
Ahem.
I don't think PaperX will
Allah adalah
you know,
kunci,
how much
jelasin.
aggression and success they've had in these rounds be the
Aku
one.
marah
And
besar.
you're absolutely right, right? Outlaw
Ini yang timeout
is
siapa ya?
getting so much
Tadi
impact
nggak lihat lagi.
as of the moment. And
Oh, Gen, oke.
it seems like, again, Genji can't really find that answer against it because they just been slow creeping up into positions
Ya,
where
PRX
Forsaken
sudah nih,
is
udah dapat nih
ready
moodnya.
for them. And another a double up to this is he's not the only one playing. It's him. Right behind him has been something, right? So if he misses, something immediately throws out the Dizzy at a high enough angle. It flashes the rest of Genji. They back away, allows Forsaken or something
Coach Alec
to
mau udah
reset the
pakai
fight
jaket
and
sih.
put themselves in a position where they're more ready to go for the
4
second.
seconds too good. Yeah, I know right.
The
I
interesting
know
thing
right.
about this composition because
Udah, ini
the initiators kind of
gamenya PRX
double
sih,
up
udah
as
sih.
duelists. They don't
Ah,
have
shit.
the same ability.
Sorry,
But
sorry,
with the
sorry,
flashes
guys.
that
Aku
they've
harusnya
got,
nggak
it's almost
ngomong.
like a
Sorry,
Phoenix, but
sorry.
better.
Anyway,
And it
bajunya
just
bagus ya,
really,
terima
you know,
kasih.
kind of allows them
Kasih.
to make such plays, but it works
Let's
out on
go.
the defense. On the attack, we'll have to wait to see. Right now, Genji has caught the timeout, so they've definitely switched something up, going for the full commit into A instead.
They have
Showstopper, man.
very much committed a lot of utility just to get into A main. They haven't even pushed yet on Link. They haven't committed to
meeting,
push
maaf.
yet on Elbow.
I'm scared about this elbow.
Maaf ya, Kak.
Truly. But
Aduh,
look at
nge-stuck
how
kali,
many
stuck.
players are already here on tiles. Does Munchkin hear the footsteps though?
I don't.
He tucks
One
himself in the
walks
corner. They might
away.
not be able to clear him out, and he might get the best sandwich position of
Nice,
his
something
life.
nice. Not
He needs to
nice.
do something right here and now, which he does.
Nice,
Divide does
Divide.
go for a trade. No walls just yet. He actually boosts himself up.
What the hell?
That moment here from Divide. Texture left
Gila
on an
banget,
island.
Divide.
He's got
Aduh.
the showstopper. Divide, say your prayers. And that's going to be that
Yeah.
Genji.
What the
Oh my god, they got
Ya
pressed by
elah,
PaperX,
Deva
but
tolong
they
dong.
got themselves out of
Thank
a tight
you.
situation courtesy
Aduh,
of the
apaan dah?
man, the myth, the texture.
Apaan dah?
Made the round expensive, but yeah,
Bikin mood gua hancur
Texture. What
aja.
a way to bail out the team, just committing the
Ya
showstopper.
elah.
Standing.
Dulu guys.
Blowing things up to
Nih.
secure it.
Enggak, ini
One more
botnya,
round.
astagfirullahaladzim.
That
Anjir,
said, though,
anjir.
I mean,
Musik
PaperX,
dah.
what a good
Nah,
way to
dah.
push down tiles.
Itu
I
siapa?
love the reaction, sorry, that he just did. Was a quick side.
Caper banget bot. Oke. Diam, diam, diam.
Alright, same play here for Texture. No contact just yet, though. Just no, they're really pressing up into this.
Bot
They're
gob.
not slowing down compared to last round here, Quack. So it is a full commitment right now for Genji. They want to get a quick start onto this post plant from the looks of things. They want to position for that,
Planted.
for the good goods of this, as I mentioned, post plant, and save up as much utility for when PaperX tries to come in into the site.
Yeah, right. Same thing coming through. They know that PaperX is definitely not going to make the exact same play. Something investing into this operator as well. So unless they can get clear vision, it's going to be so difficult for them to break through. But that's a great way to start.
Absolutely. Meteor into the corner here. Loving the use of the wingman to actually clear corners rather than defuse the spike. If he gets a target, that's an immediate concuss for you. And Texture's just so far. Even if he can win some
Emang
of the
bener
fights here,
gua
he's
harus
just way far
diem.
from stopping something from defusing.
Lu berisik. Astaga.
Unbelievable. I mean,
Botnya.
maybe it was Genji overextending a
Woi,
little bit outside
botnya.
of the smoke. They wanted just to check for information, but punished
What the
just as
hell?
quick by PaperX.
Nice. Emang gua harus diem.
With
oke.
the outlaw being fired
Emang gua
off,
harus diem.
and
Saksi
everyone
bisu,
else is
saksi
coming in
bisu.
just as quick.
Ayo guys,
Talking
hashtag
about
PRX
Texture,
win. Hashtag PRX win. Miti diam. Hashtag PRX
The
win.
movement that they got, I mean, Mythia, maybe just a little bit more comfortable on this this Omen.
Yeah, there's also that point
Okay.
where Lakia wanted to
Hashtag
push out
PRX
his
win.
flash, but
Hashtag
he
PRX
flashed
win.
nobody,
Hashtag
and
PRX
then he
win.
just didn't know
Hashtag
how
Miti
many
diam.
players of PaperX deal with as he was holding that specific angle on A.
So off of that round now, it's another save for Genji. Try to play things slow and careful. They don't have all too much. You've got Texture on the Guardian, so you want to make the most of what you have. back towards A, and you can see that PRX are changing things up again. You've got control over B shops, B main, and you don't see anything. So you have an idea of what's about to happen. That is why Davai as well as Monyet are playing that far back on A site.
And again, if this is a full commitment of like majority of the players of Gen G, if they push out through elbow like this, the slower from Device is going to stop them dead in their tracks. With the paranoia, that is a death sentence here for Gen G if they're not careful. Thankfully enough, because of the smoke that they've had.
Let's go Davai! Let's go Davai!
It's a complete and utter
Wah,
disaster.
gila, wah, gila, wah.
Reclaimers theirs.
That's just a pretty lovely spray transfer. I mean, you're absolutely right. That's right. It's just a bit of a death sentence for Gen G. You know, they see that they don't really have any options. Might as well just commit to something. But what they did not expect was such
PRX win! Hashtag PRX
First of all,
win!
Monyet in an elevated position.
Hashtag PRX win!
Right, Davai, he could have
Hashtag
thrown out
PRX
the smoke,
win!
but he was also just in position
Hashtag PRX
to
win!
gun down anyone
Hashtag
that
PRX
tries
win!
to step through. Now
Let's
we've got some ultimates on the side of PRX. We've got 3 coming out from Gen G.
Gue nggak boleh makan gaji buta guys, jadi gue harus berkomentar, oke? Kali ini gue komen dulu.
Initiate fights. Gen G needs a catalyst.
Astaga, masih dong. Sabar ya guys.
Sanity
Maaf.
is doing the same thing
Ini
over
gue
and over
jadian
again.
mode subscription dulu.
Acting for different results. And the different result is, you're absolutely right. PRX, they've committed for this mid control. They thought that Gen G would actually mix things up and try to go for that mid play. And it isn't.
Ayo guys, untuk mengalahkan bot kita harus memakai hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Ya, hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win.
The rest of them come back towards the front of A. And maybe we just retake from Link.
Thrash activated for the second time. Davai cuts off the corner. Plant denied actually. Texture somehow manages to pick up a kill with the paint shells. No safe space just yet for Gen G. They have to start holding some crossfire angles while they start defusing the spike, and he's using his teammate as some sort of third POV info gatherer. Not gonna allow them to push up just yet because of that toxic screen. And here comes the contact, and Texture is coming out on top of this, and it's somehow working somewhat favorably for Gen G for a moment right now. But again, no plan on the spike just yet. Numbers still favoring the Korean side though. Something comes in with the operator, dwindles the numbers a little bit. The TP comes in around the corner. How close does he know? Very close, he knows about it. Oh my god, no way, Meteor. He's out in the open field, man.
Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Gila, itu mohon maaf, itu monyet di bait dong, kasihan bang. Gila bro. Gila bro. Ya, sampai bikin space-nya gila sih. Gila sih. Gila. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Untuk menenggelamkan judul ya guys ya. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win.
They had the pressure of the time against them.
And
kembali ke Outlaw Gaming ya guys
unless
ya.
you're getting pushed in, you don't really have
Thank you
great
for
line of
subscribing.
sight on any position on
Kembali
A.
ke
So
Outlaw Gaming.
that's just very bad boo-boos
Dan
here
ada
for
Forsaken
Gen
menggunakan
G.
flash-nya.
Now they're mixing up. For how many rounds was it? Like 4 or 5 rounds straight. They just kept going A, and now they're gonna try to go hold their way onto B.
Look at the setup on B.
There's something they're up to. Oh wow, they might actually get collab here if they're not careful. Into the corner is also Mind Freak. They've come into the trap, man, of PRX here. Come into the spider's web, as they said. They're gonna have to try to pick up this spike if they can.
Nice.
Something's just denying it every single time. Meteor's here. Davai knows about it.
Nice. Gila. Gak dikasih entry loh. Gila banget coy. Aduh, sampai garuk pala gue tau gak sih? Lihat beginian. Kayak bocil warnet nontonin abang-abang main Valo aja, men. Iya, makasih banyak. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Hashtag PRX win. Sumpah gue diem, PRX langsung menang coy. Hashtag PRX win. 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 Hashtag PRX win.
Watching AVL, but that was what
ada yang panik.
very different. They're not pushing out all that much, and whenever Genji just hangs back and waits, PaperX has a
Gila,
little bit more
makanya
time.
itu 4 second nggak boleh itu dikasih outlaw itu. Gila.
Every round just like that, with something on the off to fight with the off angle on a Vandal. It is so darn difficult for Genji to fight back and wrangle for map control.
Absolutely. It does
Hashtag
stem to
Mythica
how much more
nggak dulu.
control they have on that defending side, right? You were talking about it. Honestly, I was actually thinking, you know, we were conversing before the game started that it could actually be Monyet that picks up the raise.
But
it fits
I
well, right?
prefer Mindfreak.
AVL was on that raise. Monyet plays the raise. You put 2 and 2 together, but no.
Waduh.
PaperX, they do a curveball. PaperX thinks.
Bungkam codot ya, jangan gitu dong.
You can already see a bit of stress for the coach here of Gen G as they are huddling, hoping to get themselves these 2 rounds as we are almost coming to a close for the first half.
Tell you what though,
PRX win.
we've got 4 ultimates on the side of Gen G.
PRX
Texture on
win.
the showstopper, I think, is
Hashtag
the
PRX
one
win. Hashtag
shining
PRX
light
win.
that they were looking
Hashtag
for.
PRX win.
They could really use that
Hashtag
to break
PRX
apart
win.
PaperX. So I
Hashtag PRX
wonder
win.
if Alex
Hashtag PRX win.
can anticipate this.
Hashtag corok diem.
But looking at Devi,
I mean, he does have the safety of Monyet right with him.
Wow.
They don't even know if Devi's boosted here. They are aware of it. Oh my god! Devi might actually get
Monyet gila nice banget.
It's the PaperX
Monyet.
security system, dude.
Nice.
Wow. Devi gets
Hashtag PRX
a
win.
whiff of
Hashtag
Meteor
PRX win.
pushing in.
Hashtag PRX
And
win.
in just the blink of an
Hashtag
eye, Quack,
PRX
2
win.
drop down
Hashtag
from
PRX
Genji.
win. Gila.
The whole game plan is just been thrown in for a loop. How do you recover now? You've lost Texture, you've lost Meteor, both
Nice
star
banget, Monyet.
fraggers. Maybe Charon, but I don't know how much this Paranoia can really do. Look at the sight lines that PaperX has covered. Something, in
Hashtag
case someone
PRX
pushes
win.
up mid, you're gonna get fragged. If you go through Market, maybe, but it's a full 5-on-3 retake. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's the worst possible opponent they wanted to give the kill for, but again, there's nothing really that Gen G could have done in this situation other than go for that close contact. I was thinking they wanted to actually get someone so that they could get into a site. They have the Viper's pit, but the one person that they didn't want to give a kill when they have a pit is something because of the thresh. So many things that was working against the favorite here of Gen G.
It's just so interesting how this composition is actually so good against Gen G right now.
Oh my god, iya iya.
Devi was holding off.
Bener, iya, suka-suka. Iya, flawless coy. Hashtag PRX win.
Throws off Texture a
Hashtag
little bit.
PRX
If
win.
it wasn't there, he might have just felt a lot more free to
Sing.
dive right in with that rocket, but not now. Back off to this though. Last round of the first half,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
just rush
Sang.
into B. Why not?
Iya.
Imagine if you actually didn't pick up the rifle there. That would have been very, very bad. Anyways, everybody's blind up until this point, but that Snakebite man, they're just coming into this. We'll call this the PaperX grinder. Pushes it up. There it is, 2 remaining players on Gen G, now down to Lakia. He is lighting things up like a Christmas tree. But
Someone
it's all
stop
for naught
that.
as he loses the bullets and there's
Someone,
still
oh
2
my god.
remaining players of
Akhirnya
PaperX alive.
Good attempt.
akhirnya
yeah,
di stopin.
this
Oke.
PaperX brand the grinder.
Ulala.
Everything
Ulala.
else along with it.
Ulala. Iya iya, suka-suka.
But, you know, it's just that last round. They didn't have all that much left in the bank.
Yeah.
And, you know, they just want to try whatever
Lucu banget.
they can throw.
My
What did it
BF
say?
love
I
you
wasn't
more than
reading
me.
it. My BF loves you more than me.
Bener tuh.
It's okay. At least you know where the
Itu
extra love comes
kasihan
or
banget
goes to.
kakaknya. Kakak mah aku
We've
aja
got
kak.
love for every single one of these players out there. They're all trying
Ini-
their darndest to give us a good show.
PRX be
But
like,
it's definitely not
aku marah
easy
besar.
right now for Gen G.
Jangan bikin
to
aku
fight
marah
off
ya.
against PaperX 10-2 at the end of the first half, Asteroid. Although I am wondering about how PaperX's composition will work on the
gila.
attacking side. It also bears saying that now that they've got
Iya
so many
iya,
round wins under
iya
their
gigi
belts,
kering.
all they need is 3 more. And
Coach
that's
Alec
not
gigi
all that
kering.
much. If Gen G can't even pick up a pistol, it's going to
Apa
be
itu
trouble.
duelis?
But that
Ya,
is
apa
something
itu
that our
duelis?
desk was talking about.
Iya
PaperX needing to get more pistol
Nah,
rounds,
ini
needing to
repot.
secure those
Aman,
some
aman,
secret
aman.
rounds after the pistol too.
Ya
And
gigi
this could
kering.
make or
Full
break
senyum
for
guys,
Gen G,
meja
'cause when
aman,
you're in
full
this position
senyum.
and you
Harap tenang,
lose
harap tenang.
the pistol
Semua
rounds, Gen
aman
G,
terkendali.
you're forced to first fight. You do not want to play 12, let's say 12 to 2. Or, yeah, 12 to 2 with nothing. But, you know.
So, yeah.
Beneran
Like
mau ditraktirin nasi
you
bungkus,
straight
guys.
up just force by, try to, you know,
PRX
scrounge something
sengaja ya
together.
bikin aku marah ya. Aku marah besar.
That's why there's a little
Mid
bit
diem
more
ntar
pressure
masih 4
onto
detik
these
tuh.
Gen G players
Ayo guys,
right
ketik
now.
PRX win, PRX win,
They
PRX
have been
win.
showing us a lot today.
Hashtag
Texture
PRX
has
win,
been fragging
PRX
out.
win, PRX win,
Meteor
PRX
as
win,
well.
PRX win.
Very
Oke,
cool.
mereka ngambil mid.
I also wanted to add as well,
PRX win,
Divide,
PRX win.
he's been the utility boss on this stage.
PRX win.
No safety for himself. He just full blasts, get everything. No
Udah
shield,
pasti
all
Xeapher-nya
utility.
di
Man
base.
is giving his
Thank you for subscribing.
He's giving his life
PRX
for
win,
Paper X at
PRX
this
win,
point.
PRX win.
There's the wall. Cross it up. No tripwires to be afraid of.
Wow.
Planting the spike very quickly with the wingman here. And backs away safely, only leaving... Actually, no. 3 players very nearby, willing to fight inside near the smoke.
Crazy. Dizzy out as well.
Oh, okay, they're going to keep fighting this one. But look at how cleanly Paper X are just breaking them down. This wall is separating fights from Gen G. They can't even create these crossfires anymore. And now here's the number game. But Gen G strikes back, leaving Mind Freak by himself. Does he have the time? Does he have the utility? Does he have the angles with the Sheriff?
Seng,
And
nice
that
try
is
banget.
a resounding no. Gen G.
Try. By the way,
when all
kenapa
looks
itu ya
lost,
tadi ya?
Paper X pushed in and they counter, they strike back.
Nggak apa-apa, aku beranggapan tidak melihat apa yang terjadi tadi ya. Anyway,
I mean, they look so
nice
good
try,
on
nice
that
try,
execute.
nice
You got
try,
Gecko,
Seng.
you got
Ini
Wingman,
strategi
little homie,
Cilukba
getting
ya.
the plant in for you.
Ngomong
Nobody was
aja
there to
Mita,
really
emang
do
saya emang
anything
ngomong
because
aja,
of
saya
Devi's
terlalu
wall
fokus
and
guys.
blocking off market that
Iya.
way, but Gen G just kind of
Something
holds back.
kenapa
I was a
bang?
little bit, I'm feeling a little bit iffy about a full 5-on-5 retake.
Aduh.
But as soon as the firefight started to break out around Pillar, Paper X started to push
Emang
past
alergi
the pillar,
pistol round
and
ya
there was
mereka ya.
a little bit of a crossfire that Gen G made use of. Karon getting those frags out
PRX
now.
win, PRX
Divide
win,
just
PRX
couldn't
win,
have a good
PRX
time.
win, PRX win,
So,
PRX
Gen
win,
G
PRX
moving
win,
forward.
PRX win, PRX win.
Great start, you know, for the second half.
Yeah.
We're talking about how it's not yet over just yet.
Siapa yang
Monyet finds
ngajarin
it.
something man FF ya kira-kira ya? Monyet kali ya.
Trivia, by the way, if you're gonna be a Xeapher,
PRX win, PRX
you know, playing
win,
outside of
PRX
B,
win, PRX win, PRX
you
win.
want the tripwire on the floor because it's harder for the opponents to break it. But obviously, they can jump over it. But you know, just quick FYI. Anyways, going back into this for Paper X.
Masih saving ya, kita lihat-lihat.
They're coming into market. Munchkin
Babang
hasn't even
Gen
cleared
sudah
this out just yet, and he is full blinded. Can he even find something with the judge now that Dizzy has offloaded himself on him? Absolutely not. Texture does force back everything, and then you can see Paper X trying to find a different angle at this point, coming up the top mid, but Karon denies with that Spectre.
So there's a little chance Forsaken with the judge. I don't know how useful it's going to be. Lakia coming up from behind is the one that you want to watch out for.
One enemy remaining.
There he is. Doesn't want to overreach his lead too. Right? They still know that any player of Paper X with any upgraded weapon is very much scary to deal with at this point. So
Belakang.
they can always just do that.
Nice.
Yep.
Nggak apa-apa,
Put him
ikut
in a
round, ikut
spot
round.
is most
It's
advantageous
okay, it's
here
okay.
for Gen G.
Nah, sekarang baru beli.
A solid second round in that second half.
Yeah, let's
Mas
bring
Ren,
back some Gen G rounds.
Oke, ini gue coba
Of
satu
course,
round
it's
ini
a
diem ya
good
guys
bit
ya.
of damage
Karena udah
coming
vandal
out from
round
Paper
nih.
X
Gue
as well.
diem ya, gue diem
A
ya,
couple
gue
of
diem
these
ya.
players, Karon, Munchkin,
Gue diem ya,
not
gue
quite
diem
being
ya.
able to afford the bigger guns.
Nih, gue diem, gue
That would be a problem as Paper X seeks that match point.
Nih, gue diem nih. Kalau misalnya gue diem menang, berarti gue emang harus diem.
So of course it's a little bit important for them to
Ya, mid
to
diem,
really
oke. Saya diem.
play off of this.
PRX
Either,
win,
you
PRX
know,
win.
bait your teammates or
PRX win.
hang back because they are the controllers.
Yeah. Like how the Blade actually clears more of B main. Since, you know, on bonus round, some players will just play on the back of that board. Thrash activated quickly. Not sure if it heard where the tripwire was, but Monyet is very much controlling this back angle for now. Devi also leading it, or rather defending the gap. So it's a pretty clean take here from Paper X. They just had to use a bit of utility, but it works solely in their favor.
Still though, that fight across the pillars. As soon as Devi stays
Ace.
back.
Can he get his ace? Oh, yeah, he can. There it is.
Oh memang gua
He was the
harus
sword, he was the shield, he was the
langsung
healer.
ace.
Man's the Vi,
Gila,
the Swiss Army knife.
gila. Gua harus
of
diem
Paper
langsung
X.
ace
What
wey,
you need
gila.
him to be, he
Saya
will
duelis nih bro,
The boulder
saya
and the
gol
mountain.
dong.
Yeah.
Dabai.
I mean, it was a bit
My
of a
God,
round against
this
the half
guy.
five, but you know,
This
you were
guy's
talking about the
cooking.
tripwires, you were talking about the executes coming
My
through.
God, mute
All
adalah
of that is
kunci men.
actually just straight up
My God,
negated
gila
because
langsung
of
ace loh.
Davai's barrier orb. Put
Ini
up,
jinxku gede
Mythia
soalnya,
can't really
jadi
do anything
harus
against it.
diem
You might
memang,
have that
harus
tiny
diem.
gap,
Oh my
and even if a trick
God,
does go
bro.
off, it just gets blocked.
And that's a big problem because they want to get that punish, right? Onion is so far in front of this. That pop flash is gonna blow up in his face. Lakia does get the trade. Does signal the Paper X to start moving their way quickly into A main. Devi, because of that ace, also now has his res up. So they're looking for a trade here where they can either bait their teammate for a res or just res them to res them. If that makes sense. Oh, Lakia finds one. Tripwire. Meteor holding at the corner of this site. Look at how Gen G has just gotten all control in A main. This leaves Paper X in such a tight bind. If they realize this, they might be able to push at the back of the site. But at this point, Munchkin and Charon just grinding their gears and cleaning up the rest of Paper X, trapped again.
Gua harus diam,
Yeah, a bit of that inverse where Paper X wanted to retake from the earlier half. This time Gen G just making sure that their feet are planted firmly on A site. Gaining control over
ngomong dulu Met ya ngomong.
Nggak
bisa ini dua lagi nih. Tapi biasa kan disengit-sengitin dulu biar seru. Kan langsung time out kan. Siapa tuh yang time out tuh? PRX ya.
But
Iya
again, keep
bener.
in mind, only 2 rounds away from closing this out. Alex calling the timeout now.
Itu
I was getting into the vibe
si
of the timeout
siapa
here,
namanya?
but
Si Coach Alec udah
Gen G,
kayak
they're getting their second
ini
win.
kan tadi kan gue bilangnya nasi
It
bungkus
looks like they have a
nih.
lot more
Nah, kalau
understanding
menang gue tambahin
of
gorengan
how
dah
to
10.
play
Nah, tuh kayak
when
gitu.
they're the ones on that
Ya gigi
on that
langsung
defense
basah
part,
lagi.
right? And it is working a lot more for them. The thing is, I also wanted to add, you know, we were talking
Lah
a
itu
lot
screennya
about
di
how
stretch
the
tadi.
barrier orb is
Biasanya
negating the
pro
tripwires
player
and
itu
everything.
ya, dia
But
tuh
if you look
pakai
at it,
screennya
they are
emang
committing a
rada
lot of
gepeng gitu
utility
loh,
just
biar
to
musuhnya kelihatan
go
wide.
through into the site,
Biar
which
hitboxnya kelihatan
doesn't
besar.
leave a lot of post-plant
Gitu.
abilities here for Paper X, so it
Mungkin
feels like
terkena
it's just going to
adrenalin
be
sih
raw
karena
aim.
tadi Davai
But
juga
at that
ace
point,
kan.
Gen G can match them
So
up.
it's alright.
again,
Ayo
puts it
ayo
favor
makanya
Gen G.
kita
Has
guys
done on this
spam
one.
hashtag
Exactly.
spam hashtag daripada di spam
I don't
binjol
think
langsung
Paper X
aja.
does that too often,
Spam
though, unless
hashtag
especially they
PRX
have the
win.
pressure,
Let's
they
go.
really
PRX
wanna make
win,
that play
PRX
work.
win, PRX
Fair
win,
What we
PRX
haven't
win,
really seen too
PRX
much
win.
of is a play from mid. I
Let's
think
go,
Mythia
PRX
tried
win
to
ya.
explore that option
Biar
earlier,
tidak
but
di
didn't quite
daripada
work
di
out
spam sama
too
pinjol.
well.
Pinjol
So
lagi
it's
apa
back
sih?
to another
Judol.
A. Question is,
Langsung
how do
PRX
we
win,
break
PRX
through
win.
elbow? How do we
PRX
break
win.
through this
let's go.
main push? Lakia is holding such a tight angle. And of course, you've also got Karen, who's possibly going to position himself in an elevated angle up towards either site or link.
Wow, look at how both teams actually scramble from A main. Imagine if Paper X just pushed that.
I could see, yeah, a timing push, though. If they throw that dizzy past the bells, might be good. Maybe they're just waiting for that smoke to go off. There it is.
Charon's already out there, though. Even if he gets like double blinded for the paranoia and the dizzy, he's already out. That's why they actually left it, because Meteor has this camera marking up all the way on elbow. Spots out something, so that means that this could be a straight-up push. Where the tripwire is for Meteor here, that's going to be the important part right now, as Charon is going to try to feed off of it. Paranoia into the corner. This is going to be a very tricky time for Paper X, and they're going to have to try to do a lot just to get into that site. Quick little res for Lakia, or rather for Forsaken, but immediately gets refragged by Lakia. Thankfully enough, Monet was there to punish. Dust settles, and there is the site taken. The numbers advantage for Paper X, as well as the long rotation here from the rest of the Gen G players still alive.
Trade's good enough, but Texture on the flank.
Okay. Boom. That was quick. I was looking at
They each got their one.
That maybe Texture could have done something, but you're absolutely right. Pop shot for pop shot, 12-5 in Paper X.
Kenapa itu?
They
Tadi
only need one more.
Dimas.
We're just reading the game really well.
Tapi emang dibolehin kah di turnamen lah? Kalau settingan mah senyamannya mereka aja, guys. Senyamannya mereka aja, kan nggak nge-cheat juga itu.
You know, just making use of the flashes again or going past it. having players to really come in and trade out for each other. That's PRX style.
Teori gue diem soalnya guys, makanya suaranya gak ada.
Mythia having a good time, the young gun on the stage.
No. Sorry, I was letting you finish off what you were saying because it seems like Genji was trying to just get that heavy contact on B main, hoping that PRX was huddled up. Not gonna happen this time. PRX immediately activate that null command. And as his kills steps into the direction of kills, wins rather for PRX in this series. Meteor gonna have to run away for dear life. Thrash activated once again here by something. Defy holding mid control. Lakia wins that out. So at least they have to deal with the possible flank. But control of the site and timer started to tick down here for PRX as that spike has been planted down. Okay, Paranoia is activated. This is good. They're using this to bounce Texture off with the showstopper. Flash out for Forsaken. Oh my god, how did they actually get these punishes? But still, Charon lights up the entire house. 2 versus 1. Mythia coming into the corner right now. And it's all up to him. Can he get it? First one. Very low angry, but Lakia locks it in.
Oh my god, 5 HP, bro. 5
Down to 5
HP, bro.
Really close. But thanks to a bit of body blocking from Charon and just might be having to do extra work.
Guys, please lah. Oke. Saatnya nyepam guys, nyepam lagi guys. PRX win, reset. PRX win. Ya, PRX win. By the way, ini baru aku komentarin ya. Dari tadi mereka tuh mainnya sabar banget loh guys. Berarti ini udah mode serius ya. Lihat. Lumayan nge-hold ya mainnya. Keren. Mulai sabar, soalnya juga nggak ada duelist ya anyway.
To get those frags rolling for him. They called Mythia down on this wall though. Texture is playing very close into this. This could be an opening for both of the teams, and there is, man.
Nice.
Something doesn't miss. They can up this wall once again. Munchkin has to get close. He needs, or he wants to just stop them from picking up anything right now. He is preparing his snakebite for it. There it is.
Doesn't negate the wingman though.
Definitely does not, but has a whole lot of commitments of walls to just get that wingman in. And if Lakia can get this first frag, which he does, that's a lot of access points for both him as well as Charon coming in through B main.
Comes down to gunplay.
Oh, PRX realizes though, so they have to force fight this. Can Forsaken hold on, let his teammate at least fight for him.
Hold aja.
And as the dust settles, it's Mythia 3 versus 1. And he's not even planted for him. He's trying to get closer and closer, but that spike is just diffusing in front of his eyes.
Oh my god, hold aja.
Good center step from Lakia.
Hold. Sabar, please. Please. Ayo, please sabar dikit, please.
From something to open things up, but towards the end, like you mentioned before, Asteroid,
ya, ente Echo
comes
sih,
down to gunplay towards the end of it. All that utility has already been spent. And
cuma, aduh.
As Lakia gets the frag from behind, it opens things up so much. The rest of PRX kind of got, pinched down inside the game. Can't really fight back because of that.
Hashtag PRX win, ayo guys, spam. Hashtag PRX win.
Make do with. One-way smoke always planted there in A main, but without the dog, PRX a lot more confident to actually push through this. But here's the thing. That Sky has not given away his position. So if he can play close enough, a guy like could actually be a punishing play here, but the bait and switch for PRX, they immediately knew what was up. Meteor though, yeah, mentioned it. Quick to go for the trade, but Mythia, unstoppable at this point, just keeps going in, and it's trade for trade, but PRX, as these dust settles, as these fights come to a conclusion, is looking to get a little bit of the advantage, and that is just enough for them to work with. Texture coming into the corner right now, finds one. Everybody backs away onto elbow here. They got the utility, they got everything. Munchkin, it's gonna be big for him. He needs to find something right now with this flank because Texture is about to get sandwiched in. He's found himself that Phantom as you were talking about.
Oh my god, GG boys. GG boys. Hashtag PRX win, let's go. GG.
I mean, throughout this entire map, we've been seeing so
Gila,
much
something
and such an interesting
panasnya udah
composition.
mulai itu tadi tuh.
Gen G being able to extend their life by so much longer. 5
Gecko
rounds
duelist
on the
adalah
defense,
kunci. Apa
but
itu
still,
duelist, coy?
10-2
Sage
in the first
duelist,
half.
Gecko
K-First
duelist,
does it all, and I
Keigo
think
duelist.
Something and
Udah.
Forsaken on these
Emang
roles. Defy on the
akhirnya
stage
gue bisa
also
nge-gym
has
dengan
quite a bit
tenang.
to say.
And again,
Kurang
Paper
ajar.
X, they got a
Let's go.
lot of time to cook.
Saya itu duelist ya guys, ingat. Saya itu duelist, Gecko itu duelist, ingat ya guys ya. Lah,
Maybe
Bang
just
Rio,
allotting
thank
Anya
you,
into
welcome.
The agent selection that Jing has, but no,
Okay,
he's
guys.
his own man. He's his
Wah,
own
this
person.
is
He's
it.
got a whole
This is it.
new slew
Oh my
of
god.
things that they can bring out and
Congrats.
utilize. And you saw that. You saw it. You see it here.
Yeah, Shrouded steps inside of his smokes. I mean, it's the same stuff that he did on Global, just on a different team and enabling them in a different way. The paranoia at times also helping out the team so much.
Iya,
I mean,
iya,
Mythia has been
suka-suka.
putting up good numbers
Bang
so far
Rio,
today.
welcome.
The entire team
Welcome,
is doing great, but of course at
Raiders.
the same time,
Sorry di
Gen
subsmod
G, I mean, what a
dulu
way to start
soalnya
off the
tadi
match.
ada
What a way
bot.
to start the
Thank you. Thank you for
Still,
coming.
though,
Thank you for stopping
towards the
by.
end of
Terima
it, I think the bigger thing to focus
No
on is
duelist,
just this
GG,
duelistless
GG.
composition working out so well. It just shows that whatever role you play, as long as you are that good of a player, you can still make it work. Because I'm seeing a big number on the first blood stats under Forsaken.
Guys, kalian tahu nggak kenapa main freak itu angkanya 10?
Celebratory picture here.
Karena
for
dia
Paper X.
10 out of 10.
I feel like a lot of fans were a bit scared of what happened on that first game. But
Sorry.
brought back the status quo.
I know I was.
Yeah, because our predictions was in danger. Anyways, we're gonna pass it on to the interview. So
Boleh. Gila bro. Let's go.
VCT Pacific Kickoff.
Bajunya bagus Miss, terima kasih. Thank you. Bisa. Oke, pulang. Wah, gila. Saya bisa tidur dengan tenang ya. Mbaknya cantik, bener. Cantik tuh. Bajunya beli atau minta? PRX win, monyet adalah kunci. Let's go. Tapi si Something pakai kacamata lucu ya. Ya, Aing pulang dulu nanti ada meet. Ya, gigi. Okay, thank you so much guys for coming guys. Thank you. Gila. Menurut kalian gimana guys? Something did something. Yes. Jadi gimana guys? Kalian apa menurut kalian gimana nih matchnya PRX hari ini ya? Bikin jantungan gak sih? Gimana guys menurut kalian guys? Kalau menurut aku sih gimana ya? Seru. Tapi di match 3 ini bener-bener nih matchnya PRX sih. Ada GG Gaming lah. Rion, halo bang. Aron adalah kunci bener. Kalau PRX gitu mah udah biasa mit, bener. Selalu PRX tuh bikin jantungan nih. Tapi bener kan prediksiku? 2-1, bener gak? 2-1. Aku dari awal udah ngomong loh 2-1, tapi kalian ngomong 2-0 lah. Tapi aku yakin gitu karena mungkin PRX pun juga nggak tahu gitu. Ya bener kan 2-1 kan? Ya. Hehehe. Dukun. Tapi kataku sih Davai bersinar banget ya. Oke. Let's say ya. To be fair di sini tuh Davai bersinar banget. Ya. Davai bersinar banget. Main freak belum ada peak performance. Something juga sempet banyak dingin sih. Davai MVP sih kataku. Dia banyak nge-clutch. Tadi tahu nggak sih momen yang Davai udah mau di ulti sama Raze-nya sama Meteor ya tadi ya. Terus di stopin sama monyet itu keren banget sumpah. Damn, so good. Stage di basement ya, I don't know. Tapi Davai ya, itu konsistensi Emmy. I really love it. Davai save the day. Gila. Oh, Raze itu tekstur ya, bukan Meteor ya? Oke. Tekstur berarti. Ya aku nggak hafal ya guys membernya,
행운의
sorry.
기운이 깃든 사인이.
Tapi tetap 1, 2, 3 loncat the best.
Who's the lucky one to get this star?
I
You
want
can
it!
go up to the audience and toss it to them. Huh? No, you can go like, yeah. Please throw it nicely. Someone can catch it. Yes, at the front row, the lucky fan got it.
Lah, kok aku nggak bisa nangkep kak, aku nggak bisa nangkep.
And good luck
Ya
to your next
gimana?
game. 지금까지 썸띵 선수와
Ya,
인터뷰
aku
해봤습니다.
nggak bisa
This was something of
nangkep.
PRX and now toss it to
Ini
the
sebenarnya stage-nya dingin guys, tapi karena tegang ya jadinya panas. Oke guys, thank you so much for
Okay,
ini
now
ya.
I'm actually wondering if somebody can throw it from like
For coming, for watching with me. Yay! Let's go. See you on next game, guys. Okay? Now we are gonna end the stream. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys on my next stream. Bye bye. See you all. #PRX win. Bye bye. Kita ketemu lagi di match selanjutnya ya. Bye bye. Wow.